What is up? What is up, chats? What is up? What is up? कैसे हो सब लोग? है दलोज, है दलोज, है दलोज, है दलोज. कैसे हो? कैसे हो? हाँ? क्या चल रहा है यार तुम्हारी जिंदगी मास? बंक्स बाय डेटा खत्म हो गया है. वेरी नाइस. Update the about section of today's stream. About section? Day 3. Sorry. ए मैंने किया तो था. RRQ वर्सेस जी लिख दिया यार. मत करो. मेरे से नहीं हो रहा है. मत करो प्लीज. डेटा है फिर भी जी लिख दिया यार. मत करो भाई. जी ही बाहर हो गए क्या? नहीं, जी बाहर नहीं हुई अभी तक. समझ रहे? क्यों लोग ने खेला ही नहीं. ये दुख काहे खत्म नहीं हो रहा भाई. हाँ. बंग भाई मैं नेम इज तुम. इन भाई लैंग्वेज. बंग भाई जल्दी से मैच चालू कर दो. मैंने बात किया है मैंने सीधा प्रोडक्शन से. हैवी बारिश चल रही है गोवा में. हैवी बारिश मतलब तुम उसकी बूंद का वेट चेक कर रहे हो? कल जैसे गुस्सा मत हो जाना थ्रो करने पे. आज अगर RRQ हार गई ना तो पता नहीं मैं किसको सपोर्ट करूं यार. आई गॉट नो फ्रेंड्स लेफ्ट. क्या ये लोग इसलिए आ रहे हैं क्योंकि ये लोग ने मेरे से दोस्ती की है? हाँ. अब जी ही कौन सा टूर्नामेंट खेलेगी अपकमिंग? मैं कल उनके साथ मीटिंग है ऋषि सर के साथ. पूरा उनका एक शेड्यूल निकाल के तेरे को वीडियो कॉल करके बताता. आज कुछ प्रेडिक्शन बताओ. मेरा अभी तक 100% प्रेडिक्शन है. ठीक है. आज RRQ जीतेगी. पूरा इवेंट ही जीतेगा शायद RRQ. 7 इंच का बारिश हो रहा है इधर. कल जंजी जीत गई जस्ट सेइंग. मेरे को पता था लेकिन तुम लोग वो देख रहे हो. जंजी जीत गई जिनमें टैलेंट हार गई. समझ रहे हो? हाँ. RRQ हारे तो सीधा चैंपियंस की वॉच पार्टी. अरे क्या करूं मैं वॉच पार्टी? किसको सपोर्ट करूं मैं? एक तो होना चाहिए ना अपना. हाँ. एक बंदा चाहिए कि नहीं अपना सपोर्ट करने को. यार ये हेडफोन्स के क्वेश्चंस इतने जल्दी हट गए. जल्दी किधर यार? मैंने वो डाला है कस्टम क्वेश्चंस. पंच मेरी जान कैसे सब बढ़िया. विश कर मुझे जॉब लग गई. मुझे जॉब लग गई. सितंबर में है प्लेसमेंट्स. सितंबर में ना तो अभी क्यों विश करूं? PRX रहेगी ना. PRX. PRX यहाँ पे किधर है? इसके बाद के इसमें ना. अ, बराबर. कल तब भी बोलूं कल RRQ क्यों जीता. आपको प्रेडिक्शन था यार. मेरा 100% विन रेट है यार. मत करो यार ऐसा प्लीज.
I think that definitely could still happen if ZETA gets knocked down to the lower bracket
आज ऐसे
today.
वॉच पार्टी करेंगे.
But I
साउंड
also
सुन.
made the claim that whoever wins between Global and RQ are going to be that team is going to make it through to that grand final first and foremost as the upper brackets or the upper bracket seeded team. So I think that RQ, given what we've seen from them, I think that they just look fired up. They have managed to be
यार चल अपना भी इधर नाम था पता है फोटो बीटो नीचे हाँ अपना भी नीचे फोटो बीटो था अपना भी लोगो था यार ये दुख काहे खत्म नहीं हो रहा बंक्स भाई नई नई स्ट्रीमिंग चालू की है आपका आशीर्वाद दे दो खुश रहो यार स्टिल स्लीपी नहीं 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 आई स्लेप्ट वेल इट इज जस्ट doing streams for 12 hours 13 hours each and every day working for whole fucking month थोड़ा टायरिंग सा है थोड़ा सा ज्यादा नहीं बैक प्रेडिक्ट जेटा लेट्स गो जेटा कौन है भाई आरआरक्यू जीतेगा कुछ भी बोलो 100% प्रेडिक्शन था मैंने इससे बात किया था जैसे
Now you pointed out Clinton there are, throughout the April May series
Correct.
they ZETA had slightly stronger stats. Why did you choose ZETA today?
मैंने जेटा को इसलिए चूज किया फर्स्टली मैडम सीन ऐसा कि हमने बात की थी बराबर तो बात करने में मेरे को कुछ चीजें समझ में आ गई तो जैसे आपसे बात की और आपने आंसर्स दिए और मुझे कुछ समझ में आ गई वो समझ के चक्कर में मैंने पर्सनली जेटा को चूज किया भले आरआरक्यू में मेरे फ्रेंड्स बहुत है लेकिन आपसे मेरे साथ जो लैंड इवेंट पे बात हुई है लैंड इवेंट पे इंटरनेशनल लैंड इवेंट पे उसमें जो बात हुई उस बेसिस पे मेरे हिसाब से जेटा थोड़ा अच्छा खेलेगा और आरआरक्यू थोड़ा सा वीक पड़ सकता है भले मेरा पर्सनल फेवरेट आरआरक्यू क्यों ना हो लेकिन आपने बोला जेटा तो मैं बोल रहा हूँ जेटा
I think you're right, and we've pointed this out before. I think Pacific's one of those special regions where we really don't know who's going to make it to the end. I mean, there was even a point where we're like, maybe it could be DFM making their miracle run, but that
didn't last long.
it didn't last long. But you know what? These teams will be back next year, and now we're going to go into a limb for VCT LCQ Pacific. So let's go over the stage and see the walkout, see how the teams are doing.
चलो रे अब वो वाला गाना बजेगा ना भारी वाला इन द बेंच कॉर्पोरेट मेरा ये मंथ का रेवेन्यू ना सच्ची अरे काहे दिल को तसल्ली दे रहे आप अजय मारेगा अजय नहीं रहे हो इजे कल राशि का ट्वीट देखा बुरा लगा भाई वो स्टेज प्रेशर कैसे कम करेगा वो वही एक इशू दिख रहा है इससे सच्ची इशू दिख रहा है आपको सॉल्व करे अजय भाई ओपी मत करो भाई अजय ना करे चलो रे इनकी तन 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 वो वाला म्यूजिक डाला केजीएफ का हेलो बंक्स भाई जस्ट वोक अप व्हाट इज अप करेंटली वैलो सीन में बेस्ट प्लेयर कौन है मैं ही हूँ भाई हाँ वहां पे जाके मैं एमवीपी था तो करेंटली अगर देखा जाएगा तो इट्स मी कांट हेल्प इट स्टैट्स बता रहा है ये चीज मैंने बोल रहा स्टैट्स बता रहा When does Sentinel plays by जब कोई पिक करेगा Sentinel तब
both of these teams were so close to reaching
Masters,
so you can imagine the redemption
भाई ये लोग बहुत मारते ना
today to reach champions Los Angeles 2023
ये लोग बहुत मारते ना
not only fell short of reaching Masters before RRQ
जापान टीम है ना ये
being able to be in the playoffs they were right there on the cusp but couldn't get it done they couldn't get themselves in for ZETA they had that opportunity they just couldn't make it to Masters the
आज बर्थडे मेरा एक विश मिल जाता तो जुबैर फेरडियस इस्माम भाई many happy returns of the day मेरी जान
make sure that the shoes all tied up. You don't want to trip on your way to the desk.
No, absolutely not. I've done that and it's not pleasant.
Okay.
If you do, remember, fall onto your elbows. Don't catch yourself with your hands because you need those wrists in working order.
I sprained my ankle at Ascent. It was difficult to get to the last
EJ,
race.
let's go. Maro, maro, maro.
It's like old school. It looks like a Christmas sweater almost.
It looks like the font that they use for Knives Out.
It does, actually. You're right.
That's right.
Did we lose the jersey today? Is that what happened? Did we forget it somewhere?
Might not have.
Did it make it out of the wash?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Bang
might have
के
lost it,
अलावा
the washing
कोई
machine
नहीं
or
अच्छा
something like
player
that.
है
Either
इंडिया
way,
बात
I
है.
like the look.
Maybe
Looks
Monyet
nice.
spilled water on it. Got a new sweater. RRQ, I hope they're rested well. I mean, it was a 2-0
EJ is
yesterday,
more
but like you guys
aggressive
pointed
than
out,
Rossi Jet,
it's
isn't
not
it? पता
easy.
नहीं.
It's not easy to play day after day and go against a team that you haven't seen play at all in the last 2 months.
Well, this is the price that you pay for not, being able to make it into that top 3. You have to run the gauntlet. You have to be
Bhai,
playing
look
these
up.
series back to back.
Coach
It's all
लोग भी
about
इतने
endurance. It's
handsome
all
है.
about preparation, and whoever can do the best job across the span of these, 5-6 days of this tournament to try to come out on top.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be a 3-map set. I think it's going to be grueling. I think it's going
मेरे
to
को
be
पता है ये लोग क्या बात करते हैं
I mean,
इसमें.
for me here, a big key for ZETA is coming out, with a decent start. It doesn't have to be a strong start. They don't necessarily have to win the pistol and all those kind of things. But you can't have what happened on Haven the last time. If we go to that map.
ZETA is a win. ZETA easy win कौन लिखा? Mods. Oh mods, can you please clean this chat? ठीक है? Please, I request. ऐसे क्या बोलते हैं? गलत लिखने वाले लोगों को हाइड दे. ठीक है, मेरा प्रेडिक्शन 100% है और मैं बोला RRQ तो RRQ. बंस भाई, आप सिर्फ RR को सपोर्ट करते हो ना?
Speech is, Laz is very bubbly today. Lots of smiles, lots of just high energy from him. So maybe
-1.
this is an effect of him just knowing, you know what, I'm about to sit down in this chair and I'm going to lock in Chamber for the
Hello international land event title match MVP Pro.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's just the time
मैं
off.
हूँ.
But they've been able to just kind of disconnect, go home for a little bit, then come back in.
सबने ZETA
Have that
लिखा.
slight little break from the grind set.
मॉड्स जो लोग ने ZETA लिखा है प्लीज हेड मत दो ना. सबने लिखा भाई पूरी वॉचिंग जाएगी.
So curious to see what they have prepared for us, and that's just the least surprising thing in the
Oh,
world.
fine.
भाई रिवर्स
ZETA's
ही
actually
नहीं खेलेगा क्या?
fine out
रिवर्स
of
ही
the
खेल रहा
pool.
है
A
ना?
map that we've been seeing some chamber on, but a map that they're not super comfortable on, and Haven's actually going to be our Q.
पीछे से खेल रहा
Maybe they might
है.
try
कंट्रोलर है
a
उसका.
go at Pearl.
कंटेंट क्रिएटर है वो.
ZETA goes to Split, the map that they absolutely were, riding to those good finishes at Reykjavik. So
Yeah.
kind of interesting to see them go back into that.
Two maps that
Premier खेलने का
haven't
वाला
really
बंदा है.
seen that much chamber on
अगली
them,
बार.
but ones that I could see how you could make it work, at least to a certain extent. So I'm curious to see if that's going to come in or if that is just not in the game plan at all. But it is Ascent, a map that we kind of expected ZETA to go for from the outset that is left to the
पोल
third.
किधर है?
So they opted for split.
Poll.
This is obviously full well having watched RRQ take down Global Esports yesterday on that map. Granted, yes, it was close. There was some gaps there that RRQ were able to exploit, so it wasn't just complete and utter dominance. But
Yeah.
still, I think maybe perhaps a bit bold. We'll have to see how it goes.
And it's 2 out of the 3 maps that they played the last time they faced off in the regular season for Pacific, so they're going to be very well acquainted with each other. Now, my
Where is
question is, Laz,
Nope, Sova.
Sova still 10 on the Dep on Breach, 10 on
Oh.
Raze. I mean, 10
Let's
on Raze,
go.
fine. Den is a very good Raze player, and I expected that on Split, but here on Haven?
Interesting. I
No,
mean,
Uh,
Dep on Haven.
Dep just kind of
मेरे को ये लोग का कॉम्प अच्छा लग रहा है
looking
RRQ
at
का.
something, saying like, okay, he plays a good breach. I think I could do that too.
He's not a bad Breach. I'm not discounting
मैंने
that in
vote
any
करा.
way.
Very
He's
nice.
been, very effective in a lot of different agents, but he's so
भाई
good
दोनों
at
का
that.
कॉम्प
I mean,
अच्छा है यार.
This is very old school. What
Yeah.
they're going for right here. I mean, we saw Vision Strikers running this plenty of times when RB was still the main duelist. He'd go for that race. still
दोनों
be
का
able to
कॉम्प
get
अच्छा
back
ना?
in and go for some op kills. But this is a major shakeup here, not having depth playing that jet.
Well, I like it. I like the sound of this. I like the look of it. This
दोनों का
means
कॉम्प
they've
अच्छा
been
है.
trying something new. Laz is probably smiling for a reason
ZETA
because they have
2-0,
something up their
कल
sleeves
आना.
right now. We are
हाँ,
going to
कैसा है
find
मेरी
out
जान?
who will emerge
अरे, मेरे को- अरे।
victorious today. And taking
सब
us
लोग
through
देख रहे हैं
map
मुझे.
1 Haven is Quack and William.
मैं ये सीट पे बैठा था लास्ट वाला.
Thank you very much, Vic, and I'm just as flabbergasted as everyone else with this one, Will.
I'm just going to go ahead and say it. I hate it. I don't like it. And here's why. I'm going to tell you right away.
Ah.
Listen, all right? I've been happy, nice guy, William, in VCT for long
Are
enough.
you mad
I'm
now?
about to mauled, and here's
Barabar.
why. Even from back in the day, when they made their Miracle Run in Reykjavik, Depp would always play well when he was Duelist, and then he would always play not so well when he wasn't playing Duelist.
चलो मतलब ये लोग रीजंस रेडी कर रहे हैं कि जेटा हारेगा तो उसने जेट की ले लिया करके रीजन रेडी है अभी जल्दी आ रहा है चलो
Maybe when he doesn't have to keep focusing on lineups, maybe it'll be better. I don't like it.
He's out now, yes. Bang bhai, ये talent नहीं है,
Maybe
Korea
they will.
है.
That's what we have to count on
Language.
because it has been a couple months since the regular season at Pacific. Now, perhaps with Junior.
सामने कौन कौन मारता है? डेप मारता है बराबर, शुगर जीरो मारता है बराबर, 10 मारता है, 3 जन मारता है. इधर ईजे मारता है, एलिमोर मारता है, वीडियो मारता है. Privitri खेल लो ना उससे
Same with
अच्छा.
Crow's Killjoy. Exactly same, right? Both
हाँ,
of them
मारता है,
third
मस्ती
time.
कर
And my
रहा
big question is are you even going to buy an operator? You're on Haven. You absolutely need an operator, but we'll have to wait and see. Of course, they are on the attacking side first. So it awaits to be seen.
Yeah, but bear in mind again, like yesterday.
RRQ
this
man,
was
let's
more
go.
EJ's
Please
game.
answer कर दो,
He
जी का
was going
match
crazy on these
कब
two
होने वाला
maps,
है? खत्म हो
Haven
गया
and
भाई.
Split. Zeta must have things cooked up, but they are starting things off heavy towards the A site.
Yeah, and just a heavy investment of util from RRQ.
ये तो भी
right?
गए
They
बे.
use gravity well. They
भाई
use the
दिमाग तो है
recon
जेटा
bolt.
का.
And I like this adjustment from Zeta. They say, okay, so much of this was dumped,
Oh.
and because they know there were at least 2, if not 3 people, most likely 3 with that setup, they're going to push all the way out to Link. I like it. The post plant's not bad. Now they have the chance to wrap around.
But the question is, how do you hold this now? I mean, you are forcing your opponents to
Yeah.
push into you, to push into the B site, and you are fully heavily positioned around A Link. I like that Ken
ये
is
क्या
wrapping
है?
around, but this is going to be a big firefight. Aftershock, Ether ready, and Depp just throws it out for security. RQ are waiting for this, and 10, no, the flank is gone.
Yeah, I mean, they just baited him in. They tapped it so early. They drew the paranoia as well, and they're already sticking the defuse.
Oh, and it's just frenzies too. Way too low HP. Last cannot survive. RQ
ये
takes the
क्या
pistol.
देख लिया मैंने?
Okay, so the idea from Zeta, pretty good, right? The response was very snappy, which is something we wanted to see from Zeta. So I will say, okay, improvements
Look
seem
at
to be
5-man
there. However,
A-Link.
RQ's read, I think a big part of it was the spike was so blatantly planted
Eh?
Link, right? So you're just saying, okay, you guys are going to try, for these alleyway with the aftershocks and paranoias, we'll just draw those out. And then after the drought, you realize they're not spamming right away.
EJ ने मारा final kill, घर जाएगा.
Moore's waiting for a great start for RRQ.
Yeah, right. It's a good read, pretty blatant, and I just love that Nebula placement from 2G because it was that deep. It forces Jada to peek out into a fight, and they just cannot.
Oh,
You've got
पड़ी.
3 Bulldogs, Will, and they are just.
पड़ी
watching
भाई
and
500 पड़ी
toying.
ले एक गया.
Zeta
Look at this
still
health, right?
pushing up front. No.
I mean, at this range, the Spectre's gonna kill them all. They've all been shipped down by the Shock Dart and
Yeah.
even the full out Sugar Zero.
Hey,
Well, I mean,
kill
he's
chore.
stunned and concussed, without moving. His shooting is still relatively accurate.
भाई
so
इसका शरीफ
simple
मेरे को
shot,
बहुत अच्छा
and
लगता है
then
देखने
L4
को.
to clean things up. Flawless win
हाँ?
for RRQ.
Things are starting to look similar to yesterday, Quack. RRQ is running at it, and here's the thing is that that's not even necessarily a read on A. It does seem like RRQ, their game plan is going to be
भाई
we're just gonna
इन
keep
टीम में
forcing
सेलेक्ट कैसे
the
हो?
issue here
हाँ?
in A lobby, right? And then if we
इन
keep
ये टीमों में
control
तेरे को
of it,
सेलेक्ट
you
होना है.
don't have a Jet who's going to be able to
Exam
dash
दे.
into C-site. Raze is so much better at launching into that A-site with a utility, clearing, sewers with the boombot,
Huh?
things like
Who?
that.
Sorry?
And you're constantly forcing them back over to C or B, where all your utilities set up
RRQ
already in
too
this round.
strong,
Oh
yeah.
boy. I mean, I could kind of see it perhaps in the second half for retake scenarios, but yes, on the attack, it's going to be a little bit difficult, and it's just not going to be the same as what we saw in the first few weeks of Pacific with Depp on the Jet, but still, it's only round 3. Perhaps they have
तीन
something
round,
in the
तीनों
bag.
round ये लोग
Out
ने
with a little bit
A
of
main,
mid
3-man
presence,
push किया.
but RRQ does have a lot of A main control.
Now, something that Zeta's going to have to note off of that peek into garage is the nanoswarm wasn't actually placed at the door. It was placed right at the turret. So it shows that RQ's was, it's their nanoswarm actually being thrown out. So my bad on that one, just checking the mini-map.
Oh, ये
so
लोग-
all the nanoswarms
ये
still
लोग
on
short
B,
smoke
but
करके
they
उनको
should
पीछे
know
भगा
no
रहे हैं.
nanoswarms popped, right? So someone's waiting around the Killjoy because the turret was activated in garage for a trap play.
Tell me more, still hovering around that spot. So RQ has a lot more map control right now, and Zeta kind of has
क्या
to force
पड़ी
them to.
उसको?
The thing is, they have to be so aware of the positioning from RQ towards a lobby. Flips and Xpharaoh are in such a prime position to find the sprays.
Shit.
A double kill coming out from Xpharaoh, and this entire A-side aggression has been stopped.
RRQ's game plan
भाई,
today
वो लोग ने
is
EJ को
just
क्या clear
constantly
किया?
force them out of A site. Do not let them enter A. We will always have a new setup on B and C. And they're always just gonna force the issue with the Hunter's Fury as well. They want to keep the solo going.
And I guess 10 just didn't expect that there would be people pushing out of C-Link. The Hunter's Fury made them so uncomfortable as well, Will.
By RRQ.
I mean, I love the Hunter's Fury early as well. You got it that early, you might as well use it, right? You're about to win that round. You
Consistency to hai, power to you, Binks, always.
And then on top of that, I mean, this isn't even a team comp that's gonna utilize an attacking operator very well.
Bhai, kya marta na ye.
Down the options away from Zeta division, and Zeta's biggest homework right now is they either need to successfully break into BRC site on a rush or just bulldoze through this fault line on A. They have to find an answer.
You're talking about the options right now, and one of those things that are being blocked, it's not just the operator, it's the A site again, and you still have this presence coming out from Xpharaoh. He has the options, and RRQ are just waiting for this to come through. It's going to be full-on close-range battles, but RRQ... Xpharaoh! A quad kill out of nowhere! He just sprays them down!
No, not like this. I mean, I predicted RRQ, but Zeta, you cannot kick off your LCQ Pacific run like this. I know it's an eco. Yes, the round in theory is supposed to go to RRQ, but the biggest problem is this Sova on the opposing team just used his Hunter's Fury in round 3 and is about to get it in round 5, all right? He's about to get it in the next round if he does just as well. So this is not looking good.
4 points away from the next Hunter's Fury, and also that was the bonus round being won. Now another one. Such a big win too. This is huge momentum, a big surge of confidence for RRQ. Now they're starting to peek out a little bit more. They're starting to go hunting, and Xpharaoh wants his ace.
Get it. Wow. Listen, I mean, Xpharaoh was actually kind of the quiet one yesterday, right? It was the other players. It was more the rookie players on the side of RRQ that really shined through. And he starts off today.
Casters, मेरी बात एकदम ध्यान से सुनना. Yesterday का याद मत दिलाओ, please. Thank you.
And that's the thing that you really have to think about. Like you mentioned,
it's a
bit of an eco round, but surely you want to still do a little bit of damage. Granted,
भाई क्या होल्ड किया था उसने? मेरे को लगा एक ही मारेगा.
Predicted to win this one, but this is not the same Zeta that we saw in Pacific.
Yeah, and now the ops out, right? So now they can even invest the breach over to the C. Engage is coming, and EJ gets a kill as well. I mean, Zeta, listen, they either have to, I said it again and again, they either have to find a way to get into a site or try a rush on another site. They tried to have the read on the potential ops, so they didn't want to rush and, you know, get mowed down.
At least they're slowing down the pace, Will. They're kind of holding outside of garage.
Breeze देखो.
Presence towards a lobby. You do have
अगर किल जाए यहाँ पे ये किल जाएगा मारा ना ब्रिज टर्न करके ट्रेड भी ले लेगा.
Over onto the A site, but RRQ has so much control right now, so much presence everywhere that they don't really have to move all that much. Guys, Will is mauling.
Listen, I'm glad you reeled me back in though. So let's
ये लोग वो क्यों नहीं कर रहे midway shock dart?
The fact that they didn't just rely on the turret, but they also left Crow outside of garage, that's good, right? You can hear audio if they do run around, etc. Obviously this time it didn't happen, but I hope to see more of that. And currently, C-Site is most likely never mind.
Wow, he just holds the off angle. Perfect shots coming out from Elmimore and flips. And now Zeta down to 2 players left remaining. Tries to make a play outside from garage, but
भाई 1 सेकंड के लिए garage छोड़ा फिर भी वो लोग ने बोला बे विंडो आ गया रहेगा शायद.
A single round, it's 5-0 so far.
And 2 points away from a second Hunter's Fury.
माँ की आंख.
Xpharaoh, by the way. So that ult is not cheap. It costs a lot. It costs 8 full points, and he's about to potentially get 4 in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, like, in round 3, is he going to get it in round 6? And that's such a useful tool as well. That's why it costs 8 points. Hunter's Fury blocks out so much, and it can do quite a ton of damage.
भाई RRQ हल्का सा भी रोटेट नहीं कर रहे बता. ओवर रोटेट का दूर की बात.
Yeah, now
सिर्फ यूटिल्स और क्रॉसफायर में जितना होता है लड़ो.
Because part of this timeout is probably just to reel things back in,
B
right?
पे पूरा रीटेक छोड़ दिया है किलर यूटिल जितना होएगा वो डैमेज देगा.
But here's the bigger problem is because they were so focused on trying to bulldoze through, which I don't blame them for in the first couple rounds, they actually don't have much information on the default setups in garage.
सुनो मेरे को क्या लगता है देखो ए एग्रेसिव खेल रहा है जेटा प्लस उनके पास ऑफ भी है ठीक है तो सबसे पहले ड्रोन करके ऑफ को थोड़ा पीछे हटाओ और मिड पे शॉक डार्ट डालो और गराज में नेट डाल के टरेट तोड़ो ठीक है ये सब करने में कम से कम 40 सेकेंड्स लगेंगे, बराबर है। उसके बाद सीधा सी हिट कर सकते हैं या फिर ए हिट कर सकते हैं, बी तो जाना ही नहीं, समझ रहे हो? क्योंकि ए से वो लोग को पीछे भेजा तो बी पे रोटेशन फास्ट आएंगे, ये मेरे हिसाब से, ठीक है।
Work with your current agent
I
composition.
think
Sure, you don't have the jet.
it's
Maybe it is
gonna
10
be
on the raise.
something
and that's
like this.
explosive. However, you're talking about the default setup from RRQ, and Laz is the guy.
भाई
with
अभी
the
भी
info gathering
डिफॉल्ट नहीं कर
utility.
रहे बेटा।
Yeah, and now, okay, so this time it
सीधा
looks
ही
like
push।
because it's an eco, they just want to try to swarm the site, try to take out that operator, right? They have that nano swarm where it might be waiting, things like that. They're trying to shove them all the way back in.
Good fall line.
Yeah, this is fine.
ये
We'll
smoke
have to wait to see if
कितना
it
बाप है
actually
पता
leads
है?
to a potential drifting.
Well, they do start things off,
लेकिन
jumping
उसने
into
मारा
the
नहीं।
nebula. Crow will be able to get the first. However, Flip's still on the other side. Thankfully, they swarm him
whiff कर
down.
दिया।
It is going to be a trade. EJ's going to be watching the angle with his operator.
भाई लोग ने
but
कोच का
they
बात
have
सुना नहीं
the
लेकिन।
spike planted. At the same time, keep your eyes on Laz's position on the minimap because he's got some, maybe one shock dart lineup. As long as they can hold down this position, they've managed to pick up some weapons as well. They
भाई
should
क्या
be able to
shot
make
मारा
this
ना
happen,
डेथ ने।
but Elmi Moore will drop down. He gets traded off by Depp. 2GE now. 1 on 3 goes for the first peek, and suddenly 2 positions have been revealed to him.
Oh,
this is
no.
not impossible. Sneaks into hell, tries to drag them back down.
Ooh.
But Laz peeks out, single tap to the head, and ZETA finds her first win.
Okay, so
Binks,
I like
क्या
it in
दिया
theory, and then the
टप्पा।
execution worked out as well. Also, thanks, you know, on the side of ZETA, they're going to see thank you to RRQ. While RRQ didn't necessarily
टप्पा दिया बे।
overheat, they did keep their distance, right, outside of the
ए अपना ये किधर है रे?
Flipsider kept his
Right.
distance by A-Link. However,
Hey.
you know, his aim was a little shaky, and he still tries to stick it. He's like, well, I still have the better gun.
Where is
He
our
eventually
badge?
drops it, gives over one of the rifles. 210. This is a good start, a great
गया
timeout
रे?
conversion here for ZETA.
Has to be. I mean, it's a good show of numbers as well, the way that they actually flooded down the A site. However,
French
now you
कल ही
got
तो
to
डाला
speed
था।
into even more wins. They've got 5 ultimates that they're sitting on, and RQ has some counters as well.
Yeah, but here's the thing is that they brought the operator, but you're going to put it on Depp, who's your main operator player, but he's breached. He needs to use his utility.
गया।
We'll have
ओ
to see.
क्या?
Good flick. That's the way to start things off with the C split onto the C site.
लग
2G
गए।
cannot back
बाप
out. Showstopper
रे।
will connect and flips everyone else just hovering around C link. Crow with the positioning on window as well. It's gonna have to be a
भाई
safe
ZETA में
market when
PRX की
they-
आत्मा कहाँ से आ गई?
Absolutely. I mean, at this point, right, you just bought a new operator. Because on the last round, I think going for it, I think trying for it was fine. You were all pretty much capped on your credits. But now if you have to keep buying those operators again, it's going to be a little difficult. Especially, I believe they might have heard one shot coming out from depth, so you should be
ये लोग को
aware that
bridge
they
चाहिए
picked up
garage
the
के
operator
बाद।
as well. You're going to want one of your own. But let's talk
तो ये
about
लोग
what
का
just happened.
टी
While
garage
it's
और
not
B
conventional,
सब
while
secure हो जाएगा।
in my head, I don't like it that you're having your breach have to use the operator on the attacking side. It does work out quite well for C, right? Because if you're watching long and they're not able to peek you, as long as you're able to send more than one person into garage takeover, then they can watch the
Best
site
बोलते,
as
चड्डी
the breach
खोलते।
repositions for his utility to actually execute onto the site a little bit closer, which is exactly
भाई
what you
execute
want
देखने
for
में
the
मजा
race
आता है
as
लेकिन।
well. So they're working with what they got.
It's not too bad. You know, he's that backline support, and you were talking about their RQ's default positions from before.
वो देखना क्या
That's
क्या
kinda
नहीं
what
आता है
they've
भाई साइड
hinged
पे।
onto on the C site now. They know there's always a killjoy outside a garage, and Crow getting that flick into that little corner position was
खाना खा रहे हो।
huge for ZETA. At the same time, lurking out by window, they managed to push off and fend off any potential retake from RRQ. Still, this was a great round because they also
Default
only spent
करेंगे
one
लोग।
ultimate. They still have a lot more.
Yeah, they have a slew of options. Now we do see more default change-ups, especially from the Killjoy. And even Flipsider actually pushing all the way out off the back of this operator watching for B. So he is tucked right in. However,
Whoa.
if he gets caught, it's over. There's no way out for him.
Good flash, though.
Yeah, but
Still.
this might sell the fake even more. Right, the
He's
Odin
just
and the
waiting.
operator, they're like, surely no one's actually pushed out off of this.
No way you jump out of window off of that one. 10. Okay. Blast packs into safety. Now they're kind of aware.
भाई
But
सब
then
साउंड
again,
आ
this
गया
limits
ब्रिज
your
को।
options. Because of this mid presence, you're going to have to be so careful with how you want to go back towards A. You can't do that. You're going to have to go through C this time. And 10.
ये लोग फिर
trying
भी
to
जीत
step
सकते हैं
up.
अभी।
You will be able to flick around, get flips off.
ये भी low है।
Sparrow's still around window, though. Rolling Thunder execute onto the C site. Can they get to
No.
G?
हे
Will they bring it
भगवान।
down? He managed to kick down Depth. The Hunter Sphere will connect, but still, this is a 2-on-2 with a defending lockdown in place. EJ
भाई
peeks
उस
off
पे
of
क्या
it
क्या
and
आया
Mind
बे?
Blast. Momentum again back in RQ's hands.
Oh man, the Rolling Thunder into Hunter's Fury was so good too, right? You know that when it's Astra, she's
क्या
still
था
gonna
ना?
try to anchor down on the site with her own smokes, with things like the gravity well.
उसने फिर भी
And
मारा
she'll just
एक
say,
को.
okay, well, if you're in sight, you're stunned somewhere, so I will eventually tag you. But however, the biggest thing is first of all, they lost Crow initially, right, to Flipstrider, so they had to act a little faster than they originally wanted to. The adaptation was good, but as soon as Hunter's Fury was used, the defense lockdown comes out, and then ZETA starts to scramble just a bit.
Yeah, it's definitely that mid play coming out from Flips too. I mean, RRQ looks like they are in the driver's seat this one, kind of dictating the plays against ZETA. I liked when ZETA were rushing a couple rounds ago, because that's when they forced RRQ towards the back. But now it's going to be a lot more difficult because of his firepower, because of the positioning. Both teams trying to contest for A long control.
Yeah, they even gave over the operator because they didn't want to drop it. So RRQ meant to play aggressively here. However, they do drop EJ. So this draws in Flipstrider. And again, a reminder, he has an operator. I think you might even switch to the rifle if you're going to stick around here.
भाई क्या रिफ्लेक्स लगता है बे इसके लिए भाई साहब.
Operator now picked up. Xfero finds another frag. ZETA's attacking for
अबे क्या ये बंदा? क्या खाया इसने सुबह?
heroics of his own. It's gonna get taken out. 2 players left. Still gonna have to try to go for a spike plant, but the retakes will look good for our
बाकी टीम को खेलने देगा या नहीं?
The post-plant scenario is so rough if you go into B side, but that's pretty much where you're gonna have to plant the spike in. They will give over the plant itself, it does look like. I mean, you're not full health on Zafiro. You weren't all quite ready for B site. The turret's cleared, though. I like this idea from ZETA. They do have to push out.
Ooh. And they are going for it. Flips trying to hold them and buy them off. And he does manage to get their attention away for a second. Let's see, Crow can pull off some heroics on his own, but
ZETA वालों का aim तो लग रहा है.
Slightly crispier on the aim.
Aim लग रहा है, लेकिन
in the lead.
एक्सफेरो कुछ ज़्यादा ही फॉर्म में लग रहा है.
I'm starting to already think ahead to the second half, and here's the thing: the whole operator on dep on the breach on attacking side. Okay, I'm a little sold on it, especially for C-side.
है वो बंदा.
On defense, if you have your breach staring down a scope on one side of the map, he is not providing support with those fault lines, right?
Yeah.
So surely, hopefully, if they do choose to buy an op, it's on 10, or they're always pushing out, and that's always risky. So I hope for ZETA's sake that they can pick up the remaining 3 rounds.
If you don't, that's gonna be maybe an 8-4 or 9-3.
मेरे को तो मिड में शॉट डाट देखने का है. कब मारेगा पता नहीं.
Difficult nonetheless. ZETA trying to make use of their current buy. However, EJ still, this is his thing. He's so unpredictable. Suddenly peeking out a garage this time.
And a double peek as well? You saw the raise and you peek back out. I mean, ZETA, they didn't quite expect that. They put up the turret just to check, but they didn't think he'd swing out again off of the turret.
And now if you're pushing into C, like, you gotta be aware that he could be backside. That's why they're spending utility just to clear this out. However, look at the positioning from RRQ. They're already setting up for the retake.
Yeah, but you can tell ZETA, they're rushed,
Breach का
right?
position बहुत
for the
अच्छा है.
plan to go down for the lockdown, so RRQ does get a couple extra seconds, which means, ZETA, you're gonna have to regain control of a bit more of the map. I'm not so quite sure about the C-Link push, but Garage should be good enough.
Well, if they can hold down these 4 positions, it would be good. However, the bleeds and then the trade from LB Moore. 10 still hovering outside a window. He's been discovered. Crow!
Hello!
And LB Moore pushes out a garage. He's trying to kick them down, but Sugar Zero says no. Flip.
भाई ये राउंड कैसे निकाला बे?
However, footsteps have been heard. All it comes down to is the shots now, and Aftershock will be spent to flush him out of position. Crow goes in for the crouch and flips.
भाई क्या ये?
Time?
I think so.
Wow. 0.36. I mean, I saw
ने दूसरा कैसे मारा वहाँ पे?
barely start down on the last couple seconds as he stuck the defuse, but man, the battle of the utility at the end as well, right? Nano Swarm versus Aftershock, you're both just trying to buy yourself time and get info, but at the end of the day, Flips gets the kill just in time.
कहाँ निकाला? मतलब उतना भी close नहीं जाना चाहिए था.
Actually looking a lot better than they did during the season, right? They're mid-rounding to certain situations, to certain kills.
ये इधर उधर थोड़ा left right हो गया.
Generally in the right direction, or at least in one of the better choices they can make in those scenarios. But if the problem is they're always adapting off of a death. That's the problem, right? They're always having to do this 4v5 or with one of the ults missing or something like that, and it's quite rough.
It's very reactive. And that's why I said RQ are in the driver's seat. And thinking about the rounds now, you know, we were talking about potential 8-4, 9-3.
एस्ट्रा का अच्छा ना
ZETA
चैट
is
2 स्टार
running
डाल के
out
बेटा
of
उसको कुछ
cash.
नहीं कर लेने का
So it's half
ये आ
buys,
गया तो
and if they cannot
स्टार्स
start
डालना है
winning
वरना
rounds, this
तेल
second
लगाने का
half will be rough.
Yeah, and on that same note that I made just
Failed
now,
the
okay, the
ulti.
Hunter's Fury being used out just to even get a kill. I was gonna say kind of clear up both a lobby and window, which would have been amazing information just to start. But they even get the kill.
India का setup देखो
because the lockdown was used on the other side right the round before. It's probably not coming online for the remainder of the half. But RRQ's 4v5 conversions also have to be pretty good so far here on this Haven.
I think they could do it. Tell me more. Just dancing back and forth between the covers. Xpharaoh peeking out of C-Link.
भाई क्या setup था ना यार
But you got 5 targets to hit.
Well, boy, do you wish you were Jet now with your Blade Storm. Let me tell you that much. Because if it was, we could say, okay, maybe Def can make a miracle happen. But it's tough. It's tough as that breach.
Not only does he not have blades, he didn't have a single.
ट्रस्ट को हिट नहीं करते हम
I mean,
इमर्डस
they've been
प्रो
trying to come in
इंडिया
for
बात है
C-site for a couple rounds now, and it's always with 10 and those paint shells towards back sight. Def with a little bit of supportive utility, and if it doesn't work and you continue to commit, everything just falls apart. Will.
Yeah, and the problem here is that again, it wasn't the Astra who was completely locking it down.
यार भाई
Killjoy,
बहुत
which
ज़्यादा
is
फॉर्म में है
a
बे
different
बहुत
position
ज़्यादा
when you're
फॉर्म में
trying to anchor down on your own within the site. It's not going to be that back platform.
बे
Now it's
17
going back to
17-4
2G's
क्या
role to
स्कोर
hold
होता है
that.
भाई
You still have that nanoswarm to buy time.
Look
You
at
still have
the
the turret watching
operators.
garage. And wow, 3 operators, 2 Odins. I'm sorry, ZETA, but I don't think you're entering anywhere on this map.
What a way to start day 3 of LCQ.
I mean, I'm kind of curious what 2G's operator looks like, I'll be honest, but I don't think we're going to find out.
We've heard
यार मेरे जैसा ऑफ करेगा क्या 2G
aim. However, yeah, ZETA are not going to toy with that right now.
Well, they found one of them. They found one of the ops. Now there's 2 more to find.
Okay, from the shadows back to heaven, and surely RRQ is aware of this. Now they're going to try to
पिछला
spend a little bit more just to maybe take him out. Paranoia will be sent out early, and with all this space,
ये मैं
they
बोलता हूँ
should-
करने का
they
लोगों
will
को
be able to get the A
वो
site.
जो करते
However,
नहीं है
Xpharaoh
कितना
is just
स्पेस
hiding
किया
it.
है देखना
No, they have
Oh,
to pitch
they
this.
don't
They have to
check
pitch
it.
this. No! They don't wait for Crow. Crow eventually
इसको
gets
भी
it.
हेड मारा उसने
Oh my goodness, you already lose one and the lockdown's pushing them all out.
Raids, 10 has to hold. He will be able to get the first. However, the lockdown
खत्म
pushes them away, and
कुछ नहीं
without
कर
the
सकता भाई
positioning,
कुछ
Laz
नहीं
and Pro, even with shock dart lineups, Elmi Morse just
कुछ
sticking it
नहीं
all
कर
the way
सकता
through. Oh, RRQ ends the first half 10-2 with a couple more kills to boot.
किलजॉय अल्टी एस्ट्रा
Okay, so
वॉल
now that we're at
डिवाइड
halftime, I just want to calm down and let the
कोने में
viewers know
नेड
that-
आफ्टर शॉक माँ की
Here's
क्या
the thing
करेगा
is, I'm not molding because Zeta's playing terribly, actually, right?
Sure.
It's just that they put themselves in this agent composition and the players that are playing them where they actually don't have their best options, right? You're not able to use an aggressive operator as a curveball to throw a wild card. Because here's the thing, I actually think a lot of the decisions they made were good. It's simply that RRQ was a step ahead. I mean, RRQ
बात
forced
है।
the issue on, hey, don't come A site. Eventually, they went to C, and RRQ said, okay, so now we know you're going to come C every time because A never worked for you. They were always ready on C side. And in the last round, they say, well, no matter where you come, we're going to have an operator ready to go. So this is more of a RRQ clearly out of game.
आगे उनके सो आगे
They
बस
picked this map, and I like that ZETA's changing things up, but sometimes the opponent
वाह
puts
क्या
up
भाई
more
से
than
का
23
टेंट
CS
उसके
if
बाद
you
भी
can't
बैट
do
ने
it.
बोल रहे हो वो लोग
And it's not just like
मैं बोल रहा हूँ
crazy
जेटा
CS
एक्चुअली
I mean, he
गंदा
gets
नहीं खेल रहा
these
है
big
RRQ
numbers
बहुत अच्छा खेल रहा है
because of that the
बहुत।
sense to hide in certain positions. I mean, we're talking
भाई
about
ऐसा
that
कोई
A-side
मारेगा तो
presence,
क्या
and
स्ट्रैट
yes,
काम
they're
करेगा
trying to go for it.
क्या मार रहा है बंदा
Maybe
भाई
they have some interesting ideas, right? From the shadows towards heaven. I kind of like that. But you're still doing the same thing as what we saw in the first few weeks of Pacific. You're operating off assumptions.
ZETA
You did
जीतेगा
not
मेरे हिसाब
clear
से
or check short. And
ZETA
it's
जीतेगा
just tough to try to
मेरे को
change
लग
the
रहा
game
है
plan that
जेटा
way.
जीता
Yeah,
चलो
we do have the DRS game
चलो चलो
changer
चलो
team here, and
RRQ
looks like
हो
they're
गया
a
भाई
little
तुम्हारा
split on who they're cheering for. If I had to guess, I'm gonna guess the Japanese players are cheering for ZETA, and maybe
उनका
one
मैप
or
है
two
भाई
of the players that are
होपफुली
holding the
नेक्स्ट
RQ
मैप
signs might not be the Japanese players on the game changing team.
You
But
think
either
so?
way, great to see the overall support just here to cheer on LCQ Pacific.
आपको क्या लगता है जी वर्सेस जेटा में कौन जीतता पर्स भाई फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई डोंट गिव अ फक समझ रहे हो इससे बढ़िया हम लोग खेले, जेटा वर्सेस हम में हम जीत जाते। एंड ऑफ द डे एक स्लॉट है, ठीक है, एक टीम जीतेगा। अपने को ऐसा बनना है कि हम एटलीस्ट इसमें बेस्ट रहे ताकि वो स्लॉट अपने को मिले, ठीक है। उसको हरा सकते, इसके सामने जीत सकते, कुछ मैटर नहीं करता। हाँ, एंड ऑफ द डे जेटा अभी भी उधर है, अपन घर पे। समझ रहे हो? समझ रहे हो?
Right, this wasn't your pick. You have to let it go. But hey, if they win the pistol, anything can happen.
Well, they're throwing out utility
Full-
pretty
oh,
early
baap
on, and
re!
it's gravity well placement from 2G.
Khatam.
Pretty
Ay!
close. He's gonna find one and then hides back in. Not quite committing until his teammates arrive for help. And Elmi Moore
भाई क्या
will be the
सेक्सी
guy
कॉम्बो
to
किया है यार।
assist. Double kill coming through now, and that leaves us with Deb.
Aftershock है
He's
उसके
got
पास।
one flashpoint. The spike not yet planted, so
Excuse me,
he
Deb
could
भाई,
make some momentum plays off of this.
Aftershock?
They're gonna keep
Already
their
pushed
distance.
up into a position, but
Yeah,
that's right.
They know it's a frenzy.
And Elmore has a ghost, and he has been sharp on it. Fault line has been
They don't
kind
know.
of covered from cooldown.
They
Close
don't
down to
know.
the peak. Oh, look at this sneaky
4
play.
बुलेट।
And now he's inching up a little bit closer again. Frenzy versus Frenzy. Flips.
You gotta reload. You have to
No!
bullets. Oh my god! At least he didn't die just
Aftershock.
for reload.
Done.
I will say that. Okay. I was getting really antsy when it was down to 4. He was down to 2. But it was simply that he didn't get the timing on the drop.
I do
And-
like that he kind of hopped up onto logs for a second just to get further.
50
into the
मेंबरशिप
game.
का
I find
चैलेंज
that,
करेगा
you know,
कि
and
आरआरक्यू
hung back
जीतेगा।
a little
मैं
second
पहले ही
more,
बोला
just
जीतेगा,
around
वो तो
utility.
क्यूटी को देख के मैं फिसल
Flips,
गया।
continued going further in and just lands that final headshot too.
Oh man, I mean, a rough start. Here's the thing, I mean, ZETA clearly has made efforts to make the change that a lot of us have been asking to see. That much is true, and so we'll have to, I'm almost thinking a little far ahead of myself and thinking forward to the next match, which is their pick on Split. Hopefully we see more of that. But even on Haven, I will say, you want to continue that trend. You don't want to say just because we lost, maybe that doesn't work. No, the direction of your changes were good. You actually just have to gain a bit more
भाई
confidence.
क्रेजी
have
कॉम्बो
one or
किया ना,
two
लेकिन
extra
आरआरक्यू ने
steps ready to go.
फिट भाई।
Right. And again with those fundamental issues as
Done,
well.
blind,
on the
backside
defense,
pull,
it does
nade.
feel a little bit
Mark.
better, but with the pistol round lost, although that first round was
Oh.
close, this is not the way you want to start things off. So 10 gone now, and you are only left with Laz to kind of fortify the A side. He's going to hide inside the dark cover, which is nice, but how do you hold off against these rifles coming through?
I mean, they gotta close the gap. You're running with.
भाई आज लोग नहीं बोलेंगे
Oh,
EJ
close
इतना
the gap.
गंदा
You
खेल रहा है,
cannot
बस
create more
बाकी अच्छा
distance. I
खेल
mean,
रहे
you're
हैं
falling
तो
back.
Yeah,
bullshit
it's
करता
just
है,
sped
इधर
through the
पर-
smoke too.
कौन बोला
Will.
EJ
Oh
गंदा खेल रहा है?
god. RQ now just trying to waterfall in one by one, bit by bit. Depth falls, and then we've got Crow.
I mean, this is. Listen, I actually think Crow's
30
aim has
seconds
gotten a lot better since he's on that killjoy. A bit more autonomous. He just can set up his utility. Doesn't have to worry about lineups. You know, on things like the recon bolts or other agents that he's been playing throughout the
oh!
season. But this round, it's rough, right?
एक
You're
इंच
on
से
a
बच
retake
गया
on
बे।
A site on Haven with a stinger against 4 people who have rifles. So this one's probably gone. But okay, match point comes up. What do you do after that? Let's think ahead. You never want
भाई
to
बोल मत
completely
ही
give up.
मारेगा।
And you have to start to think, we're going to have to force buy again, right? It's going to be a mixed buy once again. The
मेरे को
obvious
इसका
thing
headshot
to do
percentage
would be
देखिए
to
सर।
try to stack,
किसको
you know,
support
A
कर रहा है बंक्स?
site
RRQ
maybe, or maybe just a little
baby!
bit of B in case there's a curveball. But if I'm RRQ, I actually
ये
think I can
comparatively
risk
अच्छा खेला।
going to B site a little bit, right? Because you assume they're going to try to close the gap
मस्त
on
खेला।
another site. You just push through, start pushing out into Link, and I'd love to see ZETA try to be, you know, one up RRQ.
जेटा और आरआरक्यू किसको सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं? आरआरक्यू
Guess
बेबी।
that's what this timeout is.
बोलेगा तो लाइक नहीं आएगा।
But
अरे लाइक
it's
करो रे
a bit of
भाई,
a double-edged
मैं
sword.
बोलता नहीं हूँ
Mark
यार।
gets to
लाइक
talk
करो,
to
लाइक
his
करो,
team
लाइक
at
करो,
the
लाइक करो,
same time.
I do like
लाइक करो, लाइक करो।
you might as well use the timeout to get more time to
30
think
सेकंड
about
का
things,
टाइम
to
आउट है, कुछ
cool
काम
off,
नहीं अपने को
calm
करने
down,
को। लाइक
try
करो
to at
जल्दी।
least get your head back in the game on this map.
हेलो
so you don't
हेलो
have to
वेदांत।
warm up your mental
कल का
on
मैच
map
वालों
two,
चुप हो जाओ,
right?
बात करो।
I mean, again, you have to look at it long term. It is a best of 3. You're
एग्रेशन
not,
टॉप्स ना
you know,
भाई,
losing
क्रेजी
to
कॉम्बो
lower
किया ना वो
bracket
लोग।
just off of Haven. You still have Split, your own pick to look forward to, which means you got to fix your mental, you know, any maybe small mechanics, any
जेटा का
right
फर्स्ट
now,
राउंड
these last
अच्छा था
potential
रे,
couple
कि वो
rounds
लोग
that
ने
you
देखा
can
3
extend
बंदे ए पे,
before you go
गराज
to
में
your
एक का
map.
साउंड है, बी घुस गया, लेकिन उसके बाद सब
That's
एलिंग
you
जाना
can
थोड़ा
hope
सा
for in some ways as well. But
थोड़ा
just
सा
for us to
dicey
think
था।
about too, right? I mean, Are they gonna go with
उसे तो
these
सब
similar
A-Link
roles
से सीधा
for the
A
next
जाते,
map? And is
एक
that
city
kind of what we
रुकता,
want?
ऐसा कुछ
Because
होता तो अच्छा होता.
Des was talking
Here's a
about
Bunks
it.
by
He was
tuning in after a
mentioning
long time. All
Reykjavik
Gucci
run that
Nitish
they
bye,
had.
all
They
Gucci.
had
Thank you for the
Def on a rampage.
$5.
Everyone was flowing and feeling the same way. Clinton, Paperthin has been waiting for it last to go on Chamber. With this current setup, I'm not so sure, Will.
Yeah, well, yeah, on split they could actually run the chamber, right? They could just have the singular initiator on a Sky or something, and they could make that work. But yeah, so see, RQ, they take the chance. They just say, hey, it's a bonus. We upgrade to a couple of rifles. Let's just go to B-side, because that's what they're not going to expect.
Okay, there is a little bit of a stack from ZETA, but closer towards the C side. And however, 10 peeking out of A-Link by himself. He's going to get picked off. Crow does have a judge. So maybe working together as a team to flood down the spike, he might be able to get a little bit more space. But look at RQ's positioning. As soon as the spike goes down, they're falling all the way back because they know they have the range. And all they got to do is to spray and pray. Hello, Jesus. It's going to be Sugar Zero getting a little bit more. However, EJ, the Lord, comes down once more. And he ends out the map 13-2.
Wow. I mean, absolutely the most dominant form we've seen RRQ, right? And not against a weak team. ZETA Division, sure, they've had some glaring weaknesses, but they were never a weak team, right? They still made it to playoffs. And, you know, there's always that hope of that miracle run. They always seem to turn up when their backs are up against the wall. They made these changes clearly very intentionally. And I will say, the way they worked the changes were very good. I'm not a big fan of the player and the roles, but whatever you had in the server, you were working with it, right? That attack operator, they made it work on the breach. They had some good ideas. The responses very instant. So the attitude change, mental change is good, but RRQ is clearly looking.
देखना stun one यहाँ पे भी recon हो रही है.
Very decisively as well.
इधर recon हो उधर भी ace मारा भाई.
Sparrow with 19 kills, Elmi more flips as well. I mean, they were autonomous with their decisions in some of these rounds. What we did like from ZETA was, you know, off the timeout, I think like round 6 or so, when they went for that set plays towards the C-side, that kind of on that operator,
we want the same thing over there.
So much space, so much value. That was great. That worked out. We need
This is normal.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? The timeout, the first timeout from Junior did wonders, right? It got them that 3 rounds in a row. Of course, unfortunately, that's all they got on this entire map. But clearly, I mean, Junior's
make sure you return this today.
I cannot return it anymore.
I don't know.
I'll be honest, bigger
अभी मेरे को return चाहिए.
It's a good sign for a team that has been so static.
गुस्सा आ रहा है.
However, RRQ has been grinding away just as much in the past month or two in the case of RRQ. And so clearly, RRQ just needs to be ready.
क्योंकि उसमें चाय रहता था ना, अभी का अभी गिर जाता.
Making the calls, that early A-round, a long presence, with so many smokes just so oppressively blocking off ZETA.
Yeah, I will say, I think it's not so much the mid-rounding this time, but simply the pure reads they had round to round. I mean, RQ was in ZETA Division's head the entire way through.
Yeah, I think that final round is a clear example of that as well. I mean, you were talking about how they could actually dive
तो same आपकी तरह के लहान ना
match not expected, and that definitely did happen.
Yeah, and ZETA, I mean, they weren't all totally far away. They were potentially
ये छोड़ मेरा वो किधर है मोबाइल?
Shock was things like that again. Just RQ being
अरे मेरा मोबाइल किधर है?
in terms of what's the start of the round look like.
Yeah, they definitely look a little bit more practiced, a little bit more comfortable as well. And EJ, again, I mean, although he's not topping the scoreboard, similar to his performance from yesterday, he's carrying some of these theatrics over.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely great performance from RQ all throughout. But ladies and gentlemen, it is a best of 3. Nothing's decided yet here in the upper bracket for the double elimination stage of LCQ Pacific. So we'll move on to map 2 after this break. Down by the shock dart and even the full, and they're always just gonna force the issue.
मोबाइल के टेक ले. क्या?
बैंगलोर में काम आएगा लाइफ.
हाँ? बे कौन बज रहा है बे? प्रो का हेडशॉट में 36% है. प्रो में एनीमोर बहुत मारता है. इसको जो मारा है ना, भाई वो देख ना पीछे क्या क्या हो रहा है उनके साथ.
Committing on- well, his teammates are right. He cannot creep or distance. I mean, they're falling back. Yeah, great. Hello, Jesus. It's gonna be Sugar Zero getting a little.
Only this team can save C. Binks, Elvin, Chop, Ray4C, Barkley. मजा तो आएगा खेलने. देव का तो पता नहीं. अरे मगर 47% है. हाँ कसम.
हेडशॉट प्लीज तेरा कितना
मेरा तो 78 कुछ.
78 वॉट बॉडी शॉट
78% हेडशॉट परसेंट है लैन इवेंट में मेरा. ठीक है MVP था मैं MVP.
हाँ।
ये ऑनलाइन मेरे से नहीं होता ब्रो.
प्रूफ का है
ऑनलाइन
Proof
मेरे
का
से
है।
नहीं होता है.
प्रूफ का है
ब्लॉग देखे
प्रूफ का है
Vlog
टीडीएम वाले प्रूफ का है
ब्लॉग देखे स्ट्रीम देखे लाइव
Vlog में
सब
तो नहीं
देखे
है, मैंने तो
बैठ
देखा।
के काउंट करे हेड्स.
ब्लैक में तो देख नहीं देखा मैंने फैन में नहीं देखा कहाँ है?
एक फेमस इंसान ने एक बात कही है.
जल्दी चटको वहां से जल्दी हटो वहां से
यार मेरे सारे फेमस इंसान के बारे में तुझे कैसे बता.
देखा गाइस इसको बोलते हैं शादी पाव
बिंग्स का हेड टांगों पे होता है. लैंग्वेज
हाँ बराबर
सेल्फ प्रोक्लेम MVP जो है वो है. यू कैन आस्क द फेलो स्ट्रीमर्स मैं था कि नहीं. पिंकी की जोड़ी दुम चाय. मैं अगर ऐसा रखा
हाँ।
अरे नीचे का वो खोल दे ढक्कन.
तेरे पे गिरे
देखने गए क्या? नहीं
देखने का
सॉरी
कीबोर्ड पे डाल के
सॉरी.
मेरे को ये लेके देना
हाँ
कापी चैट
ये चित्र को आर यू रेडी. अंधा हो गया मैं. कहते देना ओए साथ जोड़ा
मैं तो पिंक कपड़ा हूँ
पिंक कपड़ा देना है रे. फोन देना काम वाम आएगा मालूम नहीं पड़ेगा. ओ देख ब्रिमस्टोन आया चैट में फोटो देख उसका.
अभी बोल दो पिंक बाय ओ बाय
अरे जाना और क्या. मैंने तो बोला रॉसी बेकार खेला बट मैं तो ये कह रहा था कि सिर्फ रॉसी बेकार नहीं खेला टीम भी बेकार खेली. दैट्स इट. यू कांट कॉम्प्रिहेंड दैट. तो मेरी क्या गलती. बात तो है यार. बात तो है प्रेमिस. व्हाट कैन पीपल डू. उनको अंडरस्टैंड करो यार. इतना बड़ा मैसेज लिखा बेचारे ने.
बड़ा पाव खाओ मैंगो दे
अग्नि भाई इतना बड़ा मैसेज के बाद भी समझा करके लिख दे. भाई से उसको ट्रिगर मत करा भी बोल रहा हूँ. वाले ने अरे
इसने इतना बड़ा पैराग्राफ लिखा उसने एक
इतना प्यार
सेंटेंस
से
लिखा
समझा रहा है. ओके ही बोल देता है यार अग्नि भाई. अरे भोसड़ी वाले हो आप. हाँ?
अरे वो तो है को
हाँ? ओके लिख देता है यार बेचारे के लिए.
ये लफड़ा हो रहेगा इस चैट में एंजॉय करो
सीधा अब भी पर तो है कौन. हाँ उसका आया बेचारा. जाना तूने मुझे टैग किया पहले मैंने तो नहीं किया. बात अग्नि भाई की गलती. प्रीमस भाई मुझे आप बहुत ही ज्यादा समझदार दे रहे हो. आप मुझे बोलो अग्नि भाई को मैं टाइम आउट दूं या हाइड दूं. हाँ आप मुझे बोलो. पिंकी ये जेटा को सपोर्ट करने वाले औरतों को डांट रहा था. लैंग्वेज
Hello?
भाई लैंग्वेज.
क्या
स्क्रिप्टेड लफड़ा दोनों फ्रेंड्स है. वेरी नाइस. लफड़ा ब्लॉक कर लो बंक्स. लैंग्वेज मैंने इससे बात किया था.
Incredibly short game to start off today, and Zeta honestly not looking so hot.
Yes, मैंने बात किया था
RRQ, you know,
उससे.
taking this win. Probably this is
बंग भाई स्ट्रीम करो, नूब की तरह खेलते हो तब मजा आती है. चलो इस लफड़े में ब्रेक भी हो गया, पता भी नहीं चला. हाँ सुमर टक्कर. थैंक बिंग्स भाई, मुझे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. लमाओ, मुझे कोई पैसा नहीं दे रहा पैरा लिखने के लिए. मुझे क्यों बोल रहा है यार? मैं तो तेरे साइड हूँ. नहीं तू उसको टाइमर हेड कुछ नहीं दू.
पिंकी नहीं देख रही, मैंने ऑयल लगाया.
बारबी और ओपेनहाइमर.
बारबे मैं वो भी देखूंगी, बारबे भी देख.
क्या
दोनों देखो.
जब बारबी देखोगे अकेले जाना.
अंकी है मेरे साथ.
जाओ दोनों.
हे पिंकी.
जाओ.
और पोंकी हमारा लेके जाएंगे.
पोंकी कौन है अभी? यूफो.
यूफो.
मेरी चैट को ऐसे इग्नोर करते हो, क्रश हो क्या? आज भी जी फाइटिंग लिखूंगा. हाँ सब लर्न हो सब. आप उन सब की गोटियां भोसड़ी.
क्या चल रहा है ये, क्या चैट है रे बाबा.
अलग नशे में ना. चलो लड़ाई लड़ाई माफ करो, अपना अपना घर साफ करो. मैच शुरू होने वाला है, फुल स्क्रीन करो अभी. पिंकी दी ने क्या खाना बनाया आज?
आज चाय बनाई.
चाय बनाई. ए मेरे को मंगाने
If
का
you want to run 10 on race, I am 100% fine with that on most.
क्या देखते, मेरे को पहले फोन दे, मेरे को थोड़ा स्क्रॉल करने दे.
Was non-existent. Finally, they
Zomato
finally
score
were able to
करने
kind
दे
of
यार.
lock a few players out of position. I like the Cypher cam. That was good. That was good. But
ये दौड़ा भी मंगा.
look,
मेरे को नहीं चाहिए ना. मेरे को तो खाने दे.
it's taking everything in my power here
Yeah,
to not
dosa
just
का है
like
ना,
lose
अलग
my
है.
mind, because to me this is a coaching problem. Like
मैं तुमके कब से क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
रही थी तभी रेड में.
तो कपड़ा अलग था, बंदी वही है.
Show me her face.
हे भगवान, if ganja had a face. हाँ. मोबाइल लाओ ना प्लीज.
आप भी उठ के ला सकते हैं.
हाँ
आप भी उठ के ला सकते
दूर से ऐसे जाना पड़ेगा ना.
हैं. मेरे को भी दूर से
तेरे को काम नहीं है, कुछ काम नहीं है, तेरे को उठना नहीं है वैसे भी. नहीं मतलब पूछ रहा हो है कि नहीं काम.
You only say that so much because this is also a map that has been in the pool for so damn long, and your team's been together the whole time.
क्यों
You
लेके जाऊं
haven't made
मैं?
changes. You should be naturally decent at this map by this point. So this is definitely hyper concerning as we get ready to go into split. We have to see
Pinky
a
one, Binks.
very different Zeta going into that second map. If 10 is still going to be running on that raise,
I'm
if
fine
it's going
with
to be
that.
double duelist, sure, okay. But the issues that we're seeing from them, where they're not checking
Huh?
corners, they're not using util to get themselves into size, and they just get mowed down, that cannot happen.
Yeah, and but it was happening since the very first round. Exactly that. In fact, let's talk about that, Achilleos. At round 4, we saw a lot of mowing happening.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Sparrow,
it's like my dad on Saturday morning.
Yeah,
a lot of mowing.
trimming the lawn. I mean, but this is another moment here. I mean, 10's going up. He's trying to check over towards
Abe?
Suicide. And then you've got one by one Binks pushing around the corner.
मेरा मोबाइल.
Sparrow just holds down left click, and then eventually he's able to find the ace. This was round 4. Yes, they are on a light buy, but I can promise you, the rounds ahead of that, round 3 especially in the bonus, getting their first rifle round through, wasn't much better.
Nope.
It was just these same issues continuing. Then they follow up to go ahead and win a 5th round in a row on the side of RRQ. Zeta finally pumped the brakes. They call a timeout, and they're able to get 2. And then that was it. That was the only 2 they could get.
Now, like you pointed out, Paper Thin, we should get credit to RRQ as well. We saw a bit of this yesterday. You had mentioned it at the desk. And today, you know, they had so much spare change. You know when you resource gather and then you never use it at the end of the game? Well, that wasn't the case for RRQ, right? They were spending all that cash on Ops and Odins.
Yeah, I love the way that they approach these rounds, these kind of unique gun strategies. So they actually grabbed an Odin here onto Elmimore into Garage and spam to take space. And they also have the op on top of the B site. The generator to give Flip the ability to get under the window. So really keep your eye on the Flips here because he's not really accounted for. Now 10 trying to do what he can to kind of keep this op busy, and he's able to escape death using one of his blast packs when he gets trapped in that west side corner of the B window. But like, this is just great stuff. This is, again, I wanted to show this round because of something I talked about yesterday on the desk where they used the double Odins on their attacker side on this map to push base towards mid courtyard. And this time they do it the other way around. And this gives them the ability to get this onto Crow, who is actually having a somewhat okay performance here on the Killjoy. Yeah, 10's able to clean that up, but now you have all the information in the world. You're allowed to make these flank rotates from X-Pharaoh, who is just absolutely disgusting. This Rolling Thunder, even though it hits, there's a kill is able to come through here for 2GE despite that. And Laz has to use a Hunter's Fury of all things to clear this out. I mean, this is just, nobody's checking corners, nobody's watching angles. The protocols are abysmal. I don't know what to say. I'm truly just befuddled by what I just saw from ZETA. This was one of it was the worst map I've ever seen from them. Period. End of story.
Yeah, I think they're aware of that too.
I'm sure.
We will be talking about Split in a bit. I think there is a bit more of a chance here. ZETA has a good chance here. Let's talk about the key player, X-Pharaoh. I mean, he was just on fire.
What more is there to say? We saw him in the halftime. He was at 423 ACS. He
सीन है कि मेरा बैटरी अभी 4% है.
This is just a
मत तोड़ रहे Binks करने लड़के को ZETA वाला मत ताड़.
Averaging 1.3 kills per round. This is just exactly what you want to be seeing.
5% में हम लोग को मंगाने का है कुछ.
Out of your initiator to just help you be getting into sites and what.
मेरे को नहीं मंगाना, तेरे को ही मंगाना.
How about
ओ विजय भाई को क्वेश्चन है जरा आंसर देना.
पिंकी दी घर बैठे बैठे 2 टाइम खाना नहीं बना सकती नहीं क्योंकि काम करती है ना इसलिए और प्लस मैं भी नहीं चाहता कि वो काम करे तो काम करवाने के लिए थोड़ी शादी की ऐसा था आंसर
could have been better but it's okay.
काम कर जाके
आपका बिक्स का ड्यूओ गेम भाई मैं थक गई इसको बोल
थक गई इसलिए नहीं खेले शीश टायर्ड उसने बोला ना थक गई
नहीं मैं बोल के मैं बोली
चुप रहे आप चुप रहे चुप
I want to Laz on Chamber, you know, if they go back to the old, since I've seen 10 on Raze, I'm wondering if we're going to go back.
How about some afternoon pizza yo?
No.
Huh?
Healthy खा थोड़ा.
Healthy cow. How about some choco lava desserts? भाई बहुत टाइम से शर्मा भी नहीं मंगाया.
नॉनवेज मत खाओ शाम.
How about Hakka noodles? How about rolls?
इसका लाइक लोग नॉर्मली इंस्टाग्राम और वो सब स्क्रॉल करते हैं ये स्क्रॉल करता है खाने का.
With that Sky solo initiator, double duelist on the side of RRQ, is it going to be matched? The answer is yes. So we're actually going to have fairly mirrored compositions. The only big difference is actually just the Astra here for Sugar Zero compared to the Omen that is on the opposite side for X-Pharaoh.
I mean, I'm relatively fine with this.
क्या खा लो बोला तुमने? हो गया.
Sugar Zero's gonna wait. This AR is a little bit off center. Yeah, he's on. Okay, I was gonna say. I'm like, it's not okay. 10's definitely on Raze, but that's fine. I'm fine with 10 on Raze on this map. When I saw Split in the pool, that was my first thought. Was yes, 10 on Raze. Let's get back to that. This is relatively fine for the side of ZETA. I mean, Dep again back on that jet. I hope this kind of rejuvenates.
How about some shawarma salad?
Though they didn't get either pistol around there on Haven. Need to see them kick things off with that because this needs to be a strong performance from them if they want to instill any hope. If they want to be able to get this to a map 3.
smiles are gone from Zeta's faces. They are looking a lot more serious now, and you're absolutely right, Achilles. And Paper Thin, you know, they need to step it up. They know it as well. RRQ, on the other hand, are they going to continue this momentum? Let's go over to the Caster's Quack and William as they take us through map 2.
Onion oil.
Thank you very much, Desk. I mean, yeah, I think they were right. Zeta said that they were not going to give up, that they're going to show us a whole different form. Going back to these picks makes a lot more sense.
This shirt you saw that day, I told you to get.
Thing is, though, this is the exact same composition that RQ just played against Global Esports yesterday. So I feel like they're just going to come into this like we don't have to fix what ain't broken. What do you think, Will?
I mean, listen, it wasn't exactly the most dominant performance against Global Esports, right? It was 13-10, so they did end up giving away double digits. Curious to see if they have more depth, though, because Zeta would have even seen that composition. This is a map Zeta's always been proud of. And I will say, depth is on Jet, so we can all rest assured that if he does buy an op, it's going to find good use. And I also just want to point out, I was listening to Death segment, and I realized, like, maybe I've just been spending so much time with Paper Thin.
This is my
That's
face
where all
for
this mauling is coming from. But we're just going to calm things down. Before we start, before the round begins, I do want to say, we keep highlighting how well Zafiro did in that first match.
Game chalo gaya, loaded payment section mein jayega.
Against multiple members, 6-0 versus 10. 3-0 versus 10, things like that. So 6-0 versus Sugar Zero, actually. So he was just dominating individual
RRQ first
against Zeta Division in that first map.
I mean, again, that first map was a wash, but now we're onto a new story. It's going to be split, and we already have RRQ just walking into a heaven. Left unchecked, mind you. Depp kind of trying to react, but not in time, and this is the A set completely cracked open.
This is RRQ This is RRQ just absolutely having a read. They see the screen and they say, okay, we're going to take over heaven. If we see no opposition, then we go to screens. If we saw opposition, they would have potentially gone through vents. But they know that if no one's peeking right away in ramps, if no one's on heaven, if no one's watching the site, you surely have someone on the screens to pistol round. Now it's about this 3-man flank.
And Flips is waiting for it.
Bhai, aisa kaise ghum rahe log?
For the first pick, we'll be able to take them down. Banks Crow down to 10 HP as well.
Sugar Zero
out from the other side.
3v3.
Up around screens now on towards heaven. Zafiro comes in to take Flips' place.
Whoa.
But because of this, oh, he still turns around. He gets a shot anyway. Sugar up from heaven trying to land with the frenzy, but the range is not there. Xfero with the classic takes the pistol.
I actually have to believe that Xfero
running
was absolutely intentional. I have to believe that. I think he was intending to draw out whoever was trying to move into sight, because there's no way.
Bro, just fried rice spicy when I call
it. Or something and doesn't commit. He still gets to swing on the kill. I mean, absolutely incredible. Maybe a little bit of late on his side, but at the end of the day, another multi-kill here for Xfero to kick off.
Thank you.
I mean, I like it. It's like a multiple-pronged approach to defending this spike. And
इनके अभी फोन चार्जिंग पे रखने गई है, ठीक है? थोड़ा बकचोदी करेंगे अभी.
Force a bit more presence outside of A. They checked it. Now that you know they're there, they did force this round, so they have to make it count.
Yeah, exactly. And listen, it's split, so even on defense, okay, the Force can have some value, but this should signify to RQ that they don't have to rush it. They realize another close angle is held, so they don't want to dive right into it.
कॉल करना है, वो देना मोबाइल.
They get, maybe both guiding lights. They want to test the waters on everywhere else as well. They have no information to mid, so RQ's playing this very systemically.
यार urgent call है.
Second round.
Which isn't too bad. And if you do go through mid, I mean, you've got the range, you've got a lot of utility still. You have some options. You could go through ropes if you needed to, but instead, just taking their time, working together as a team, they don't want to lose.
I think Fnatic will win Visit Pacific LCQ.
It's almost better for Zeta to not pick this fight right away here. They do get spotted, but yet they want to draw them in. They want them to commit to B site.
Oh no. But then they just peek out of the dark cover anyway, Will.
Get hit. Oh, there's still the trade.
Bhai, look me force gaya kya?
So good on those trades.
I mean, look at what RRQ are doing. Just tiny bit of aggression, pull back. Tiny
bit of aggression, pull back,
and Zeta keep buying into it. Now 2 players left, and they have no choice but to go for fights, but RRQ at this point, they've got numbers.
Yeah, and Elmimore, during all of that, he was already wrapping around, right? They checked to see if anyone was in sewers. No one had pushed out that far. Elmimore went all the way around spawn, so they had this backup plan ready, and I love that you mentioned that they're just trying to bait out these fights, because here's the thing.
Next match कौन सा है?
I mean, just trying to find an opening, but it's not meant to be. With the Sheriff still, I mean, look at the RRQ positioning on this map right now. Blocking off every single possible entrance. Screens kind of watched, Heaven, ropes kind of watched, ramps as well with Xpharaoh. There's no way Crow makes it out of this one.
No, I mean, I think he's trying to look
Team
to save
Secret
actually, or
versus
maybe
Gen
just get an
Z.
extra frag. Here's the thing, you force anywhere, you're going to have to go on an eco the next round. Maybe he's going for some extra frags. He knows that they bought those rifles. They are going to be bunched up. But, he tries to pre-fire the corner, but
Team
they're
Secret
all way
जीतेगा ना
backed
उसमें?
out.
I mean, I thought he was trying to deny like further alt
वो भी
orbs
easy
too,
game है.
but okay. Still, I mean, like what Achilles mentioned, not the greatest start for ZETA, but it is early
No
rounds,
nation
so it's
lockout.
not over yet. But we need to start seeing some of these changes. We need to start seeing
तेज जीतेगा.
some better signs of hope, especially in round 3.
Very nice,
Yeah,
very nice.
so, okay, listen, you committed to the forest buy, right? You tried to do economic damage on your way out,
Very
you
nice.
didn't. So now you're on a full eco. Yes, I think you absolutely stack one part of the
Very
map.
nice.
They're going to choose mid because they went for the sheriffs instead of anything like the shorty.
Watching it down though, nobody's quite there. They might go for that triple peek as
Well,
soon
they know
as
it's
the curtain falls.
They do know it's B though.
भाई
They
कितना
control
गंदा
their
anti-stat
skills
हो रहा है ना ये
now,
लोग
A as
लेकिन.
well. So they have the information. It's just the weaponry that they're lacking.
पहला राउंड
Getting
A
back
गए
around
सिर्फ एक ही
now.
बंदा A था.
A look at RRQ.
दूसरा
I mean,
राउंड
just fanning out across all the
मिड
sites.
गए.
Coming back into
Fail
fortified
these.
garage as well.
अभी B गए B
It's really
खाली
all
था.
about this garage fight. If
तीन
Zeta
का
can pick off a
तीन
kill
राउंड.
here,
Ooh,
they get the right start.
Crouch peeking into it too. Elmi Moore though, off the paint shells, he pushes further in. The snake bite burns down last. He swings out. Will be able to find a
फिर
headshot.
भी
but
मारा
gets traded
उसने.
in. Good bit of damage from Zeta. And if they can keep this up, maybe even a little bit better. However, Flips is standing between them and the site. So using the Nebula now just to create a bit more space. Sugar Zero jumps in. He's got close range weapons, taps onto the spike and pulls out that firepower.
Great bait from
Pro
Zeta.
now coming in, but still with a Phantom. Xpharaoh could just
भाई
spray.
फिर भी
Flips is
2v1
here to
पे आए
help him out
भाई.
as well, and that's gonna be the trade
हाँ
to
जी,
bring
भाई
RRQ
अच्छा खेला
over
बे.
the edge.
Wow, I like the idea at the end as
Zeta
well.
ने
Right?
अच्छा खेला यार.
They hear the stinger, they say, okay, we can run that ammo out. We've got
अरे
the
लग
friends, if
refresh
we know where
करो.
that fire is coming from, we can try
काम
to
की जगह
counteract
पे
it and
YouTube
trade.
refresh करो.
I mean, again, when
Brimstone
they're
लिख रहा
down
smokes
in
down.
these not good situations, their decisions are in the right direction, but they keep putting themselves in these non-good situations, right? So it's really about that first step now in each of these rounds, where RRQ is always ahead of Zeta. They always have the right read for that first kill.
And they know to back off as well. But here's the thing, okay, we got Depp on the operator now. Surely it's gonna be a lot better. He spots a shoulder and fires off a shot, but runs back as well.
Very close that shot was.
Presence known though, but look at RRQ, they're just rushing in anyway. Sugar Zero instantly taken off.
Do they know where Depp is? Okay, he's just gonna back right out. I thought maybe he risks it by trying to bunker down.
Oh my god, EJ.
Almost double kill
So
था ना.
much chaos in further space as well. The spike now kind of going down, but because it's been dropped and A side is clear. Oh, look at this, Xpharaoh.
But this leaves Emin as the plant on the lurk. They're not quite sure if he actually crept out or not. They have no idea. There's
Shit.
2 lurks on this map right now.
And Flips is waiting for this.
Yeah.
They have no idea.
अभी ये
about
लोग
Emin now
save
that they've
करने
seen
वाले हैं.
Flips. Surely not. Oh,
Okay.
okay.
भाई फिर भी
First off
check
10.
किया.
He checks it, but now you kind of have to save, don't you?
फिर भी check किया अबे उसने.
You have to. I mean, it took so long to get here without a round win. I know it sucks. I'm just gonna say it. You're
अबे
on
रोहन
defense
भाई
on
virtual
split.
खाना
You
खिलाओगे
don't
क्या
have
मेरे
to
को?
wait going to round 4, but you have the
आप
operator.
पिंकी
That's
आगे
your
कभी
one
कभी
sliver
वीडियो
of
में
hope.
स्ट्रीम करो ठीक
Because
है.
even if you did want to go in for that retake, it would take so much time to actually travel through, and by that point, RQ could be anywhere. Elmi Moore now, because Zeta are hiding,
Oh.
going in for the hunt, Zeta gets to pick them off a little bit further. So not too bad for Zeta.
Oh
They
no,
get to
he heard
hold
him.
fun
Heard him.
when it's
Oh,
off.
the
Off
opposite.
गया.
Just about to say it, now it's gone.
Oh no.
4-0.
Oh no. Quack, listen, I know it's my job to try to explain exactly what both teams can do next, but I'm gonna say it right now. Like I don't know what Zeta can do other than start to win some fights here.
But you know I
I
don't
mean,
care
they're
about this
getting
stuff.
red on the map. They're losing these first duels, and here's the thing.
Yes.
RRQ, right? They heard that first shot from the operator, and then they instantly go in with a double duelist because you know Depp's going to have to back out. You know he can't reset, and even if he does, maybe he gets one, he still can't get out of the site at that point. So it was
मेरा
all
तो
to
पढ़ते ही नहीं
stop the
funks by
operator
language.
damage, and in fact, they
अगर
actually
अभी
get this round.
Yeah, it's painful to say.
मेन
and
गेम में
we
भाई
have
अमित
to
भाई
continue
450
talking
तक
about
गए.
because we expect
300
Zeta
constant
to
रहा
be
है.
one of these strong teams. They
पहले में
did
मेरा
place
150
56
तक गिरा है
throughout the regular season of Pacific,
ठीक है
and RQ maybe just
तो
one little tier
150
below.
और 300
But
में
that said,
फर्क
this is something that has to be said. RRQ has looked so prepared throughout LCQ right now. I mean, yesterday and then today, they come in with straps
भाई
like that. I
heavy
mean,
मार
look,
रहे बे
mid-rounding from Xfero, but that was so smart with the from the shadows onto A site.
Yeah, I mean, again,
Nice.
they always have these backup plans,
Yeah.
right? And here's the thing: at the very, not the very beginning, but the first half of the season of Pacific, RRQ,
मैं
one of the
बोला
things
था
they
RRQ
always
जीतेगा
do is, like,
लेट्स गो
get
RRQ
kills off the board. But
देख रही हूँ
now,
मैं
they're
इधर
sending them out on timings where it's like, wait, don't go for kills. Actually, just go for insurance. Just make sure you open up another part of the map. Just make sure you get us information, and that gives them so many more options to work with. It's actually seemingly having calmed down
Oh yes.
the entire team of
पुल अप
RRQ.
करो
It wasn't
बंद
just
भाई
that, too.
फुल
I mean, the
कॉन्टेंट्स
way
क्या
that
बात
Emin
कर रहे
and
सच
EJ just
Yes.
bombed into the B site. Zeta now trying to work off some of the previous mistakes, fortifying mid, fortifying garage. They're peeking out slowly, trying to get information. But again, without the guns, it's going to be tough. Dep will be able to find first shot, and then Tailwind gets expended.
Yeah, this is a nice little mini tactic that Zeta prepared, right? They try to bait them out thinking that they went away into deeper into heaven, into stairs. Then Dep's waiting on the off angle. Unfortunately, they can't quite pick
भाई वो
up
एक
that weapon
स्मोक
just
ने
yet.
चार
But
जन को
RRQ says,
रखा के
"We're not
रखा है
even
बी
concerned
पे
about protecting that weapon. It's in the middle of the map. We already saw at least one extra on the B side. You guys are on an eco. We're gonna
दोनों
go in."
स्मोक पहन
And
दिए
look at
भाई
that dark
स्मोक ही नहीं
cover
है इनके
covering
पास
off mailroom from Xfero as well. Now making use of Elmimore's utility to sneak into the A site. Sure,
Oh,
it's
with the
been made
judge?
known.
पीछे देखो
There is the judge, but Les turns away at the last second. The timing, everything just doesn't favor Zeta today. And off towards elbow, Crow tries to make a play, but he's by himself.
Huh?
Xfero spots him, calls it out to Emin. And all they got to do is to wait for the spike. Zeta needs to make a move, and because of this pressure,
Binks
mistakes
फटना मारा
could be made. 10.
Oh!
That's a good start. Dep coming out from heaven as well.
भाई ये
Emin still
क्या
holding from
होता?
elbow though, and there comes Dep. 2-on-1, 21 HP, jumping up and top above.
भाई ये
Zeta,
राउंड कैसे
they
जीते
finally
जेटा
take a round.
Put this man on Jet every map. I don't care if it's bad on
खतरनाक
any of the
मारता है ना
maps.
डेप
Quite frankly,
हाँ?
the current map pool, you could literally run Jet on every map and you would be okay. He's so good on Jet, and the biggest reason is he finds his confidence. He has that tailwind. Some call it a crutch, but for Dep, it's a buff.
Yes. I mean, look at that maneuver. Sheriff shot into the tailwind. Off of that, he
चार
finds the
मारा
vandal,
उसने
creating so much havoc up from heaven, and then getting the final kill with a wall bang as well.
चार
This
मारा
is the
घर
Zeta that we need
जाएगा
to see.
Yeah, so again, a very slow start, but they pick up a very important round. On map 1, they only got 2 rounds off of the first win. Hopefully they can get more.
Then again, RRQ has been doing a good job. This time taking it slow again, slowly in towards B now.
जम करके मारा
Explosive with M and Showstopper. Zeta
भाई
has
लेकिन
no choice
RRQ
but to
का
respect this
सारे
and
स्टैट्स
they're
बहुत
gonna
अच्छे
fall
थे
so far back.
लास्ट राउंड भी RRQ का अच्छा था ये राउंड भी RRQ का अच्छा था
I mean, a lot available. Elmimore is
He
in
is
mid,
lurking.
but there's a lot of choices. Okay, they take out the Viper as well, so they know the pin
मारा
has no
नहीं,
chance of coming
लेकिन
up on the site.
Just okay,
अच्छा तो
because I
था
think
सर
presence and time has
Nade,
been bought
nade.
now. As long as they can continue to delay the
Nade.
Zeta, that
बस
should be good. Emin tossing out the paint shells, blocks off this pathway. However, 10 drops down from heaven and
बाप
tries
रे
to
उसने
pinch them
फिर
from
भी
behind.
मारा
Emin tries to continue holding,
Sky
but
का
gets
round है
traded by Sugar Zero instead.
But look
Down
at
to the
Flips.
last two.
Oh, no.
Flips coming
You!
up from behind. He's been spotted surely, but Xfero's still undiscovered, hiding outside a pillar. Glaz comes up from below of hell, and Xfero trying to make some plays. The spike's been halved. He's running out of ammo, and the spike will be
Oh.
defused thanks to a stick from
अयो
Sugar Zero.
स्काई ने
Oh, a
क्यों
good
मारा वहाँ
round from
पे
Zeta. Check for the lurks, both in mid and potentially through the stairs on spawn as well. A very thorough retake, and quite frankly, the early kill on the Viper confirms Slim. If
जीत
we just
जाते थे
use
वे ये
Seekers
round
now, we absolutely are able to push in. They pinch onto Emin, in alley from above and behind as well. And then the half defuse as well. It looked like Xfero not quite aware the half was already done. He thought he might have time to switch to Classic,
बहुत
but they
पट्टी तो
do
है
get the round. Zeta's coming online, and if you're a fan of Zeta, you need this momentum to continue. They have some good ults ready to go.
Yeah, let's see if we can even out the score, right? We're starting things off with paint shells down ramps. RQ still trying to go fast.
नेट में मर
However,
गया
speed it will not be the name of the game because
Oh.
Emin gets taken out. Paint shells, however, will connect onto Crow. And now they have this site.
Yeah, but now they know
Hey!
Spike is here in A.
Yeah, not quite planted. It's
Call
so
नहीं दिया क्या उसको?
far
Wall
out
down.
that EJ has to go on the open to retrieve it, and Depp makes use of that opportunity. 10 comes in from behind as well, and despite the buys, it's gonna be a ZETA round.
Okay, so I'll say one thing. If there's going to be
Excuse
a
me?
constant today, it's me malding. It's just going to switch from one team to the
ये
next.
round तो बहुत गलत खेला.
I don't quite know what that Viper spit was going to do. It seems like here's what I'm going to say. It feels like the RRQ players, yes, I love the timeout, because it feels like they thought they had enough of a lead already with 4 rounds that they could start to try to overextend themselves to keep the momentum. And in theory, that's okay, but it was only 4 rounds. Both of you guys are double duelists. You cannot count on this.
Comeback होगा
especially
अभी,
when you're starting
सच्ची?
on the attacking side. So I think this timeout, more than anything, is about calming down, seeing the tendency of ZETA, kind of waiting for these retakes, right? That's
Timeout
another thing
लिया.
we should note. And then maybe talking about the from the shadows with the spike in his hands, as much as I love Xvero.
क्या लगता है
I
कितना
mean,
round
yeah.
निकालेगा RRQ? मेरे
We'll
हिसाब
chalk
से
it up
7
to a
round
little bit of
निकालेगा.
hubris, right? But again, talking about what's good, it's just ZETA coming through with
पंग
some
भाई
good
रबड़ी
play.
खा रहा
Now in the
उठाओगे?
retakes, when
नहीं.
they approach it from multiple sides, it's a little bit more difficult for RRQ to
तुम
hold
जिसको
against.
support करोगे वो
And with the
हारेगी.
speed at which
मासूम
RRQ are
मत
going
करे
at,
यार.
it's easier for ZETA to kind of
Chat
hold and
stream
predict
को
some of the
likes
plays as
करो.
well.
Let's hit
Crow
3k
getting a
likes.
bit of
Start
information
liking the
from
stream,
Ransom, buying as much time as
chattoos.
he did. I thought that was really good.
Yes, so I will say this. Now, because RRQ, they've constantly been actually just up
ये क्या है? साफ
tempo
करना पड़ेगा
every
ना आपको.
single round more and more, right? Using these ults as
पंगस
well.
नहीं है रे.
Love that. We've been seeing
Wow.
evolutions
Cool
of these double
वो नहीं
sides, by
होता
the
वो,
way. Love to
फंगस
see it.
ग्रोथ है.
But
क्या बात?
because they've been
हाँ,
upping the
तुमने
tempo
छोड़ दिया
more
है.
and more, now,
Liquid
if you
तो बहुत
had a
बढ़ गया.
read on ZETA's tendency, ZETA's been waiting for these retakes. So, curious to see what RRQ can do to use that against
है.
them, right? If they are constantly
Cool है.
hanging back, is it maybe time to go back to
Cool
the
है.
Warlord who's trying to get kills more so than buying
Cool है.
space?
एक कर पुल होता ना तो
Oh,
वो
no. Still,
Cool.
I like that off the timeout they're going slow again. LB Moore kind of
Oh,
but Depp again on this
Tanu!
operator is a sight to be held, and that's going to be RQ with 1 player down early on.
Yeah,
Very
and it
good.
looks like the call
Yes.
was, okay, we keep trying to just go through the
Right.
site, through main, trying to pick up the
Huh?
tempos, let's get mid control, and ZETA has a good read on it. Off the timeout, the operator's waiting for them right there. And now, I mean, sure, you could argue 10's maybe in a little danger. We have seen this happen before, which is why Crow comes back. The
क्या
backup is
मारा ना
called,
उसने?
so they have the crossfire over on Vents as well.
2 Vipers toxic screens, however. That's something that they could use if timed correctly. It's gonna be Emmin who actually just walks up and gets the shot into Crow. 10 now made aware of this though.
But the pinch.
Calls for the drop, and now he spots the barrel.
Oh no, now 10 has a chance!
Okay,
Okay.
Side खाली.
that lurk finally comes up.
Yeah, and I mean, he is here, but it is going to be a bit of a risk. And here's the thing,
Flips.
RRQ don't risk going through main
30
because they
seconds
know the
left.
smoke's running out on screens.
No way.
They're faking it that they're going A because they already have stairs control on B. They know you surely call for backup off of those kills. And now you already have the lurk from Flip, so he sees Astral.
Oh,
Shot's been fired, however, Laz holds it
That's
down on the
second.
site. Denies the spike plant. RQ flips coming
10
back
second,
into it.
5
Leaves
second.
Depp alone.
अच्छा वो default
Spike
plant
plant
किया.
should go through, which means that
Spike
Depp
planted.
has to find these duels right now.
क्या लगता है?
Flips clears out the side of defender spawn.
Good drop.
Side
भाई
went
ये
off.
क्या sexy
It's
movement
not
था ना वो?
connected yet. They're still thinking perhaps heaven, definitely not pillar. And with this wraparound, if he can find Flips first without exposing himself, he'll make this doable. Spots the head.
With this, you have
Now
to know he's
looking
around the
for it.
corner.
Tailwind props. Oh, but LB Moore!
Oh,
Wow.
Just a little shimmy and he hits that.
Ah, Elmi Moore so good
क्या
at these aim duels. And
कितना
Depp
close
even
था
pre-fires
वो?
through the wall because he sees the spike plant location and the angle that Flips is
Jeez.
moving. And you think, okay, so it's not garage because you're not going for that long sight line. So you
क्या
have to
खेला
find his
बे?
back sight. He tries to spam it through the wall, get a tag, maybe a lucky headshot. But unfortunately, Elmi Moore survives the first duel, and he just shimmies right out.
That's a little bit
Sexy
unfortunate.
read ना?
He knew, but
I mean,
Plus
both of
था.
them played that
लेकिन
very well.
RRQ में
yes,
बोला
the
ना वो
mechanics just a little bit easier for LB Moore to pull off because of the positioning, because of the numbers advantage. Back to it though. ZETA has found a
Because
little
that
more
smile
routes now,
karna,
and RRQ
smile
trying to
is
slow
smile
things down.
bhai.
They've been so tricky with their approaches. The multiple lurks, the multiple rotations. Now they're just holding.
Yeah, I mean, very far push out, and especially with your Sky as well, so you don't have any more info. However, you did buy up another operators, right? And this has been the idea. Take control of mid, hold that A-long sight line. They do have to take into account the toxic screen.
Yeah, I won't discount that. It's a fair trade, and what's nice is a slightly different toxic screen from Elmimore this time.
Ah.
However, Depp again on the operator.
The thing is Elmimore is actually so good at taking out these operators with other guns, and Depp with a nice flick as soon as he sees the elbow start to inch out.
So you're saying
Bhai,
because
फिर भी
Elmimore
घुस
didn't
रहे हैं.
have a sheriff,
That's what it was. Yeah, it wasn't a sheriff or a guardian.
Whatever it is, still though, with the duelist still alive, EJ will be able to create that space for RRQ onto the A site, and Laz hightails out. Retake is getting set up, however, and they have the numbers. Xfero tries to get sneaky with his positioning.
Oh, ulti hai.
Heaven.
जीत गया round.
He's using his dark cover for a little bit more
जीत
presence,
गया round.
but then the showstopper connects. Now space so well created. Xfero, can he make it happen? Oh, Depp with a 180 flick! And then Sugar Zero descends from the top of heaven. ZETA, 4-5.
And I just
क्या
want to say, I
मारा
was
बे
holding my
डेप
breath.
ने.
I was really hoping that ZETA division would use the
भाई
ultimates
उसका
they
POV
had
दिखाओ
to
please.
overtake this retake. They have the numbers advantage. I was so scared that they would say, okay, let's like see if we can get the first kill, maybe then use it if it's a 3v3. No,
Huh?
they use it right away, which is absolutely what you do when you're losing the rounds. When you need to be the ones catching up, they put the initiative. They're able to take out
Yeah,
one
Donald.
and equalize two, or keep the lead even further to a 4v2. And then a great turnaround from Depp.
I mean, the cosmic divide as well.
Fuck!
But Depp has been the one to slowly come
Bro,
alive in
unzoom
this
भी
second
नहीं था
map of
वो.
split. Now almost topping the
Proper
scoreboard along
scope
with
लेके
10.
kick
The
zoom
two
मारा है
duelists
उसने
for
बाद
ZETA
में.
starting to really find their win.
हाँ की.
RRQ trying something a little bit different, however. The half buys, the rushes up from top of heaven. EJ just dropped it
Yeah,
down,
अच्छा
not
था ये
quite
भी
landing on
shot.
top of the box.
ये भी shot
It's
अच्छा
going to be ZETA holding all the way from garage, and the sprays will
एक
bring
होता.
them the win.
ये भी shot
ZETA
अच्छा था
answers
लेकिन.
back. A perfect
5-5.
read. An absolutely perfect read on that round. They know that it's going to be an eco or a half buy for some of the members, which is exactly what happened.
EJ
They
भाई
wanna deal with
यहाँ
potential
जीन
aggressive
है.
push defense or mail. They say we have the operator. Let's help him push out of B main.
भी अच्छा था ना?
We can always
वो
pick
spray में
the
लग
long
गया,
sidelines
वरना
from garage and
EJ
then go
मार
back
देता.
for a retake.
गन रहता तो मेरे हिसाब से EJ मार
On
देता.
that entry, and an excellently speedy round here
Sexy
from
था
ZETA
वो shot.
division.
Smart plays because they are reading RQ's economy. And that brings us closer to the end of the first half.
3-2
RQ
split.
still very aware of Depp's operator.
भाई हर round कुछ ना
Taking
कुछ
it
नया
a lot
कर रहे हैं
more
ना ये
respect
लोग.
this round.
Now, things like these, right? Taking out that Trailblazer immediately with the Vandal, it starts to make you think, is that where the operator is? Are they trying to hide the operator? So now you start inching into B, but this is where Depp is, and he still has
Oh my
things like
God.
the Blade Storm. Even if he gets pushed, he has backup as well in the form of Sugar Zero.
It wasn't even really a jump peek either. EJ, however, continues to push the pressure, and he will be able
Oh,
to find
bye.
continuing to push off of
ये
that one
नहीं
big map.
मारना
They
था
will be
Elmimore
able to
को.
find more. ZETA trying to defend, trying to hold back, but Lips has
ये
been great on
नहीं
the
मारना
run
था
until
Laz
Laz
को.
turns around on his head. Back to a one-on-one.
ये
and it's gonna be
2v1 में
Xfero.
अकेला नहीं जाना था 10 को.
Shrouded steps back in towards garage. Laz has to clear back sight. He's not quite sure where this guy could be. And the dark coverage just blocks off so much. Could tap the fake though.
He knows
But
it's not
Xfero's-
sinking it though.
He's so patient. Wrapping around pillar, buying a little bit of time. Laz with the health
और ये
advantage
round
manages
नहीं
to take
जीतना
that
था
Xfero.
ZETA
And
को.
this is the last.
जो भी
So
चीज
many
गलत
fans
होना था
wanted to
सारा
see
हुआ ये
just
round में.
ice cold
Huh?
focus to the very end, not getting thrown off by the mind games like the shadow step, away
भाई
from the
रेस को
smoke.
क्या मारा ना
He's just
उसने अब.
focusing on clearing corners one by one, but making sure he's always gonna have an advantage in the angle. The reaction here to the
क्या
gunfire from
खतरनाक
Lips,
shot था वो.
everything so well done from Laz. I will say, I was surprised that Depp just didn't pop his Blade Storm right away. He tried to rely on Sugar Zero covering him to stick with the
ZETA,
operator.
ZETA,
But
ZETA,
all
up
in
ZETA
all, they still
forward,
take
eh?
the round, so you can't fault him. They have enough economy to buy yet another operator.
Very realistic call.
Good
Thank you.
reactions coming through. Laz getting that shot onto flips and just methodical, diligent. Now playing a little
Nice.
bit more defensive on top of Heaven. It's going to be the showstopper coming out from Emin, though.
And Laz is a judge. He purposely keeps a judge here for the last round. They had money to buy more rifles, but they know that there's the potential of the showstopper rush.
He's just hiding, waiting for the opportune moment. However, RRQ, with this space up on top of Heaven, they have some options. They could take ropes back towards mid, but still pushing down ramps with the Seekers and the information as well. Laz has options now, swaps over, has an arsenal, tries to fire more shots, and he gets them all down. X-Pharaoh, the last one left alive.
Crazy dimag, bhai.
Can you pull off the heroics? Gets the first shot, but then Deb coming up from behind too. Sugar 0 from the front.
Crazy dimag, bhai,
ZETA
Laz.
7-5. They find the lead.
That's my IGL, says all the ZETA fans. I mean, that's the Laz you wanted. Thinking with the extra pocket plays, the extra rifle, everything. Quite frankly, a sacrificial play, right? You're just trying to get one kill and buy time. He even goes for another one here with the rifle, and that just buys so much time for the rest of the team to get the paranoia and the flank, and then 4 members here. Listen, whatever we're starting to chalk it up to a slow start.
भाई लेकिन स्टार्ट वाइज मेरे को आरआर को बहुत अच्छा लगा हर राउंड वो लोग ने कुछ अलग अलग किया है नाइस गुड टू सी अब देखने का है ज़ेटा के स्टार्ट्स
This is the ZETA that we need to see, and I don't know if it's going to carry on to the second half. I mean, again, it is still a close.
नहीं बोला आपने सेंस का मैंने तो पहले बोला था ZETA जीतेगा.
EJ, the performance though.
EJ भाई गया.
This is what EJ, did to his opponent yesterday, right? In the form of SK Rossi, and this time it's Deb saying, "Hey, the only reason I couldn't diff you on the first map was because I wasn't playing Jet. The moment I get Jet, the Jet diff comes online, and Deb was one of the best Jets we had during VCT Pacific, and he's showing up once again in Last Chance Qualifier Pacific.
Never put Deb on Breach ever again. Just never.
I mean, listen.
Overall map score 1-0 for RRQ. Second map.
But like Deb's so good.
ZETA जीता. ZETA जीता.
Unbelievable, especially with the operator.
Let's go ZETA, let's go.
And Laz coming alive.
ZETA for the win.
ZETA is starting.
इसके बाद में जो बंदा था उसको भी दिखाई देते हैं यार बेचारा.
Meanwhile, for RRQ, they showed us some strats. They showed us some mid-rounding. Can we see that in the
बाजू वाले बंदे को भी दिखाई देते हैं यार.
I mean, they clearly started to panic, right? A bit. They tried to just go for rush, get the first kill, The moment you didn't, it didn't work out. I mean, this is starting to look a little similar to the up and downs we saw from RRQ in the regular season. So I'm curious to think, okay, once the halftime put on the initiative, right? You go onto the defensive side. What more do you have? Because the biggest difference we had was the Astra versus the Omen. And the Omen, you're going to have your paranoia
एक magic देखोगे?
To either find a timing to respond or push out of one side eventually. And they do that right away in the pistol with the one-way over in B garage.
Yeah, and that just blocks things off. I am inclined to think that RRQ has to show more on the defensive side, because in their game against Global Esports yesterday, although the first half was close, they came back so well, closing out the map 13-10. So there is still a chance for the RRQ fans out there. These guys are just playing it like they did on Haven. Map presence, map control, blocking things off. Now calling because of the rotations onto the A site. 10 rushes in, however, and Flips kind of caught out with utility in hand. Thankfully, Assistant comes out from the top of Heaven, but still pushing on through from ramps. Crow gets the trades.
Papi!
And EJ was none the wiser. X-Pharaoh, last one left. Same situation we saw before. He's got nothing but frenzy, and unfortunately couldn't quite clear last coming up from above. So the first pistol round for today that we've seen won by ZETA.
Yeah, boy, were they desperate for it, even though they were in the lead, because I know Achilles talked about it on the desk as well. You need a pistol start to really get the momentum going. I mean, no matter how many times we repeat it in every single pro match, the pistol rounds have so much impact in what kind of initiative you take, especially on the attacking side. And just a great start here, right? They see the Trailblazer come out, so they send their own. They push back, and they actually hear the reload coming in. So you see 10 going all the way to make sure to try to secure that kill. A great pistol from ZETA.
Yeah, right. Although it's a different map, some of the ideas are still the same with how they defend things. Now it's going to be that stack up on the A side. So B is completely open. It's going to be tough.
Stream sniper?
You know, we're just going to pull it out because we did see the paint shows were a little
but it did not matter.
but it did not matter. The site was empty. No damage done.
बोल
to your
देते
teammates
यार
either.
साथ में खेलते कभी.
But Elmi's got a sheriff.
Nah.
All right. Nah, just drop it.
Teammate could pick it up though. Flips now has it.
Do you think Rossi will play Jet in 2024 for G? I only think that all the do you think people are chutiest.
It's gonna be tough for Xfero again, and he's the last one left alive.
Yeah, and let's just note how that post plant was played, right? They were making sure they were watching alley from two angles. They were making sure someone was watching.
ये bang back का fan
made
है.
sure even with the smoke, someone was hiding in garage so that
एक इंच और अंदर और ये बंदा dead
for the trade. All of this really good fundamentals.
काश half करने का भी पैसा मिलता ना.
And of course, Estrella, he's eventually just gonna die to the spike anyway. Just tries to stick it for humor's worth, and it will be a 9-5 lead for ZETA.
Yeah, it's a nice alt orb to ZETA too, so not too bad, but they get to buy up now. And ZETA having a couple of rifles as well, they stand a chance at actually converting this bonus win.
भाई जी मंगाई को ले रही
Two
है.
Spectres, you know, on split, on the defense. You've got things like the paint shells now, you know. We don't see anything crazy coming out in terms of ult.
ZETA just lost the page, still liable.
But only half armors on RRQ. We should know
भाई
that as
RRQ
well.
का क्या हो गया भाई? वो timeout किसका against था?
Well, Stars completely placed out on the A site. Two duelists dashing all the way in. Elmi Moore just trying to defend backside, but look at the utility dump on him. No way he escapes that. Trapped inside of jail.
भाई वो जिंदगी में नहीं खेलेगा बे backside.
This retake happen from ramp, from heaven. They're leading it with that
no.
pinch onto last. However, he stays alive with the Sakura Vandal. Still
EJ be like
being
next
sneaky with
game
it.
चलो यार.
Backs up all the way. Emin goes in the check, and he just gets faced.
Outplay कर रहे
down
भाई
the
outplay
last
कर
one.
रहे ना हो गया ये game.
Again, coming out from screens.
Outplay कर दिया
1v5.
भाई.
This is nigh impossible.
बस question ही
Poison
पूछा था.
Cloud
अम्मू
tossed
भाई
at his
ifs and
feet
buts का क्या
just for
करूँ?
good measure.
Yeah,
He's gonna save.
Yeah, he's just gonna throw out the
पूरा
smoke
दिन
just to
मैच
make
देख के
sure they
स्ट्रीम
don't
देख
push
के
him
फिर
too
मैं
aggressively.
do you think
He'll wait for
मतलब
a little
तुमको क्या
bit, go
लगता
for
है
a
मैं
little
ऐसा
spam as soon as he
स्ट्रीम होने
realizes
के
they're
बाद
still
मैं यही
waiting for him to
सोचता
try to run
रहूँगा
away. Shadow Step can make sure as
2024 में
well.
रॉसी जेट खेलेगा क्या
Really, he's gonna
यार
wait for this.
वो ब्रिज
He still
खेलेगा
is hungry for at
तो
least
उसका
one
ऑफ
exit
डिफ
frag.
किसके साथ होएगा
Wow.
अरे
We'll
यार
tackle.
कोई
It's a
और
good
प्लेयर्स
mind
हो
game.
सकता है
If
क्या
Laz
आपको
reaches-
जी में अरे
This is
यार
sprayed a
मोने
check
नहीं खेलेगा
right at
तो
the last
उससे
second,
बेटर
surely.
प्लेयर हम कौन ला सकते हैं
Surely.
बेंच काम नहीं है क्या?
Oh, called it.
Oh man, I mean, Xfero was like, "Oh my God, okay, Laz really is back." All right.
Unpopular
I tried
chat
to
up
test it, but
in
maybe I shouldn't.
बराबर 90% of it Rossi is within the
By
country
all of
which
it.
is such a shame in the
10
global
to
stage if
5
it
is the
doesn't
score
perform
now.
obviously it's
Zeta
part
looking
and
so
parcel
much
of
better
the
than before.
whole thing
Surely RRQ needs to revisit some
जब
of the
जीतेगा तब there will
issues,
be
because right now the
100%
defense
support
hasn't
जब
been
हारेगा
working out
there will
either.
be hate it is with
Yeah,
each and every player
I mean, you lost, you know, you
everywhere.
lost the anti-bonus, and that is.
अभी
pretty
EJ हाग रहे
rough.
तुमको
I
क्या
mean,
लगता है
again,
वहाँ
sure,
उनके
you
रीजन
are
में क्या हो रहा
defense
रहेगा
on
Love you,
split,
EJ,
you can
bye.
try and
Anti
make do
EJ, bye.
with half
But
buys,
रहेगी
things
उसको
like
भी
that on certain rounds, but to do that, you're gonna have to go for stacks. And Zeta's the one who's constantly getting the read on you. Zeta's the one who's waiting for you to actually use your util first from the
बंग
defensive
भाई
side
हाँ
of the
हमारा
station.
सवाल का
They know
जवाब
that
नहीं
eventually you're
है
gonna want to either prepare a paranoia trap play or push out with that omen at some point from some part of the map. And Zeta just waits for it. And they say as soon
ZETA
as we see the
जीता.
sky util, we counter it with our own.
ZETA जीता.
Because if you don't hear someone pushing out off the sky util, it's just there to buy
बंग भाई do you
time.
think T-Bone will play
That's
for
kind of what
Sen
I'm thinking
good
about, though,
question
right? Yeah,
good
you're
question
trying to buy time. and
possibility है
sometimes
possibility
with
है
that play,
मेरे हिसाब से
Zeta gets
टेंस
the
को
offensive
बेंच
to just
करके
push up,
T-Bone
and we saw that util down
खेलेगा
towards the back of A site. There was
2024
nothing that Elmi Moore could do. On the other hand, for RRQ, do they actually go proactive with this? Do they try to push out like what we saw in the first half?
Well, not this round, I don't think.
बंग भाई मैं क्या
Because they were
सवाल
gonna
पूछूं
muster everything together for another half
मेरा
armor
खाना कभी आ रहा है
buy.
वो
Of
पूछो
course, you can do, especially because they went for the half armors the previous round, so they're just gonna try to stick with it. And they want mid control, but they're smoked off. All this Astra utility pushes them completely away.
Oh, EJ though.
भाई blind तो था यार
Too much. On the other hand, Elmi Moore will just hold down.
Blind
this
तो
side.
था यार कुछ भी बोलो blind तो था
And because the spike has been secured, Viper's Pit will be deployed.
Oh my god.
All right, we're safe. We're safe.
Yeah, I was so
Rossi का
scared there
ट्रीट देख
'cause he
के
was
खराब
like
लगा
thinking about dropping right on the spike, and that's exactly what Zeta
पता है यार
predicted.
अच्छा खेलेगा तो he'll feel good
Listen,
बुरा खेलेगा he'll feel
RQ
bad
stacking in
Normal.
the mid because they really don't want to give away the spike, and I feel like this is dangerous.
Yeah. Oh my God. Now firing back through because the tracer bullets were seen. He dropped it, wants to go for the ace.
भाई ace मार
and
दिया.
takes it back against last. You thought you were better?
Wow. I mean,
ace मार दिया. सच कड़वा है, aim तगड़ा है और फट्टू झाटू है.
The first 3 kills, he doesn't miss a beat because they hear, they see all
Oh
the
shit, बढ़वा था क्या? Sorry. Cheesy bye, thank you for the party.
Kill to kill, he doesn't reload. He's always looking for the next one, the next angle, and then after that, it's following the tracers and just this mind game of dropping the pit, quick flick, and he pops up. We rarely see this guy pop off.
Yeah, in interviews he's so, quiet, meek, but still on the server, he's alive. And even pulling out the snake bite just to hold them off for a couple more seconds too. Next round now, Dep's back on.
Bangs Dep or EJ the better jet.
Send him on his own just a little bit to hold an angle, right? See if he can fish out, maybe a push out for that.
Stat शायद बोलेगा jet better है.
Here's a trailblazer on the minimap.
दोनों अलग रहेंगे. Jet Dep ऐसा jet खेलता है कि वो entry निकालता है. और ट्रेड होता है. मैंने जितना इजी का देखा ना, अगर वो एंट्री नहीं भी निकालता ना तो भी उसका टीम इतना पोजीशन एडवांटेज पे रहता है कि वो लोग गेम जीत सकते हैं. तो दोनों अलग-अलग टाइप के प्लेयर्स हैं.
Still have Elmimore kind of pivoting around ropes. But in towards Garage, Dep.
क्लिक करना बचा था बे, एम था.
But now look at RRQ. They actually start to focus more on the A site, right? They're backing off and saying, okay, everyone just make sure you're ready for trades because most likely this is gonna be some form of rotate.
यार 2-0 नहीं चाहिए यार.
Coming out over from last as well. So RRQ is somewhat aware of this, but they're still holding the angle over by Garage. They're making sure they're aware of any mid to B pinch as well.
Hiding up on top of this elevated position as well. Using the flash to try to escape, but ZETA forcing the numbers through with this. They only have 10 seconds left, Will. Showstopper at his feet. 10 blows himself up.
But everyone's here. Can they get the plant? They have to stick it
I
right
don't think
now.
they can. Emin continues to push through.
मार देगा.
here to deny it as well. And he hears the footsteps. Pro gets off of it. And RRQ takes the round.
Round निकाल दिया.
He's gonna, okay, he puts up his poison cloud and he takes it back. I mean, quite frankly, maybe sometimes you don't want it on the attacking side, but surely a call came out for it. And the poison cloud, I like it. I like the nice change.
Just in the nick of time. But that said, it was a play that,
क्या poison cloud?
although safe, although a lot of presence on both sides of the map, took up quite a bit of time on this attack.
Yeah, and here's the thing again, RRQ, they're ready for the trades on A, but they create that distance.
Why not esports again?
Potentially
Too much time.
Or worst case, we can rotate quickly, and that comes in so handy. Another, it's the same set play, except this time it's a Jet instead of the Raze here in mid.
All right, and then we have Laz on the off. Dep is just creating so much noise, so much presence, but he falls back. Buys some rotations over, closer to B Heaven, but RRQ sensing, based off timing, going bad. They're rotating back. Now ZETA cuts noise and hides inside of Mail. Watching the angles. Oh, RRQ gets curious. Flips, the flash has been dodged. Double kill coming in. And 10 finds the trade. So many wins now off the side of B Heaven and Elmimore. He just wants to fight this. Going for the crouch spams. He's gonna get taken out by the explosion instead. EJ with an operator of his own.
If he gets the kill, he gets the Blade Storm. That's what he's hoping for.
Why?
And they're aware of this too. Backing off from the toxic screen, you have one window of opportunity.
Oh, लगा उसको leg लगा.
Legged instead, and Crow gets the headshot.
Wow.
भाई वो उछला करके उसको लेग लगा.
They give the operator and they say, on an eco, what can we do? Rely on the blade storms. They plant him.
LOL dudes हो गया बे. LOL dudes.
They realize they don't want to start dumping all their Sky Util too early. They want to try to save it for these potential retakes or just to buy time when the slow execute eventually happens. So they try to dry peek this cutting audio, and Dep is just ready. He then dodges the pop flash. And RRQ, you now have to find a new answer to how you're using your strengths here on the defensive side.
That flash dodge was magical. And now, slowing things down again.
Oh, they're ready for it!
Miss कर दिया.
And he gets him down to 5 HP.
He's like, where are you? Where are you,
मारा
Flips?
ना?
I need my heals. And Flips is like, well, I can't move. We got to hold this angle in mid.
He's going to have to either run to him or they're going to have to switch some positions around, but that's going to give up other parts of the map. ZETA, this could be an opening.
Okay, so they changed it up by putting the smoke, far further out into A main. That way, Experiment can still hold that sideline on his own. Give the heals over to EJ. However, it does look like he's down to a shorty. Used all his blades up in the sky.
That means he's gonna have to play tight corners instead. Xpero, though, still watching down A ramp like a hawk. I don't know if it's gonna be enough, though. At the very least, this is just information. But then you're gonna have to play retakes afterwards. Oh my God,
no.
10.
The mind games for 10. This is the ZETA you want to see. The aggression, taking the initiative.
Confidence on this guy. Although RRQ and Elmimore are in position now on top of Heaven, somewhere outside of screens, they can't really close in the distance. EJ tries to hop over onto the other side, manages to pick up a Phantom, so this is not impossible.
It is doable, but look at Sugar Zero's position as well. He's so far out into Tsuris, he just doesn't want to get caught. And he head.
Getting the spray. Elmimore trades, and then Last comes up. And still, Sugar Zero, like you mentioned, here's Elmimore.
God bless you, thank you.
Now they're aware of his position.
Map 3.
Laz is starting to go on the hunt again.
You absolutely do. I mean, you can buy back up. You want to make sure
पहला मैप देख के जज करने वाले किधर है?
Piled up to try to catch up and go to overtime.
बोला था ZETA का एम अच्छा
है. is about to go to map
लेकिन
point.
सोहो ने
They're so
बहुत मारा
close to
करके.
taking us to a third map of Ascent, which they've always enjoyed playing.
आज वो चेक भी नहीं किया, वाह
वाह. Now we're gonna think about how that plays out. 12-7 and RRQ have yet to come back. Only 2 rounds
EJ 6 पे, Flip 6 पे, Iman 9 पे.
So I mean, it's 2 bulldogs, right?
10 ने 23 मारा, घर जाएगा.
Enough credits each round to do something. The operator back on depth. You've got the
अभी नहीं
showstopper
मैं
as well. So
12 के
RRQ, it's
देखूंगा
not
क्या.
like they can just force the issue, because you do that, you're gonna hear that showstopper popped. You're gonna have a rocket launcher staring at you in the face.
Magay
goes in first anyway, trying to get information so that they get maximum value out of that showstopper. But with RRQ playing a little bit further back, denying that Trailblazer as well, Seekers being sent out, they're trying to push ZETA back.
And they're successful in doing so to a certain amount. But here's the thing, the most important thing is ZETA didn't use the showstopper to counter this, right? They're afraid that maybe RRQ's trying to bait this out. They want to use this as an insurance plan to break into sight because you have that operator over on deck.
जानबूझकर sound है पानी का.
Leading Emin over onto A. Alright, they're going back towards B. ZETA taking their time with this one, trying to fish out information from RRQ.
I mean, at this point, it's a matter of attrition.
Oh my
it's
God.
a war of attrition. ZETA's doing classic ZETA things, and RRQ's the one who's starting to shake up just a bit.
They
don't have a good read.
Going back and forth too much, and they need to play safe because it's at match point. But because of this...
Okay, they check it.
Alright, from the shadows. They could rotate quick enough, but here comes 10 with the party in his hands. He's gonna
मार देता. Same team
Let the rocket fuse burn, that's okay, because all he needs is the spike plant. Now they are in position depth. First line of defense, upside of France. He takes down Flips. Sugar Zero still all the way inside the sewer. Here comes Emin, and you also have Elmimore around ramp, but the shots aren't good. 10 is holding down Elmo along with his teammates. Last year to assist. First bit of defense.
Nice.
Oh no! Oh my God, EJ.
Trying to delay as long as possible. He popped it so late.
It's gonna be Xpero. Watches the angle.
भाई क्या return मारा बे ये?
End of the round. 12-8 RRQ. They're fighting back.
They surely are. And this
भाई
is
क्या
how
retake
intense it
मारा
is in
ना?
the studio, by the way. I don't know if you guys could catch that through the microphones, but the audience was so scared when Tem jumped up to heaven because they thought the jet was gonna die, except it was death. Like that's how freaked out we all are in this studio. It's just everything's on a knife's edge. But a great retake this time from RRQ. And while Emin didn't get a kill, I think the fast speed he pushes into his own snakebite, his teammate's snakebite, into elbow to ensure that there is information, that they're bunched up there, and then they can.
Chat, we are close to 3K likes. जो लोग नए आए हैं स्ट्रीम पे पट से एक साथ दबाओ, लाइक का बटन दबाओ.
Coming out from RRQ.
टाइम आउट में अपने को कुछ काम रहता नहीं है, तब भी मैं लाइक्स का याद दिलाता हूँ, तो पट से लाइक्स का बटन दबा दो.
ZETA has been setting up their defenses so well now that with that little bit of burst coming
पिंकी
through.
दी लाल ड्यूड्स
EJ
भाई वो शॉट
and
देखने का था
then
रेड ऐप का
Xferro to
फ्लिक
follow
मारा
up.
उसने.
They managed to secure kills after kills, and with that, ZETA losing numbers. That said, though, a lot of these rounds have gone through with ZETA getting the spike down.
Yeah, I mean the breakthrough was pretty good. 10.
तेरे को पता है तू इतना टाइम बाद मैगी क्यों खा रही है?
You know,
ये इतना
Deb
टाइम से
not doing
दिमाग खा
poorly
रही
either,
है.
but it's really potential this time around. And Deb just doing what he needs to do on that double duelist. And while sometimes we talk about okay, if you're in the lead, is using the timeout really wise. I think using it this early just to really shut down that potential momentum is not a bad idea. Right? If you use it late, it's really a 50-50 on the mind games. But you use it now, you just say, okay, here's what you do in the remaining 4 rounds. You adjust A, B, and C. And this time, the adjustment is we wait for an entire potential push-out.
Not bad. RRQ trying to adjust as well. This deep poison cloud has Elmi
Pinky the
really
noob.
close. Flips tried to throw in that guiding light for
लो
a bit
फिल
of
कर रहे
check.
सर प्रो पिंकी प्रो.
Doesn't find all too much. Main thing in this round, however, is EJ locking down this mid angle with his operator.
Yeah, and you know, of course, he's on top of one of those stars right
भाई
now.
ये लोग अगर साइट मिल गया ना
Just yet. He is trying to hold
फिर
the line,
रीटक
and
में
he's
मजा
trying to
आएगा
go
क्योंकि
back and
वाइपर
forth.
अल्ट
He'll
मारने
get
वाला
caught
है.
on a timing. I just want to note
ठीक है
that
वाइपर
on
अल्ट
the
मारेगा.
minimap. In the
क्लियर
meanwhile,
करने के
ZETA
लिए रेस
thought
बूमबॉट
that
नेड और
eventually
अल्ट
RRQ would
सब
push out of
डालेगा.
A main, and there was some potential
आधा
movement to
साइड
do
क्लियर
so,
कर देगा
but
रेस.
RRQ smells something's fishy as well. They still
तब
have
तक बाकी लोग लड़ो.
EJ. Yeah, so they just hold the default.
EJ, what are you gonna do?
Okay, so
Here's
EJ was
the dog.
waiting to see if it was a dissipate and then try to peek back out. It's not, so then he chooses to rotate. They hear the utility now coming into B.
And then you also have Xferro waiting to receive this on the other side. Corner not checked. And that's going to be the first pick for RQ. Depp dropping into hell now. The rest of the team slowly making their way out of the garage.
मर गया.
Flips has been waiting in this one spot, getting taken out. Laz and Depp, they work it through. Sugar Zero dropping it.
अभी भी कर सकते हैं
Xferro
रीटेक.
with the Viper's
ऊपर
pick.
से कर ऊपर
Showstopper
से.
available.
Oh, I don't know if it's going to be good enough. He spots Crow, but blows himself up instead. Shorty is going to be the Elmi Moore now pushing outside, but Sugar Zero on the other side welcomes him to his death.
Man, after such an amazing performance yesterday from Evans Rays, what a disastrous way to end this map too. I mean, you can't fault him for it. That was the best shot they had to go in. Everything's so close together. At the
दो
end of the
बंदे
day,
मेरे
it's
स्ट्रीम
just
देखते हैं,
him
याद
that goes
रखना.
out to his own showstopper. And RRQ, they will give up map 2.
टेन भी देखते हैं, एमएन
And
भी
it's
देखते हैं.
starting to look like that ZETA division story everyone has been craving for the past year and a half.
यार हर जगह फीमेल क्राउड ज्यादा है यार.
That
छोड़ के.
start and then revving up,
ना?
everyone playing up to their potential.
हर जगह फीमेल क्राउड ज्यादा है.
Playing with the plan, Laz with the clutches. The fairy tale starting to come together.
And this is definitely that story that
Yeah.
we want to see, the Prince of Valor and Laz. Now,
And
with
the
those
reason is
clutches,
very
he
less
has the least deaths out
female
of
Valorant
anyone
players.
on the server. And everyone else coming through with him as well. Sugar Zero always patient, kind of hiding around sewers, especially when the spikes up down on the A side. 10 is the kill leader today.
And, you know, we're looking at the scoreboard as we watch the
ये भी
highlights
उधर
on
ही डिवाइड हो
screen.
गया था.
But
इसलिए
this
ओपन नंबर
is
देखो.
that RRQ we saw in the first half, right?
Cat
Where
first.
players like Elmi Moore and Xferro, they're putting up numbers, they're putting up kills, their KD is fine.
Guys,
But if you don't have your
Hey.
duelists, if you don't have the remaining members
कौन बज रहा है
or
बे?
at least a 1.0 rating or something like that, you start
नाइट
to
स्ट्रीम
fall
होगा
for
बंक्स
a
भाई.
lot. It doesn't have to
वो तो
necessarily
रात
be
को पता
pure
चला.
kills, but it has to be
लोगों
impact.
करेंगे
And
बस.
this time we didn't see that from either EJ or Emmett, and a lot of that, as it was
मैं
even
देखूं
the
क्या
other
क्या
way
है
around,
खाने में.
ZETA having such a good read
फोन
on
में
RRQ's
कितना चार्ज
beginning
हुआ.
tendencies of each round.
पानी अपने
Sometimes
घर में
with Depp
पानी
on the
पी में
operator
रहता.
locking them down as well. I mean,
तो
that
मैंने
मेरा
coming
bottle.
out from RRQ
मेरा भी
was
भर
a
देना.
little bit labored,
लेके
a little
बैठता
bit
इधर कैसे
troubled.
भरूं?
Although it did
यहाँ
end
से
in
लेके
a
जाके.
7-5.
वाह
आओ
And
मेरा
I just
पैर.
wanna say, we're going to Ascent next. And I will mauled once again if we don't see Depp on Jet, okay? You're going to Ascent. He's performed well on the Jet here before as well. The Jet is so good on this map. I know we've seen races before, but my God, leave this man on Jet.
Man's got a point. Please listen
Huh.
to the
hi,
true hero for XQQ.
Shinchan.
Because that's the main thing. Depp is popping off right now. We're seeing him on that tailwind and how fast he is. It's great.
I will take a Yoru. I will take a
Shut
Yoru.
up. Get out. Go.
I will take a Yoru, but that's the only trade I will offer for the Jet, for the Depp.
I still want. I'm with paper thin. Maybe pull out the chain. Nah, I don't know. I don't think. Maybe not on Ascent.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, right? But again, it seems that when you put them on their best agents, right? I mean, maybe barring Laz, but he's playing a role that he's so comfortable with. This is where
Guys,
ZETA
like
shines. He
करो
looks
ना.
so much more confident,
People like
all
करो.
individually.
Yeah, but that said, this
Okay,
was
next game
just
I'll
split.
watch
It's
Fight
not
Club.
over yet
नहीं,
for
नहीं, मैं बाकी
RRQ, so we're gonna throw it to the desk after this break. Don't go away. We will be back.
Pinky.
Crowd speaking into it too. Elmi Blitz is waiting for this. For that retake. It would take so much time that ZETA are hiding.
Yeah.
Covered, hiding outside
कौन
of
बज
the
रहा
pillar.
है?
Laz comes up. Yeah.
इसको ना दो ही सेंटेंस आते हैं.
Shot
जल्दी
misfires.
जाके
Now
बाहर
going around the corner.
बस
Tailwind
और
props.
नहीं
No Laz turns around his head. Back to a one-on. Around pillar, buying a little bit of
Look at it,
time.
fighting.
Take ropes back towards mid. Leakers and the information as well. Patience on the
एक ही
A side.
मेरे बाजू में
Head rushes in, however, and flips. Kind of caught out with utility in hand. Thankfully, assistance comes out from the top of heaven. They're leading it. Wiz are sneaky with it. Backs up all the way. Emin goes, get the plant. They have to stick it right now. They can. Emin continues to push through. EJ here to deny it as well. The angles. Oh, Arkin gets furious. Flips. The flash has been dodged.
He just doesn't want to get caught.
Oh,
Favorite dish Maggie. I used to have it a lot when I was like in college and stuff. कम हो गया मेरा. शादी के बाद तो बिल्कुल कम हो गया. ढंग से ना मन था. खाना
Red Bull
पड़ेगा.
gives you wings.
स्केटबोर्डिंग आता है क्या तुमने से? तो ये सीख.
Red Bull gives you wings.
म्यूट हो जाए. किया ना? नहीं किया. माउस दो हेडफोन्स के बीच में. मेरे को आता है क्या? हाँ क्या? कौन कौन आ रहा है बाय द वे? बैंगलोर दबा के म्यूट कर सकते. मैंने किया बट उसने वो विंडो सिलेक्टेड नहीं था ये वाला. यार ये चाहिए मेरे को. एनिमे टॉयज किधर है? इधर ही को रखना है प्रॉपर. प्लानिंग टू गेट लाइक कैबिनेट स्पेशली. ये सब बॉक्सेस उसके यहीं पे है. बराबर. डॉगो सो क्यूट नो. डॉगो क्यूट है. एक बार दिखा. मम्मी लाई. क्या बॉटल रखा है इधर इसने बीच. हेडफोन्स के साथ. केरला में मिलने आएगा. केरला नहीं जा रहे हो? बैंगलोर में है ना. I started watching Demon Slayer. एक ही एपिसोड. क्या खा रहे? मैगी। कहाँ से लिया पता नहीं, मम्मी ने दिया, मतलब मम्मी यहाँ पे रख गई थी। बंक्स को क्यों भगाया खाना खाने?
बोलने क्या इतना पैकिंग में भाई।
Where can I find this dog? Amazon? No idea. Dude.
Pinky, how does it feel when your husband eats non-veg in front of you?
तूने ये तोड़ा क्यों?
मैंने नहीं तोड़ा।
तेरा हाथ में था उस दिन।
तो पैर पे ना।
Definitely fold किया।
इसलिए तोड़ा। ये तो मेरे बाजू में बैठ के ये करते। पहले सबसे पहले फ्रेम में आओ, जिगल पिक कर रहे हो कब से? It's time for some Lebanese chicken fries.
What did you order? Non-veg.
Salad type है।
बैंगलोर में मेघा बिरयानी।
मिथुल को बोल आइटम्स घर पहुंचाने। कौन से आइटम्स भाई? खुद घर पे जाओ।
Hey, mom, dad are going, no?
Yeah.
हाँ, तो we'll give them today.
काय को गिव? आने जाने का खर्चा सामान से ज्यादा महंगा है।
उधर बोला। What is that?
कुछ तो गाली हो वो।
श्रावण चालू है, पाप लगे। नो फर्क।
One by born appetit.
ठीक है लक्ष्य, ठीक है।
मैं इसलिए तुम लोग को दिखा के खा भी नहीं रहा हूँ। वो नहीं देख रहे तुम।
गुड बॉय।
अच्छा डक के खा रहा हूँ।
Stop making sound.
अबे खाएगा तो आवाज तो आएगा ही ना। बिना आवाज के लोग कैसे खाते? पकड़ो, आज सोफा नहीं यार, कमर टूटा है। वो देखो मैच एमवीपी है रेस, वो रहा स्कोरबोर्ड। ओ ये वो लोग का ये है वेटिंग रूम। हम लोग को दिख ही नहीं रहा है भाई। इधर है मेरा माउस। वाह, लास्ट राउंड भी देखा था तुम। पिंकी बंक्स को नॉनवेज कैसे खाने दे रही है? हमें ऐसे जेफ क्यों नहीं मिलती? पता नहीं भाई, ढूंढे।
Some really great map control demonstrations. Do you want to take us through round 8?
Yeah, on this attacker side here, you know, we could see that RRQ is pushing a lot of space. And this is a great little early setup here. Depp calling for the Poison Cloud op pick from Laz. So it's a great little timing play. That's going to give Laz the Viper's Pit. He's able to lock that down. Now, the problem is this allows Emin to sneak through mid-vent. So my concern here for ZETA is that there's a lack of situational awareness. Crow goes into spawn and leaves a tower completely undefended. So 10's kind of on an island out here, and Crow has no idea what's going on, not really suspecting that someone could have gotten through vent. They give up mid control completely after getting that pick. So this was a concerning round for me at the time. And I really wanted to highlight that RRQ was really taking advantage of these kind of weak positionings, this really spread out formation that ZETA was playing in. So they're able to find a couple more picks. And Depp is trying to cover A side as best as he can. He gets smoked off, but you can see Sugar Zero's just sitting in spawn, trying to find a way to utilize his utility, but little does he know that
Omen
Flips
का
had
smokes
gotten
बहुत
all the way to
sexy
B
था,
stairs
लेकिन
and takes him out. Laz tried to do what he can on the
बहुत
side. Now
fake
Depp's going
किया
to play
उसने
this at the
smokes
end here pretty brilliantly and almost win a round that he has no business winning because he comes from the angle that is completely unexpected. You can see Flips has no idea. And look at the way he reacts. Right away he knows that somebody's around that corner, tries to pre-fire it, doesn't win the fight. But that just shows you the confidence that Depp can have as well in that role. And like his natural instincts there are so good.
Oh, absolutely. Just, he belongs on Jet. Him and Jet.
शायद
are
mods भी
one.
कर सकते हैं क्या चीज
Embrace it. It is what you're meant to play. Now, let's talk about 10's performance, because 10 was great this round. He was the MVP, but compared to Haven, this was like a kind of almost like a different player on Raze.
Yeah, I mean, unlike Depp, who was playing that breach back on Haven, 10 was playing Raze the entire time. Granted, yes, things are going to be very different, map to map. They're going to be very different when you also have another duelist that is entering alongside of you, but this was clearly way more comfortable here on Split for 10, because, I mean, the figures just speak for themselves.
What is it?
Growth in performance, map over map, is absolutely disgustingly good here
Come
for
here,
10.
man.
We were seeing none of this. We were seeing him messing up blast packs. We saw him not checking corners. So these,
Can I have
as your
five?
favorite thing was saying,
No,
really
just
minor
one.
things
Five.
that got
No.
so finely tuned as soon as we got over in the
No.
split. So I'm
For
very
some
happy to see
things.
Zeta Division be able to shake off that pretty brutal loss, because I thought that was going to be
For
something really weighing on their minds. They still are that, that lone Japanese representative now who are trying to make it not to Tokyo this time, but to the even bigger stage of champions in LA. So I thought that perhaps getting bullied out like that in a 13-2 was going to shake them a bit too much. They weren't going to find their footing quickly enough for Split, but I was very wrong in that regard. So it's wonderful to see that 10 was an enormous part of that, being able to get them across the line. I mean, if you take a comparison of 10 or just pretty much anybody on the side of Zeta and put them side by side alongside
तेरा
DJ and
झगड़ा
Emin,
टूटा हुआ है,
it's
मैं
pretty
बता रही
brutal,
हूँ.
because between the
तूने
two
तोड़ा मेरा
duelists
झगड़ा.
on the side of RRQ, it was 17 kills racked up and 37 deaths. Even Laz had 17 kills. He had 17 kills and only 9 deaths.
Long man,
It was
long
a
time,
five-star
house
performance
views, 25
across the board
months,
from everybody on
Opa.
Zeta Division to get themselves back on the horse, back into the series, and to take it all the way to Ascent.
It's comfort. Agents
कैसे
on
खान
the
भाई,
line,
house
right?
views,
Like 10
welcome to the
usually
stream.
had been playing
It's what
Killjoy
it is.
recently on that Haven. They switch him back over to the Raze. It doesn't look comfortable. Depp goes over to the breach. Doesn't look comfortable. Nope.
Beauty.
And then everything just kind of starts falling apart at the seams because the utility that you're used to having there from Crow on the breach isn't there. I mean, we sometimes kind of
Just
harp on
one
Crow a little bit
RD.
for his fragging power. At the very least, usually his utility's decently on point, and that wasn't there from Depp on that breach. That starts really costing you. The space starts being taken by RRQ. They're holding these great
थोड़ा
angles.
fresh
They're
juice हो
finding
जाए.
the weaknesses in Zeta's defense.
Uh-huh.
So now we go over to Ascent. So if you
Easy.
want to run 10 on the Raze, fine, but Depp needs to be on
How about
Jet as well.
watermelon?
Run double duelist again. I'm totally
Answer
fine
no,
with that
no
on Ascent. I kind of
Hungama
am worried that they're going to throw Depp on like KO or
यार
something here.
बारिश में
I feel like
watermelon
you can't.
juice
Surely
कौन
not. You're going into Ascent.
Summer
I mean,
में
we've
ठीक
seen
है.
some people try to
ये सब कौन
reinvent the
सोचता
wheel a
है?
little bit
जो
when it
मन
comes to
किया
this
वो
map.
पीना
Obviously,
चाहिए.
I'm thinking about
हाँ,
Texture's Phoenix from just yesterday.
Oh,
But I feel
मेरे
like
लिए वो मसाला.
for Zeta, it has to be stock standard. This has to be them coming out on the Jet. You've got
Ah.
10 switching back over onto that Killjoy,
Yeah.
where he has been able to anchor down, A and B sites with
That's
very,
what I want to see.
very
Achilles.
regularly.
Yes.
I feel like if it's anything other than that, it would be such a staggering change that we could not possibly anticipate, and it would be such an overcook.
I could see like a double
चिल्ला
controller
खड़ा नहीं है.
like kind of thing potentially working here maybe. Like you could try the Viper, like switching Laz onto the Viper, but I mean I don't like it. I'm not saying that's what I want to see. But I'm saying you could see it because what I saw on Haven leads me to believe that maybe Zeta's got some, some
Why
more
will
weird
you
stuff being cooked
purposely
up
do that?
eventually.
Oh, I certainly hope not. But this is, in and of itself, a bit of a revenge map for RRQ. We're going to be looking to take down Zeta. They did play this map when they played against each other in the regular season. Obviously, 2G as well.
Dude,
Likes to play the Omen
तेरे में है
instead of
बहुत
RRQ. But
चूत.
this
तेरे
was
में है
a
बहुत
10 and 13 loss to Zeta that RRQ did suffer. Otherwise, decently clean. They've only played
Purposely
Ascent
spoon
3
को दांत
times
लगा.
during Pacific. And they were able to win those 2 other series. And that was a 13-4 versus Talon, a 13-10 versus Global
Predictions
Esports.
दो चलो 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 चलो
Zeta,
चलो.
The last 4 times they've played this map,
Oh,
it has not
my
been
goodness.
What is this?
हाँ
what I
Depp
expected.
on Sova?
हाँ
I mean, the Laz on Cypher, I'm okay with this. This is, I
Hey,
believe,
chat
otherwise,
stop हो
I mean,
गया.
it's
His most
okay,
played.
but there's better
Chat
options.
stop हो गया.
Sure. Outside of the chamber, though, I believe this is his most played agent. I don't have it in front of me.
That's
But this is
double,
kind of back to
Is it?
classic for Laz. But Dep on Sova, that's the biggest concerning factor here because the breach. Now
2, 1, 5,
breach
11.
lineups are pretty much linear.
Let's go,
You
Zenta.
throw stuff at a wall or through a wall. Sova, now you're going up and over them. You're bouncing things off.
He's
I'm
played
not sure how
Sova
this is
before.
gonna
He
go.
used to play Sova for a while.
I know, but it's been
I
a
know.
long time.
I know. I'm with you.
I 100% agree with you guys. I don't
Doing
think
it,
their
yes.
last 4 losses on Ascent
It's exactly
was
how we
a
like
team
it.
comp
Just one
problem.
side.
It was more of a mental problem, but I'm curious how this is gonna go. I'm pretty sure our casters are also scratching their heads, possibly having very strong opinions about this. In fact, let's go over to
That
our
is back.
casters. Now we're gonna go into the final map, map 3. We are going to find out if it's gonna be ZETA or RRQ who continue on in the top seed. All right, Quack, Will, please take it away.
God, thank you.
I see nothing wrong with it. You got KO Sova, you've got Chamber for the EJ Jet, which popped off yesterday. It seems fine.
You can hear the sarcasm. He was
I will-
straight up mauling.
No, I will say this. So the Dep and the Sova is what I'm kind of upset about, as is most people I think that are watching this. However, as the Des mentioned, and specifically Achilleos saying he's okay with the Cypher, I'm
3K
also okay
likes
with
करे
it.
भाई ए 3K
Quite
के लिए 100
frankly,
likes
the
बचा
Ascent win against
एक साथ दबाओ, एक साथ दबाओ।
RRQ, it was entirely
Maybe
off
they
the
know
back
what's
of EJ, okay? He has a massive
Both
performance
करो
of
ना
27 kills, 15 that's 2 assists. The
Huh?
only other player to have a
Huh?
positive KD without the assist was 2GE. Everyone else negative. So this Cypher can hopefully shut it down once ZETA is on that defensive side, which is where they're starting. On top of that, as Achilleos guessed, this is actually Laz's most played agent by a mile. Way more than Chamber as well. He's played 74 matches, 74 maps. As Chamber, 28% of his career was spent on Cypher. So you gotta put some faith on it.
Yes, I can see that for Laz. But again, this thing about Dep, I mean,
भाई
come on,
RRQ का lineup ज़्यादा अच्छा
looking
लग
at
रहा
the past statistics, he's picked Sova. I know he's done it before, but 8 times. It's not that good. It's not that amazing. And he's so much more comfortable on Jet. Very much so in that highlight that
RRQ
Ethan
का
was
strat अच्छा
talking
है।
about. But well, I guess we'll have to see what happens. RRQ now starting on the attack. Can the Cypher or the rest of them shut down EJ?
Yeah, just to put things into perspective before we enter the site, which it looks like we might as they're cutting noise and getting ready for this execute. So I'll hold my thought.
Oh, Recon does go out, and EJ prepped up on top of Generator, tries to find something. Unfortunately, Recon was instantly shot out, and Sugar Zero is just waiting.
Yeah.
Recon, and there it is, 10 finding the shots out from heaven. Triple kill, gets shut down. Sugar Zero still
बाप रे।
hiding underneath. He tracks them down.
What
वैसे
a good
3
prep
मारे
from ZETA, right? They popped that recon bolt immediately, and so because of that, I mean, we don't have EJ who can clear the site. He has to hide to wait for his teammates to come in. They can't come in because they don't have information. And then the backups here, 10 just lines him up through the smoke, gets a triple. And
Yeah?
now let's talk about, as we take a look at this replay, I am curious. Oh, he sees just parts of all of them. He
Oh,
just spams them
frenzy.
through. Fish in a barrel right there. But let me just talk about the perspective here of both halves. For me, the first half
Frenzy,
is the
सब
question is
गोली
an
इधर
RRQ.
उधर
Do you
गई।
eventually figure out the Cypher setups and break through it? But then on the second half, my real question is how does 10 break through the potential operator
भाई
that comes
BT
along
वाला
from
वो
EJ?
है यार शॉक डॉट ये
That's the thing. I mean, it starts off with this round as he picks up the Phantom.
Well, hey, it might not be breach, but he can still shoot through the wall, which is just about the same thing. That one doesn't
Not
go
the
through.
ghost. But he connects the shot anyway, thanks to Laz's assistance. So much intel.
guys,
And it's a big wall for RRQ to break.
RRQ तो गए हो
Yeah. Oh, and just a quick, like, Laz is online, my friends. The Laz we were all cheering for worldwide.
Almost connected.
Yeah, the Laz that was just yelling the nices at the top of his lungs. He seems to be returning in form.
Without the pressure again, right? Now back into it. X-Pharaoh trying to find whatever he can get, but
5v1 में अपना ये शॉट वाला KO ने पीक नहीं लिया
Laz. 2-0, great flawless start.
Yeah, and flawless, but with a Ares, which can still do somewhat of the same job that the Odin wants to do over by B, or maybe potentially in mid. Usually because of the range in mid, it's much better suited for B. And then you've got a Bulldog and a Phantom. So, quite frankly, a very, very sturdy bonus round here coming up for ZETA Division.
I mean, if you're RRQ and you know that this Ares is being brought over to the next round, it's more than likely going to be positioned on the B site. How are you gonna play around this?
I mean, I really think you first need to fish for some information in mid, right? They're first waiting for the push-outs because of the bonus, but you fish for some information in mid, because here's the thing, it's not a jet, so they're not going to have that flash drive combo that pushes all the way into B lobby. Once you clear out these potential traps, which they're not quite finding it, because they're not set up here in this round, very intentionally from Laz, then I think you start to fish into wherever you think the Cypher is going to start setting up, so you can gain that information as you try to continue to snowball off of the pie.
That's also part of the reason why Laz is repositioning around the map as well, but Cypher Cam was up around Pizza. However, that was shot down as well. So now a little bit of mid-presence being made known from both sides, and Crow's just waiting for the perfect opportunity. Does go in for the flash.
Yeah, so ZETA, what they want to do is they want to force RRQ to go where the Cypher is on A site. Once they see the Cypher is relocated, most likely that forces RRQ to go to the B the next couple rounds again, where the Cypher will most likely return to mid and B. So ZETA's playing this mind game so well at a macro level.
Still, it comes down to whether or not they can first secure this one.
Ayo!
Rifles, they're trying to put a stop to it. Sugar Zero coming out from the window, takes down 2. Elmimore finds a couple of his own. Laz now hiding in the cyber cages. The trips are good.
And the bounce back in and out of his own cyber cage.
Looking for the generator, gets the shot down. Last player left alive. Here comes Depp with the Ares. Shuts down RRQ.
Such a good round from ZETA. The Ares
ZETA का सबसे बाप में पे,
at a steady pace to make sure they cannot come through B main without taking damage. And then
now I am relaxed because Binks is supporting RR. Language. Binks किसको बोला बे?
You're trying to tell them go A, please. They run into a bunch of deaths initially. They run into the trapwire as well. Then the cyber cage, they're like, oh my god, the cypher is now on A. Now RRQ's like, well, was that just the bonus round? Is he back on B? We don't know. We have to fish for information once again on our basically last buy before they go back to an eco. They're forcing that half armor buy once again.
Which is definitely a bit of a risk.
Yeah, it's back on mid and B, right? They want RQ to constantly bounce back and forth.
Well, it is a different trip this time, though, which gets shot down and opens up market. EJ waiting for a secondary peek, but nobody's there. The rest of them now just using the owl drone to fish out information on the B side. The trip was not seen.
Exactly. So that drone was trying to just get rid of the trip as well, trying to just go under. And should have spotted it somewhat, with the sound, so they will find it, they'll get rid of it, but they will have to invest another piece of utility.
Well, with EJ still around market though, he manages to
spam कर दिया.
Chaos from this one spot. The rest of them trying to go through the Fender spawn now. Crow manages to slip in to assist.
भाई कितना blind दिया भाई.
On the other side of lane, Crow steps up, finds one headshot. The rest of them
उनको पता है दोनों यहाँ पे भागो.
big rotation through to A. Elmimore still on the site, takes down 1 and then gets traded by Depp.
3-1.
I mean, overall, RRQ, the insurance plan of EJ and mid was so good for the long run, but they already lost 2 members, which they couldn't afford to do in this round. Now, surely, Depp, you try something, you go for it. I mean, you already won the bonus. You're swimming in credits, and Depp's just checking for the lurk, which I think is very smart. And eventually he'll maybe go for like 1 kill. I think he's deciding he's so far out. He doesn't want to get caught up by the lurk. He wants to get at least 1 kill. So he's taking this very slow and steady.
Even if, I don't know. Even if he does go for the retake.
Well, he's just going to go for kills. Yeah, I mean, he already spent so much time clearing out for potential lurks. The idea here is we already did so much damage.
ये राउंड निकल गया. दोनों मैच की वॉच पार्टी कर रहा है क्या Binks? नहीं. ये मैच के बाद कल्टी. मेरे को 2 काम करने का, फिर मेरे को घर पे जाने का, फिर आके लोको करने का बहुत काम. दिख गया.
Not quite.
Oh, but they're all punching up. He's got a phantom.
He knows they're on the other side.
Oh, low HP वाला ही मिला उसको.
Good enough, right? Because this was that half armor buy coming out from RRQ, so this could hurt their economy to a certain degree. As such, they are on half armor again. But thinking about how RRQ won this round, it was smart to go for that quick rotation all the way through onto the other side of the map.
Yeah, again, the idea good.
Tough
They just
competition
lost
to
a
Ezreal
couple of
से.
those
हैं?
initial duels. They were already down, one person. Elmimore trying
प्रणव
to
भाई
be
क्या
the
हो गया?
initial lurk, trying to clear out the
फिर
rest
कहाँ
of
से
the
आया
B
ये?
site. Eventually goes down as well, so they drop some weapons. Flips, eventually dropping his rifle as well. So once again, they pretty much all have to buy up the half armor
भाई उसने
rifles.
कितना एंगल्स
And
गाली किया ना डेथ में
thankfully
घर
for RQ,
जाएंगे.
they can. But
Hello,
if they
Manraj.
lose this round, or even if they win, if they drop like 4 weapons again, it's not looking very bright for the rest of the first half.
At least not for now. ZETA going for that same positioning. However, they're also kind of starving information away from RRQ. RRQ are going at this at a much slower pace. They've tried mid before, and because of that tripwire, although
डालने
EJ
पड़ेगा
sometimes
वहाँ
gets the opening frag, it's not quite enough for them to actually push all the way through, especially now that you got 3 players stacked up on B.
Well, and look at this. You have to use the drone so early. You have to use everything so early just to clear out the Cypher utility. And now the Odin is seen. So you have to start to think, okay, we saw the Cam, the Odin's here. This is probably not the site you want to go to. And look at Laz's reposition. He says, okay, we've bought enough time on B. We still have 10 there as well. I'll watch mid.
And it's a good place to watch as well because he could rotate quickly over to the A side if it's needed. Crow and Sugar Zero are the ones who are anchoring this down, and it comes down to whether or not they can take down a couple players along with them. At the very least, this is a great read from ZETA.
Yeah, I mean, they're ready for it. They wait for the Odin to come along as well. The lockdown timing's very good from RRQ. It should buy maximum time. I don't know. ZETA almost makes it look like they want to jump in.
They've got some lineups. They broke down the lockdown. Now they're
कैसे
pushing
तोड़ा?
all the way in. Look at this coordinated retake. Even shooting through the dark cover. 2GE almost gets the flick, but with the numbers advantage,
तोड़ा कैसे?
mows him down with the Odin.
Yeah, the pain shells. I mean, this is where the Rays actually bring so
अच्छा
much value.
गावत का retake था ये.
You have more tools now to get rid of those potential lockdowns, and it's absolutely successful. And this actually harkens back
ये
to
क्या
one of the
था?
first matches ZETA Division played in VCT Pacific. They started to have some great retakes here on A site of Ascent. They're continuing to show their expertise with that, and it's so good to see the patience to wait for 5 on the retake, the patience to wait for the lockdown to come out before they take it down. Everything is playing exactly as ZETA Division would
नहीं
want.
नेट जोड़ कुछ तो हुआ.
Want to see how they took down that lock. Was it depth or was it someone else's utility? Because depth, this might not be the depth we wanted.
Well, it couldn't have been just Step because he only used 1 shock dart.
Sure.
So it had to have been a combination of the fragment and then maybe the paint shells as well.
But although it's not the depth that we wanted on the Jet, on the duelist role, it's actually finding a bit of value.
ठीक है.
Whoa,
Odin से नहीं
We're only
टूटता
in
रे
the
वहाँ
first
पे.
half, all right, Quack?
Look at that Odin, come on!
Well, okay, listen, I'm not saying that it's like not meaningful, but quite frankly, my teammates in ranked can do that with the Odin as well. Okay, so like we're not putting too much value on that part of the depth performance just yet.
Sure. However, it's working out for this ZETA plan in the moment. With the way that they're controlling the map, there it is, another wall bang. It blocks off B main. However, EJ decides to bypass all of that with the updraft and the tailwind straight into left. He picked up that Odin, tried to go in for the right click. Sugar Zero with the from the shadows just in the nick of time. He's on the site, he's playing around Boathouse.
Confused हो गया.
So much utility.
उसने फिर
Still
भी
gets
मारा.
the Sparrow.
क्या?
Back to a 2-on-2. Crow is on the scene. Just right around the corner. Pops a flash and tries to keep the Crows at bay. This Scarecrow on the site. Showstopper is available as well.
Absolutely. You
मुख
just
में
use
मार
the
दिया
time
ना
you can't
गलती
push
से.
out.
And now you gotta think twice if you want to stick the spike plant or not. Gosun on the other side, but 2GE on the edge of the dark cover, still alive. Doesn't quite land.
Oh, almost.
Oh my God! Both of the doubles, right? The 2v2.
Almost.
Just knowing exactly what the mission is on both sides, baiting out the Showstopper so good, trying to peek off of it as the rocket goes out, so good. However, you still just had the Guardian. You didn't have a time to try to pick up the weapon because you didn't know if they would push through. And then Crow swinging for the trade against Flipstrider. Just absolutely excellent. I gotta say, this round, both teams played it so well, reacting to each other's choices and decisions. But at the end of the day, it was ZETA who took the first right step. This is what we talked about on David.
Definitely, and again, talking about how everyone knows what the game plan is. That's the ZETA that's coordinated. That's the ZETA with the Cinderella run. Meanwhile, for RRQ, down 1-5.
It's rough.
Second
and
map से
I will
RRQ
say
मारा
it,
गया,
right?
third map चल
In
रहा
their
है,
game
गन मरे.
yesterday on Ascent, it wasn't their attacking half that was, where they won. It was going to be really the defensive half where they got, 7 rounds. However, that means it was really 7 or 6.
हमारे players से
So
बहुत different
it's
है, थोड़ा.
really, either or. I mean, I do think EJ's performance
RRQ
was a lot
ने
better on the defensive side, but that's
लग गया
also
दूसरा.
assuming that you can get things like the operator online. So there's a lot of factors that RRQ needs to think about, and they don't have that much to work
बाप रे,
with.
उसका
You
book
armors
देख.
and rifle buys. You just have
Image
the
के
Hunter's
साथ
Fury.
अबे.
You do have the From the Shadows, which Patty Pan has shown us might be the greatest ult in the game. We'll see if 2G is able to continue that spirit.
It's a good ult in the hands of good players, and Sugar Zero definitely proved that in the last round. But again, talking about EJ, it's a lot of what ifs for RRQ, so as many rounds are needed for this first half, trying to bait out information and utility on the A site. They're just making their
बड़ी
presence
shock
known.
data.
I don't think they quite suspect 10 is here. Now they hear 2 guns, so they are going to expect that there's another person probably at a different angle. But I think this is also ZETA just trying to say, let's just make sure they don't try to jump through the smoke instantly, working off of that utility.
And for RRQ, I mean, that's why the spike isn't quite committed to the A side, I think. They still hear that cipher from Laz around B, but Depp, with his Odin, is something that they are very much aware of. So potentially back towards mid, Will.
Yeah, I mean, they always need to clear this potential trap.
भाई रेस ने बहुत ज़्यादा info दे दिया, dude.
If you do not clear that, it is so safe, especially once the Odin is online.
रेस ने बहुत ज़्यादा info दे दिया,
Make sure that
dude.
some forces have to watch mid and that you create a crossfire going into the site. The question is his Laz gonna peek out? He's got his Cypher cages ready.
Oh, he's to sneak around.
They can't pinch on this. Laz's setup is so good.
Holding stairs, they pop flash.
Oh,
Elmore gets the
shot.
heads up duel. Then the reaction comes through.
By
Although Depp
shot
fires off the Hunter's
रे.
Fury, it's not good enough. 2 players coming
अभी
up from
मोदम
Zeta
खतरनाक
trying
मारा
to
बे.
retake. 1 from main, 1 from spawn. And look at the positioning from RRQ as well. Everyone hunkered down. Flips
he's
on
off.
the ledge.
Oh, Flips.
Trying to wallbang him.
I think Flips thinks he wasn't seen. He's just trying to live, and 10 thinks
Oh
he
my
would have dropped.
God. Well, he's got the blast pack, so he managed to get out for just a second. Everyone from RRQ is quite low, except for EJ.
ये
It's
exits
not
मारेंगे लोग.
impossible for Zeta, but they're spending way too much time. At this point, I think it's just save and exit frags.
Yeah, the thing is Zeta knows they're trapped in the
Exit
site, so
मारेंगे.
they just want to try to force them to all even die to the spike, drop their
लग
weapons
गए.
as well. And if 10 can get the first 2, it should be good.
Shit.
They will get
बच
out
गए.
alive.
Doesn't quite connect
भाई
with
सब
the
लोग थे.
tracking aim. So although that play
बस
worked
flash
out, would have
था.
been great for it would have been a
Flash
great
हुआ नहीं था,
economy
लेकिन
play.
थोड़ा वो semi
But that said, still with the mid push coming through, a good
RRQ
win
के
for
पे
RRQ.
chance है, हारे तो भी हाँ.
Outside of
Low bracket.
maybe the first round and of course that retake on A, not exactly the cheapest rounds for Zeta either, right? We had like that clutch coming out of the 2v2 into the 1v1 from Crow, things like that. So Zeta Division, despite the round advantage, their economy not quite reflective of that.
Binks do support ZETA RRQ
Just the
will.
Hero Vando saved over everyone
Check
else
it,
going for
don't
Sheriffs here for Zeta Division. You do have the null
EJ back to
command
MVP,
ready
let's
for
go.
Crow, but everyone's bunched up in mid. They want to make sure that they can trade because you know that RQ keeps trying to clear the trap in mid.
इको है.
Hence the stack, but with Sheriffs, accuracy has to be impeccable. Bit of a flash with the pink shells as well, and then the peak comes out. A couple more. Sugar Zero finds one too.
The spike's down, by the way. They know this. They know that RQ has a pinch on him as well.
Oh, but here comes EJ! Getting a couple more shots and tailwinds. He's still alive. Unfortunately, the pressure is surmounting on him, and Sugar Zero, the numbers will overwhelm RRQ.
You know what?
तुम लोग ने देखा वो कॉम्बो मिड लेने के लिए? हाँ? Recon, KO blind, raise nade.
Where the remaining members are, cleans house. And
माँ
then EJ
की.
stuck. Sugar Zero gets to jump on him from above. I mean, even getting the early kills even.
कोई recon तोड़ भी नहीं पाया उसकी वजह से.
But after that, you realize, oh right, they did have a Vandal left over, right? It's been hidden that entire duel. A great setup. And you know what the best part is? They didn't even put down the one trapwire that they bought. They knew that RQ was gonna come mid. They were ready for the fight.
And it's not even just
कितना दूर से वो लोग ने
necessarily
wicket किया
that
बे.
Silva utility. It's just depths mechanics. And,
गावत.
yeah, the thing with the trapwire too. So ZETA having such great reads on Ascent right now, changing up the positioning back towards the A site. The tripwires around this spot with Sugar Zero hiding around tree. He lets them through. Nanoswarm will burn, and RRQ has the site.
Yeah, but no command is available for Crow.
Oh, बच गया.
Listen, we praised him before for the 5v5 retake. Let's not get ahead of ourselves just yet.
I mean, I think he was trying to play off that cyber cage, thinking that he might have been hiding inside of it. But instead, the shots weren't that sharp, so we're going with speed instead. 10 now, blast packing offside of heaven. Managed to get one, along with the rest of the team. RRQ just kind of getting blocked off by this null command from Crow. They have no choice but to stay tucked inside of some corners, and EJ, unfortunately pulling out the knives the last second, only able to get one. X-Pharaoh hiding on the other side of the dark cover, just trying to spam through. But the spam from the other side is just a little bit better.
दो बंदे किट के थे.
Distance as well, so spraying really hard to try to pinpoint where that diffuser is going to be. And the no command, it takes away the blades for the longest time. He just only able to get it back at the end. But right as he's able to get it back, you know, the neural theft goes through, so everyone knows exactly where he's been hiding with that shorty. Pulls out his blades, they're ready for the trade. I mean, just the speed, the no command, all of that, so good. And then the neural theft to really lock it in, because that's kind of similar to the From the Shadows, where it's like you could use it to really snowball, maybe get some clutches, but otherwise just let it cycle through, right? It comes back so quickly anyway. It's not something that you can use proactively, so you use it where you can get the advantage.
But although, I mean, despite that, use it where you can. Sure, ZETA are doing so well with so many of these counter plans right now. They're doing the same thing outside of B. Oh, 10 with the double showstopper kill. Now Les holding down lane. Dep coming outside from stairs, reading them like a book. RRQ are completely stopped in their tracks.
This is RRQ clearly not having that much experience recently with the raises on Ascent, right? You oftentimes expect the Blaze Storm through the window, but not quite the showstopper coming out of B main right above you. From the heavens, it rains down, and you're already starting on a loss. And this is so good from ZETA. Again, you're so far ahead. Sure, it's a half buy coming out from RRQ, but use what you have to continue the lead, because if you can get to 9-3 guaranteed, if not more, what an amazing start to the last map of this best of 3.
And you'll have a much easier time in the second half too. Just use your ultimates, and they're doing such a great job. And it's not just the ultimates as well. I mean, so much of it is this compounding presence being sent through because of initially, yes, the tripwires, Laz coming in with that counter. You have the Odin that now are so afraid of, and then the showstopper coming out of nowhere.
Yes, really good rotation of all your utility. Wow. The second time out used. Coach Ewok says we need to stop this here. So this signifies two things to me. One is you don't want to give any more rounds, right? You want to make sure the bleeding stops at a 4-8. But on top of that, they're just saying, okay, whatever we have prepared on the defensive side, our defensive side looked better yesterday as well. That's what we're banking on. We're banking on the fact that the defense can be carried through by the players in the server. But right now, I have to tell you guys how to overcome this setup from ZETA. Not that it's all Laz, it's actually the entire team. However, I think mentally, a lot of it is the cypher from Laz, right? RRQ's like, well, we have to break at least one of the trips, so we know. We have to break where the camera is, so we know what the setup is. But as soon as one breaks, we also constantly see Laz pulling back, so zero point doesn't catch him for the remaining utility.
And that's the best thing about Laz's Cypher too. I mean,
sometimes
it is that trick presence around B, but then other times he rotates back around the A site too. So off of this timeout, that's one thing that RRQ has to think about. They have to make a bet. Is it still going to be on that B site? And what are ZETA about to do this time around? Because Laz is positioned around mid, Will.
Yeah, and they haven't done it yet. They haven't done it yet. And this is something I believe we saw RRQ do yesterday as well, and we'll just have to see if it ever gets caught.
The delayed rotation coming out of 2GE and Flips, though.
Well, so ZETA also expecting this lockdown,
Khaya.
right? So they just say, no, let it happen. If they eventually try to break the potential trapwire mid, we have this lurk set up.
Dogdot
But
khaya
otherwise,
heavy.
look at the damage done.
भाई इसके पास चाचल भी है, नेड भी है, सब है.
I'm pretty much dead.
And 10 still has
डाल
his
दिया,
utility
अभी आएगा
too. This is
recon.
going to be one explosive
डाल
retake.
recon.
Starting things off with the recon from Deb 2G. Then what are you up to? Will it be enough? I don't know,
दो,
but it starts with 10. He comes in
एक और
and
नेड.
clears out Boathouse. 3 of his teammates gone. Now this is a site quite clearly open, but okay, X-Ro just tucks himself in the corner.
कैसे मारा
2GE now coming up from behind. Sugar Zero and the rest of Crow, they're quite aware of this, but trying to stick the defuse through. It's down to a 1-on-2. He managed to get a half, but as soon as he gets off of it,
कैसे
Blitz
जीते रहे
jumps
RRQ?
down up on top of him, get Goomba stomped.
10 ने 2 मारी
I
थी.
mean, Zafiro not dying to that paint shell was so crucial, right? Because
बात
10
है.
throws it, and he's like,
One
surely
HP
he's
में
dead.
बचा है.
So he just tries to swing just in case, you know, that he's trying to walk out of the paint shells. Doesn't quite expect that he's all the way in
No
the back.
HP,
Doesn't quite
bhai.
catch him right as the paint shells go off. And Zafiro
No
lives for
HP.
just a bit longer, buys a bit more time, equalizes a
भाई मेरे
number.
को नहीं बता
And by
RRQ
then,
कैसे जीता
2G
है
had
राउंड.
come for backup as well, got a couple extra kills. And they do
ना,
stop the bleeding
मेरे
for
को नहीं
now,
पता.
but can they make it a 4-8 half? Because even a
कोई
9-3
क्रो का
lead
assist
for
देगा
ZETA,
क्या?
they'd be very happy about that.
15 असिस्ट है, घर
Good
जाएगा.
cream ore. And just maybe those paint shells weren't enough to clear out X-Pharaoh. So
आप
that's
support
really
के इसलिए आ
smart
रहे हैं,
RRQ,
language.
but still back to another hold from ZETA. And this time the trips are so far back on the site.
Yeah,
The
so
rest of them pushing on A.
good adjustments, but like you said, they're pushing on A, and RQ's waiting for this. They think that if we make noise in mid, they
Oh,
will
God.
push out.
Okay, they will. But now just popping a flash and then falling back. I'm
Zeta
comfortable
comfortable
यार.
with this.
Yeah, ZETA says, whoa, we just saw them kind of prepared for us. Let's not risk this, right? We can just fall back onto the site. You know, if they took mid, that's fine. We have traps.
इस बार
off
मस्त
the
ग्लो
site.
कर रहे हैं आज.
Laz is
Thank
purposely
you.
set up to anchor down. We should be okay.
They're still hovering down on B. Owl Drone used to clear out market. Nobody's there, so they should be able to confirm that the site hit is about to hit on A. Henceforth, Sugar Zero is just hiding outside of Dice, but he gets cleared out by the Hunter's Fury. Dodges it with a shrouded step, though. So while RRQ can make it in, Sugar Zero as the gate guarding hell. Can he stay alive to anchor down the site? They know he
he's
got
there.
his, but RRQ are trying to tag him down. He's been dinked. Depp up from the top of heaven, Nanoswarm cleared out, but then the shot comes through. Depp trying to flick on a dime, not quite able to connect the shot. It is
not
all
bad.
up to Laz now.
8-4 not
This
bad.
man, you
हाँ?
cannot count him
बस
out.
बर्थडे के साथ
We've
बाद
seen
क्या
him
सीन
do
थोड़ा काम
wonders
करना है फिर मुझे
for
घर पे
Zeta
जाना है फिर
Division
आके लोगों
when
को
they
करना.
needed it most. He's got that Sacro Vandal back once again.
He doesn't have util. He's getting caught out by the recon. So it all comes down to headshots coming out of heaven. Goes for the jump on Generator. And it's going to be the shot from hell that takes him in the back.
I mean, listen, it was whatever you did, it
8-4.
had to be heroic, and
8-4,
quite frankly,
not bad.
they were just too well prepared
एक
for
round
that. So
इधर-उधर
RRQ,
कर सकते हैं, not
a
bad.
heavy investment, both timeouts used. However, they accomplished the mission they want, which is stop the bleeding, get to
Camera
defense,
exposure
get that
ठीक
off
कर मेरे
online
भाई,
for
क्या
EJ
करना है
as
रे?
soon as possible.
गेम देख रहे हो कैमरा देख रहे हो?
That's only for the first half. Was that timeout enough to carry them on through all the way to the end of this second half?
Let's
We're in day
go.
3 of LCQ right now. Double elimination starts today. Although there is a little bit of breathing room, you lose this
10 to
series and
9-3
you're
हो
gonna have
सकता
to
है,
fight
2
all
अटक,
the
हाँ.
way through every single day from here on out.
True.
Yeah, and then you're facing elimination every single
9-3 तो
time.
कर सकते.
And we're taking a look at the Sovas.
Deb Dick.
And normally Zafiro would be on the other side of this one. Normally he's the player we praise no
Bichara.
matter the result for RRQ. But he is simply not finding the impact. And here's another reason why. He has to use so
14
much
kill
of
और
his
इसका 4
utility
kill.
just to try to find these trapwires. The drone, the shock dart, sometimes even the recon to try to find the location of other members of setting up for those trap plays. And then
आज
if
man
he
खत्म
dies,
होते ही
he's
EJ का
dead. He
unfriend
can't
करेगा.
get assists, he can't do anything else. Meanwhile, Depp was on a rampage in the first part of this half.
Kill
14
field नहीं दिख
kills
रही
to his
पूरी.
name. Absolutely impressive.
Yeah, and the best thing about that first half too was for Achilles, this one. The Odin on Depp. I mean, it was great on the B side, compounding with Laz's utility with the trips and the cyber cages and how slippery he's been. RRQ had so many question marks to answer. Now that we're swapping sides though, how is this Cypher going to play out on the attack?
Yeah, so the thing about Cypher on attack
Tens, let's go.
sometimes ends up being very passive, and my big question is
इसलिए मैं support कर रहा था ZETA को tens के लिए. Love you.
Even Haven, you can actually set up some tricky cameras in mid to get a lot of
आज रात को stream में लोको.
On Ascent, it's very easy to spot it from afar right away from the start of the round. So I'm curious of his timings and his placements.
लोको पे क्या करोगे पता नहीं.
What the Cypher is meant to do, unless you're playing as a 5-man
जॉर्ड गैंग रहेगा तो वालो करेंगे, उसके बाद
you're
RRQ
gonna
करेंगे,
just
फिर
wait
सीधा
to get
RRQ
information,
करेंगे.
go on that lure.
फिर वालो करेंगे.
That is your main mission. And quite frankly, that's the big question for RRQ. Can you handle this potential pressure that Laz is always watching your backs?
Because you're always going to be feeling something breathing down your neck.
I mean, even on pistol, right? He's got that
चार is shot.
into mid, and then they're able to pinch.
चार is
That's why
shot.
they're sending so many players down. A short just to check. EJ getting the first pick off though. Flips! Look at this double kill. Spamming the ghost away. He finds two heads. Depp trying to answer back from top of mid. The spike has been dropped. And although Sugar Zero has pushed so far in,
इतना कुछ गलत जा सकता था ये
they
side
now
पे.
know where he is. Trying to hop away, trying to stay alive. He's been spotted by the recon. Classic is just not good enough. 5 players on the other side, all of them spamming at him, Will.
I do want to say, RRQ, you guys can really just like calm this down. It's
Lol.
5v1.
Before से क्यों नहीं खेला वो ये रे content
Sugar
creator.
Zero's name turned into scary, and you're always afraid of the
भाई
fact that he can
एक
punch above
shot
the
में
line,
वो
but-
suppress आता था ना immense से.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
चार
There
जन
we
suppress
go.
होते थे
Let's
भाई.
calm things down if you're RRQ, but ZETA had a
हाँ?
good idea, right? You
अगर
check the-
KO
you check
amen
the
रहता और
camera
यहाँ
if
पे
you want
suppress
it,
डालता,
then you come out
चार
top
बंदे
mid,
यहाँ पे
and then
suppress
they had a
होते, पूरा
recombo
team भी
ready to
भागता.
go into tree. However,
उसने immense
RRQ,
suppress डाला.
they just read right through it. They see we're taking mid control, we're pushing out, and then we're pinching actually out of A. They were ready to pinch out of A main as well. So just a clash of calls here starting off the second half.
And that's the thing that I like about RRQ is that when their backs are against the wall, certain times plays like these, the ones that your opponents least expect are the ones that give you the wins. So now off of this pistol, maybe a bit of a comeback in the second
अब
half.
डाला
It
normal
is possible,
suppress.
but Depp does have the Sheriff.
And they should have heard the drop as well. Uh-oh, 2GE takes way too much damage. He's going to have to back out.
Still a good crouch. Shrouded steps into hell. Flips is here to pick up the pieces.
I mean, ZETA now has to consider, okay, if we're hearing backup fire right away, do we consider rotating? I mean, sure, it's just the eco, but
my god.
Sugar
Yeah.
Zero is on one in the second half.
Just
Ping नहीं किया क्या
somehow
किसी ने?
able to track that down through the tracer. Now a bit of an extension with a dark cover, trying to
भाग गया.
You rotate
force
now.
RQ to think that they
Guys,
might
we like
push
Vandal
through,
छोड़
but
के
yeah,
सबके against
rotating
लड़ो ना,
through,
Vandal
cutting
नीचे.
noise.
Because here's the thing, is that RRQ actually is the one who has to stay grouped up because they're the ones with the buys. They can't just spread out, even if they have better weaponry, because once you do that, you drop it, and then ZETA gets an upgrade.
Depp and Laz on the lurk. Is Depp going to try to sell a further fake, and then Laz just try to catch them off a rotation?
Well, this, yeah, exactly what you're mentioning, right? Depp is selling the fake, and now that he's confirmed information,
Top dot से मारा वो.
well, and gets a kill, I guess. That allows Laz
that's
to
it, though.
confidently go into mid.
That's it. Elmi Moore is still alive on the B side. He's got so much utility all over the place. He has to anchor this down for RRQ.
But they're
He's
swarming
got
him.
the Bulldog. They're jumping all over the place, and they manage to swarm him down. EJ arrives
तू
on
तो
time
कैसे हो
with the
गया?
Vandal, and X-Pharaoh as well outside of B main. So back to a 2-on-2.
Yeah, but a Bulldog in the
Doesn't
hands of Sugar Zero.
Very winnable for ZETA. He's watching some of these angles. Shoots out the drone now, but gets pinged. Oh, the wallbang is good. Crow, he's
Classic.
only got a classic. And surely they try
बच
to
गया
push
भाई,
him out of
निकाल दिया
position with
RRQ
that
ने.
recon. X-Pharaoh
Sheesh.
gets the shot, and RRQ
Huh?
securing another win.
Well, Zafiro saw the stat line in halftime and said, I need
बांग्ला
to recover
ZETA
that one
जीतेगा घर
immediately.
पे.
So he's coming back online, but
कैसे हो
what
गया?
an expensive second round of the half. So RRQ, their
4v2
bonus
से
not going to
2v2 हो
look
गए
great.
रे.
Here's to see what the adaptation is there on their default. And man, Sugar Zero. I mean, he even got that one extra kill in the pistol as well, but just an excellent kill. And then Depp, again, I love the idea. Get information. We know there's more people here. Laz can go through market.
यार
And
इस
he
मन में
knows
गाली थी पता है, यहाँ
that
तक आया
he's
आवाज.
attacked. So
मैं
he even
तेरे वो
sent
लगी
in
है.
the shock dart to just do some damage, maybe catch them on the rotate even, and actually leads into a kill.
And because of that,
James Van Dyne
economy
support.
on RRQ's side, Will, has been affected. They've got some sheriffs, some frenzies, but surely this is ZETA's round. Not unless RRQ does something different. They're trying to hold out around tree, deep smoke to block off A main, and ZETA are playing it safe.
Yeah, so EJ just choosing to take out that drone instead of getting pinged by it in the last second. And they're going to start pushing out. The flash is good as well.
We've
Despite
being blinded, blast packs into a wall, he still managed to land a shot on the EJ.
भाई heavy blind देते हैं ना ये लोग.
Well, I mean, that rifle will get picked up by Elmimore. So RRQ, they still have whatever firepower they started with here in this round. But they started out in a 2-1-2 default, right? And they just said, okay, the rifles, you know, take those long angles, just see what we can get. Let's just get whatever kills we can, and then group up once we get first contact. They are doing exactly that. Elmimore, he has utility on B site. He's got the rifle in mid.
और try hard कर लिया. कल आती हूँ.
कल आना कल.
This is good play from RRQ with how defensive they're being on this. The thing about ZETA is they've got the firepower,
mid
and they fish out enough information to go for a good hit. They're just trying to overwhelm you with the numbers now. Pink Shell's kind of knocking off the boxes, so it's not going to connect. And Laz, as the lurker, gets eliminated by Elmimore. 20 seconds left. 2GE, sight, dark cover, and he's just trying to play around it. Despite not quite having the firepower, they've bought enough time, and there's so much pressure on Crow. So he doesn't hear him on top of Generator.
What a good bonus. Here's the thing. I was about to say as they were going in, it all comes down to those paint shells, because if you don't do that, the counter recon dart was ready from Zafiro.
क्या हो रहा है? दोनों राउंड में जीता था RRQ को. दोनों राउंड जीत गया.
Make it over the double boxes. It actually just does not do anything to 2GE. He can still hold true. The counter recon is good. And the initial kills come out, even flips right off of the smoke. And then RRQ buys all the time. Elmimore, of course, caught the lurk as well. It's exactly what RRQ wanted to imagine happened. They're in that tough
RRQ में अपना friend था रही, लेकिन कैसे?
Because of these things, the tiny little details.
अच्छा RRQ जीता, लेकिन कैसे?
Was able to stay alive, hiding around that dark cover with his classic, still able to find that impact. Now ZETA are the ones on an eco, and they're trying to play it safe, trying to find picks.
I mean, yeah, an attack with this composition, not much else you can do. I don't, mind the Bucky for a surprise kill. I mean, you are raised, so eventually, if you're double blast packing in, you can still potentially find value. It's not the end of the world. He's setting up exactly for that. They want the paranoia, it looks like, to go all the way in. A paint shells line up to help clear some other angles as well.
Revealing area.
Get a bit of presence
Execute.
Tree, perhaps. There's the Bucky. It goes all the way onto site. But RRQ so aware that they might go for something cheeky with this eco. They're playing far back and safe.
They don't know about the Bucky yet, though, and this could catch them by surprise on this retake.
Comes down to the position that 10 is holding, and
he's just
hopping up and down underneath Hell right
and the
now.
Trap wires, they're all set up. RQ's frantically trying to clear this through the smokes, but they can't find it.
Oh, EJ! The first head gone. Dev getting the shots now. A second one coming through. 2GE coming into trade. Crow trying to land his, coming down from outside Hell, and Laz is still alive. But the spike has gotten halved. And he needs to go for the pink. Takes down Elmimore, but 2GE up close and personal gives him a loving hug.
Listen, if you're RRQ, you need to remember this round so carefully, because you give up the site and suddenly Cyber finds so much value. You can set up these cyber cages, you can set up these trap wires, you even set up the camera. That's how he gets that pre-fire right as he goes around the corner to catch Elmimore on that defuse. He gets the ping. You have to remember, even though you won this round, it was an eco coming out from ZETA Division. If they had rifles, you probably lost.
They always have to be so aware of all of these trips. Whichever side they're on, defense, attack, it's scary. And the main thing is, time is spent now, so it's going to come down to the players and how they adapt. Meanwhile, ZETA now calling their first time out. And it's not over yet.
Yeah, now coming back to a buy-round full armor. Let's also note that, right? ZETA Division was actually one of the few teams in Pacific that really bought into the half-armor meta, the econ management. And this time they're saying, just go full armor. We got this buy-round back. Let's try to bulldoze through. We are on attack. Now, they do have null command. They're also 1 point away from the Hunter's Fury. Now, of course, Elmi Moore is playing that Killjoy, so yes, there is that counter utility with the
आपका
Killjoy
एसिडल
ultimate,
वाला लैंड मैच
but
ऑनलाइन
you still
स्ट्रीम
have
होगा
things like
होना तो
Raze, you
चाहिए
got the Showstopper. I think that
एसिडल
Hunter's
के
Fury
चैनल
clear
पर वाह क्या
certain
बॉडी
angles
है
can be so
पेट दिख रहा है
useful on
कौन सा
attack
पेट
here
भाई
on
एब्स
Ascent.
एब्स मत दिखा लव यू स्मिथ भाई
That's again something that we all have to look out for.
बाकी भाई अभी भी बता दो किसको सपोर्ट करने का है
Starting to
RRQ
find that bit of a lead now. 4 rounds won in a row.
RRQ
And it looked like they were potentially going to push out of A. EG was trying to
भाई
get
मैं
real
जिसका
up
नाम ले रहे
close
बाहर
and
रहे
potential flash drive out, but then the pings come out to back off. And
ये
what
round
a good
देखो
call it was, because Zeta was
RRQ
ready
जीतेगा
for the counter push. The late
Oh.
paranoia.
God, and he's doing it on his own. He manages to get the shots. The support coming out from Doogie E. The pinch down onto Zeta.
बोलो
They weren't expecting it.
An absolute read
Hello.
from RRQ, because listen, they tried this, and it didn't work out yesterday. They kind of failed, they kind of bumbled the timing. And this time they say Zeta's probably expecting it. Let's wait for the counter timing. You get the double kill. And now no smokes on the side of Zeta division. Sugar Zero down, the Omen gone. The only thing you have to work with is the 2 cyber cages. You don't have a jet. I mean, even the Raze is gone anyway, but sure, you don't have the extra cloudburst or anything like that. So now they just have to inch around, and RQ knows this. That's why they're holding just these trade angles for these close
क्या
battles.
बोले ने बोला ना
Right, 2 players, 2 individual squads, 1 from mid, 1 outside A short.
9-8 for
This
RRQ
stage,
baby
they're able to trade down every single play from Zeta, but if it's that like tiny bit of movement, they can just find one pick and then back off. That could be good for Zeta. Then again, though, it's just a big push in through market. Cybercage trying to block it off. Last able to trade, but still aware of Elmi Moore's position. Tries to hop through.
He crosses. He clears.
Wants to get the spike down. Depp is right around the off-angle corner just to assist. Running out of time though, and RRQ can just hold out and wait. And now Depp tries to push. Last god.
Let's go baby let's go 4 और
And
4
there was a run where
और
that actually turned into one of the crazier clutches where Depp just swings out and gets 2 headshots.
कौन चिल्ला
I
रहा
was
है
getting real
बे
scared. As soon as they saw the spike drop, obviously they didn't want to turn their back, which is why they
तेरा
started
ऐसा वाला गेम कब होगा होता है लोगों पे
but the way this game is going, we can never count it out. But this late timing on the paranoia and then the high flash drive,
almost
very, very good from RQ. A nice little twist on that set play. And then holding those close angle trades, right? They don't want to give away long range 1v1s. A really good adjustment in that mid round as well. The question goes back to Zeta, but unfortunately for them, they're working on an eco.
It's an eco without blades. Meanwhile, that one crunch play earns EJ his.
भाई
Hunter's Fury now being
साहब
sent out just to check, and it still catches on 10. Now it's going to be 2GE trying to provide a bit of cover for Elmi Moore, hiding around the site. Although he is pinged, still very much alive. Assistance has arrived on time. And now coming up from the top of heaven, but look at this sheriff shot! Depp and Laz getting one each of their own. Coming out from the Fender spawn now, the Neuro gets some positioning awareness. And RRQ.
They know that he's alone. Yeah, that's why they
safe.
challenge it. Yeah, that's why they challenge it, right? Because no matter whether you go B or A, eventually,
Sheriff only
you know
kill.
the Cypher is alone. So you take that fight while you have the timing. And now,
Still though.
Depp picks up a stinger, which at this range, not the end of the world.
10 HP
It's a similar setup to what we saw in the just the previous round, right?
Yes.
RQ, they find that numbers lead and they instantly go into
10-8 मेरा friend still MVP baby still MVP
This match, I mean, it's not even an elimination match, right, Quack? It's just to get to that upper finals, but you can just see what LCQ Pacific means for all of these teams that are left. The 4 teams left just trying to claim that 4th ticket to Champions Los Angeles to get to that international stage.
3 round ये round आ रहा है एक का match point सीधा
2023. They want that chance. They're so hungry for it.
ये round जीत भी सकते हैं Killjoy भी है
just wanting to devour one another. But that said, this is now 6 rounds won in a row for RRQ.
एक बार ओमेन का
They're getting
स्मोक देखो
proactive
उसने
with some
ऐसा
of
स्मोक
these
डाला
plays
जिससे वो लोग
that
बी
one
पुश करने
push
वाले
coming up from EJ and 2G onto A main stopped everything. Zeta now scratching their
स्मोक
heads.
दिख रहा है ओमेन का
They still have one timeout left though.
They do, but of course there's always
वो
that
स्मोक
question,
सिर्फ
right?
डराने के लिए कि वो
Just
लोग
try to
बी
stop the
पुश करने
momentum,
वाले हैं,
or is that
मिड
gonna give
पुश और
them
बी
an
पुश होने वाला
advantage
करके.
to also reset? Now, something we
कोई
noticed
कहाँ
at
से
the beginning
हिला
of this
तक नहीं
round
है.
that RQ's been doing a couple of these rounds is they send both of their KO and Silva utility in mid. Make sure that Cypher is not setting anything up in mid so that they don't give away that lurk for sure. Now you have that safe utility set up from the Killjoy. You have all these ultimates for the retake. You also know ZETA has ultimates, so they purposely back out. They stack A-site, and now they're going to say trade ult for ult.
RRQ has the lead, right? So why not go for some of these trades? They still can secure as much as possible. In fact, this favors them if ZETA does decide to go for some of these trades.
4 बंदे
10
मेन से
though,
आ रहे
being
हैं.
so close, has an option to actually go further in with the showstopper, but then Flips just shuts down, coming through with a flank. This secondary squad from RRQ is going to be a thorn in the sides for ZETA. Leading off with the Aldro now.
So much relies on 10.
And just crouched down.
नहीं चलेगा, इनको अच्छा ही हो.
Recon getting further information now coming out from Xvero. 10 fires off the showstopper, but it doesn't connect. And EJ has gotten into position. Crow trying to position and pivot off, but he can't quite make it happen with low HP. Sugar Zero just goes in for the spray though. Double, and he holds it down. Just trying to buy more time. Swaps over the classic, but 2GE comes through.
No time. He's done it.
कैसे?
Buys enough time with the extra classic right click. Even gets an extra kill to the spike for his troubles.
9-10. इसकी
Wow.
बैंड की क्लोज
I
है ये
mean,
तो.
listen, it's still a long way to go for ZETA because of their economy, but what a good hold. And it all comes down to 10 getting this kill. This forces RRQ to have to worry about that, so they start rushing into the site. And 10 waits for the longest time. He actually doesn't
Binks
duel
भाई,
against
आप
Sugar
RR
at the end of the day, but he waits so long so that they
क्यों
can't
कर
swarm
रहे?
Sugar Zero all together.
And it's just that teamwork coming out from ZETA Division now. But such a labored response. They're
इतना क्लोज क्यों जा रहा है? Binks भाई, I am from the future और आपका prediction 100% right है. 13 राउंड जीत चुके हैं RRQ. Love you. चैट आया था ऐसे. नहीं जीतने वाले RRQ, लिख के ले लो. कहाँ लिखूं भाई? I don't eat गाजर मटर का सब्जी. वाह, ये क्या बवासीर पोल बना दिए हो? मतलब अब भी आए हो दीपक भाई आप स्ट्रीम पे? इसका मतलब आपने स्ट्रीम को लाइक नहीं किया, इसका मतलब लाइक्स कम है. लाइक करोगे? हाँ?
Of the next round, you have such a wide timing window.
ओपी निकालने बोलो आपके दोस्त को. आ रहा है. ओपी चाहिए, आ जाओ, दिखा दूंगा.
cooldown.
फिंगर के बाद.
And at the same time, RRQ, they have been pushing out bit by bit, trying to go for some creative plays. Now we've got the Odin on Xfero.
But see, they're now setting up for mid, so I like this change. I like this change even though the utility wasn't exactly the same.
सिर्फ ड्रोन है.
That said, Depp still holding on to his recon. They're trying to set up for a bit of a B split. Comes down to the hole from RRQ. Xfero with the Odin trying to reposition. Lockdown now placed from Elmimore. And he's just trying to send signals to ZETA. Go away.
The thing is it doesn't push them entirely out, right? They had to place it so passively. And Flips can't peek in mid either. So
wait.
It's just a reset.
Oh, good little recon from Xfero though. But still
अटका दिया
not
भाई.
quite safe enough to fire a shot yet.
हाँ, अटका दिया.
And ZETA are just surrounding this area.
Zafiro can't spam anymore. He has to make sure he doesn't reload right at the worst timing. They check to make sure that they're still waiting there. Yeah, they're actually just saying, ZETA, play your thing. This is a ZETA game. Wait until that last second.
Come at me, bro.
They're waiting for the recon as well. RQ's prepared for this.
There it is. They shoot it down. So no pings whatsoever. ZETA clears that.
ए जाने के लिए टाइम नहीं है सोस के पास.
There are only 2 on the other, so we're gonna rotate instead.
But look at RQ's adjustment. They say
time.
I mean, sure. They should have just enough time, I would think. But RQ says, well, let's leave it up to time. If not, we go for a 5v5 retake.
Oh,
right? We just all back out. and make sure that we can be the one that swarms the site again. They don't even actually go through spawn because they know that has to be someone waiting for that rotate.
Yeah, and that's gonna be
Sugar
Days gets checked!
to the Odin at long range.
Oh god, Depp now with the Bulldog so close. He hears those footsteps and he tries to pick off one. Goes in for yet another, but Elmimore wallbangs him instead. Now it's going to be 10 hiding around tree. Still somewhat unchecked, but here comes Xpharaoh. Oh, he fires it off. Oh, what a flick! What is this great transfer? 2 down, and then Elmimore still cleans it up.
RRQ ये
man,
कैसे?
The flashback was so good too, but it was just too many members left. And the thing is sure, in hindsight, we can say things like, well, maybe he should've popped that earlier, but no, he couldn't have, because he was getting spammed. He knew they were still watching that angle. He had to wait until the last single second to catch them off guard, try to lower the numbers. But alas, by that point, he was the only one left
Shot
alive.
मारता बे.
But props to RRQ, the lockdown, and then constantly checking with the Omen ult to make sure they're still there, and then put the pressure so Zeta rotates, and then already the members on A have rotated out into
Match point,
at
guys.
main,
Match
where Zeta
point.
can't set up for the post plant. What a good adjustment.
And they are now
Match point.
inching further to
Match point, match point.
Zeta's economy not looking great.
Match point.
I mean, just so patient with that one play. Can
Match
Zeta
point.
find that one thrifty win to pull them back from the brink?
Match point.
Xpharaoh got his sights trained down. Anyone peeking out of stairs, anyone peeking out of lane. He's got his teammates there to cover as
Match
well.
point.
They're starting to fire down now. The RPM going over the edge.
चलेगा वो
Zeta's
लोग
still
को
matching
साउंड आ
close
गया रहेगा वो लोग
distance.
सीधा सिटी से
Now
निकलेंगे.
picking up the weapons. We've swapped positions. 10 tosses the Odin over because he's low HP. RRQ trying to retake with the rifles. They've got the paranoia and it pushes Zeta back for a second. Depp trying to reposition. He's pulling out the recon, trying to give it a little bit more space. Sugar Zero playing off of it, and the tiny bit of movement finds it, turns it into a 2.
अपना ऑडिन है अभी बोल रहा हूँ.
Flips is just dancing around this, and Depp is watching the spike. Turns back around though. Tracking aim is good. It cuts Flip in half.
ये मेरा हो गया रे चले मैं जा रहा हूँ.
And all because
बेंच मेरा हो गया. चलो guys, that is it for today. मेरे को कुछ समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, ना ही मेरा ब्रेन प्रोसेस कर पा रहा है. एकदम कतई कद्दू गेम चल रहा है बेंच. ना इकोनॉमी का इज्जत है, ना गन्स का इज्जत है, ना यूटिल्स का इज्जत है. कोई भी जीत रहा है.
RPM's just about the same for both guns. And 10's able to take down the Odin. It gives them something to hold Boathouse as a fortress. And while Flips tries for the run and gun, Depp says, I'm not zoomed in. It's close range anyway. I'm just going to drag it across my screen.
And all of that was enough. Give Zeta a second
मेरा भी हो
win.
गया.
Managed to buy back up.
भाई
One round away
RRQ
from
और
evening
on
things
GP
out.
मैच
They go
पॉइंट
back
था.
towards mid, Will.
3 बाय
That's what
राउंड
worked.
में
And
से
here's the thing,
एक
at
बाय
this
राउंड
point,
जीतना
we're
था.
in map 3. It's getting close to potential overtime. It is a fight of focus. It is a fight of endurance. Now, EJ heard that trap wire. He's not going to get rid of it
Crossfire
because
के
he wants
दो
to wait
मारा
to
भी था
see
यार ये लोग
if
ने.
they rely on it to push even further into market.
Oh, Laz could be aware of that as well, but he could also just lurk around this one spot. The rest of the team now corralling towards the A site. EJ knows this.
Yeah, EJ, so the call is made, right? Like you said, EJ knows this to rotate over, and then they leave it to Elmimore, and now they send Xpharaoh to watch mid. Elmimore backs out because
Mid
they
to भी
committed
जाएंगे
to
क्या?
A. RQ's movement is actually very accurate, but so is Zeta's. They're really working off of each other in terms of
ये मेरा
utility
बूम बॉट
use.
है.
It's also a lot of microaggression because now they're trying to peek outside of tree. 10 wanting to push this in as well, but you gotta be so careful. The
मेरा
rest
boom
of
bot
it,
है.
he's just buying the distraction, buying the positioning while the spike gets
RQ
delivered
gets
to the
the
B
read.
site. Oh, and they're rotating now.
RQ gets the absolute read.
Oh, Xpharaoh.
This is all a timing. It's a timing.
Oh my god, Crow is trying to push into this. 10 seconds left and the spike has managed to arrive on site. Sugar Zero now coming out from B main, something that they maybe didn't quite
Flank
expect.
आ
So
रहा
he finds one for his troubles. 2 players from RQ still low, and EJ trying to stay alive around the button. The rest of them trying to push further in, but so many positions to clear. And Last turns around, just runs
Yeah?
while
Eh,
Sugar Zero
भगवान.
peeks outside of B be
ये
made to
भगवान
shut them
क्या
down.
देख
I
रहा
was really just
हूँ?
focusing on will 10 get there in time, but he didn't need to. It was Laz and
धोती
Sugar
उठा के
Zero,
भाग के
the
मार
two
रहा है
members who
वो.
were so crucial to their amazing run back at the old Masters Reykjavik.
अभी ZETA जा रहा है मैच पॉइंट.
Tied 11-11. Literally anybody's match.
Funny
an
game,
absolute
baby.
battle of
What a
focus, 'cause
funny
here's the thing,
game.
Both teams were absolutely zoned in on that round. The way they moved around the map, the way they were reading each other's setups, the way they read each other's rotations, it was all good, and then it just came down to aim duels and trades.
Yeah, but remember when we were talking about how ZETA didn't quite have the economy just a couple rounds ago, and then 10 closed in the
भाई
distance.
सोवा के पास अल्टी है.
Gave depth at Odin. Now it's going to be RRQ with a broken economy, and they're on defense, Will.
All right, ZETA gets a showstopper
Binks
as well.
by
and
language.
surely you use it to secure a match point.
क्या लगता है
Or
guys?
the 100
OT
one or the other.
या
You do not save both in hopes that you're able
Oh.
to make sure that you close out the map. You have to get to match point at least.
OT
guarantee
11:30.
that OT.
Drone expires.
हो सकता है OT
Yeah, they're not
possibility
able to
high
clear it.
तो
And
है.
RRQ knows
All
what
banner
ultimates are
announcing
available on that other
retirement.
side. They heard the orb. They're very afraid of this potential showstopper. And ZETA, they clear it with as much other utility so they can save it. And he gets the kill!
A stray shot catches onto Flips' helm. And now the rest of them going in
अच्छा
for
मारा ये
trades
game.
outside of heaven. Entry.
But what
ZETA are not committing.
Yeah, now here's what ZETA doesn't quite know is what the remaining weaponry looks like. Elmimore will be able to pick up that Bulldog again. Okay, so a rifle recovered. 2G's timing.
He saw the foot.
Oh. And 2G says, I'm not committing. If you're there, then most likely your teammates are covering you from another angle.
But then again, ZETA doesn't quite have as much info gathering
भाई
utility.
सोवा का अल्टी.
Sparrow firing off the
सोवा का
Hunter's
अल्टी.
Fury. Oh no, actually, wait, it's going through. And now
सोवा का
Elmimore
अल्टी.
actually gets a couple himself.
Oh shit.
The
एक ही टैग हो गया यार.
And I like it from both sides, quite frankly. Depp uses it because at the very least they need information on where they're hiding for sure. They need to push them out so they can't use their run and gun weaponry. Zafiro with just a sheriff who will get to match point first.
Hops down over onto generator, picks up the stinger. Crow inside of hell, and he's aware
Chalk
of
dart.
main too, but Crow's
Chalk dart
positioning
कितने डाला?
shots just a bit better. Puts ZETA at match point.
And ZETA Division,
Chalk dart.
they smell that victory
Oh, God.
so
Hello?
close. Look at their ult lineup. They have everything they could ever ask for. They have full
12,
armor,
11,
all rifles.
चार
This is a
ulti,
full buy of
भाई.
full buys. You have three, or you have the showstopper and then the null command to break in. You still have things like the from the shadows and then the neural theft for
ZETA,
insurance.
ZETA,
Everything is
ये.
there. Meanwhile, RRQ, yes, you have the rifles,
RRQ
but you
रोने
really
वाला
just
है.
have the lockdown to work off of. And Elmimore needs to
चार
stay alive
अल्टे
for
गिर
that one.
जाएगा.
That one lockdown is RRQ's ticket for the rest of the upper bracket. Possibly overtime first, though. So he's trying to stay alive. But this positioning is a bit risky. Just around inside this dark cover. Now he sneaks into stairs. 10 pulls out the showstopper and looks for him, but he's spent too much. Elmimore catches
ये
his
क्या
head
था?
instead. Pop flash coming out from Crow. And going in to clear out the site. Lockdown, although
don't know about
deployed.
Zafiro.
It's gonna be Zafiro on top of Dice. Finds a couple more headshots. EJ coming in. Sugar Zero
उसने-
not quite able
वो
to bring
जिंदगी से
ZETA
इतना
over.
टाइम
We're
तो
going
मेरे
into
को प्लीज ये
overtime.
गेम समझाएगा.
What an amazing spot. They never use it before. Zafiro just holds on Dice
Bench,
as if he's
डब्बे
a
के ऊपर
turret
डब्बा करके
rotating
डब्बा बना
around
दिया.
to watch and guard B site.
वो देख.
And they think, okay, boathouse is cleared. You can't even obviously see him from that one. And then he doesn't quite catch Elmimore because he swings too fast. 10 realizes he has to clear too much. The
क्या
lockdown
मारा
forces
बे
him to
EJ
jump
ने
to
वो
the side,
shot?
and Zafiro says, hello,
Fuck.
welcome to my home. And we have overtime in the first upper bracket semifinals. We're down to 4 teams.
ये क्या strat है?
Two of
इसे
them
कहते
today
हैं
will
the
move on
double
to the
strat.
Finals. 2 of them will start to face elimination tomorrow.
Oh my god, what a way to start things off, Will.
Both of these teams, listen, like Haven, very sloppy from ZETA, obviously, no doubt. Meanwhile, RRQ on Split started to look real lost, but on Ascent, sure, it's not, you know, the most perfect game of Valorant, but it's such good adaptation, and the fact that
PCTB
both
fix
of
होता है
them
क्या?
are
नहीं,
keeping
नहीं,
their focus, both of
अभी
them
नहीं.
know their win conditions, they're
गेम
keeping
वेम
track
ठीक है.
of the
मुझे तो
utility
लगता है
used.
आपकी जुबान
I
काली
mean,
है.
this is
लैंग्वेज.
an absolute test of your
गाइस जिनको नहीं मालूम, आई एम फ्रॉम द फ्यूचर. ठीक है, ओवर टाइम नहीं, गेम ओवर हो चुका है. आरआरक्यू ऑलरेडी जीत चुके. ऑलरेडी जीत चुके हैं. आप लोग टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो गेम देख के, जितना मेरे को लग रहा है कि मैं फ्यूचर से आया हूँ. ठीक है.
Off the second half, 8-4. RRQ came back. ZETA reached
प्लेयर बूस्ट
match
अलाउड
point
है क्या? हाँ,
first.
प्लेयर बूस्ट अलाउड.
And here we are.
प्लेयर उसके लिए प्लेयर बूस्ट का जरूरत नहीं है, सीधा
So
खुद की
no
तरह.
op buys, which I didn't want to talk about. We didn't see, you know, those operators really coming online for EJ. They wanted to keep pushing out. And
प्लेयर
that's-
बूस्ट मेरे हिसाब
that's
से
doing
उसमें
good
होता
for
है
them.
यार,
Appears to see if
माइंड
maybe
में
that's
ऊपर
part of the
बैठने के लिए.
mental stack they add here in overtime, but of course on the attacking side first. It's going to be the typical just quick battle here for a main control to start, but I can't
Chalo.
imagine RRQ is going to run right into the
14,
site.
12.
Okay. Thankfully not. Not a big clash either. But
Getting closer to that null command, though, something that they're looking to prioritize if things get dicey.
surely, you're 2 points away from flip.
ठीक है.
But at the
नेक्स्ट
same time,
वॉच
this is
पार्टी नहीं
ZETA
आऊंगा
now
देखने. नेक्स्ट
aware
मैच
of,
मत
like,
आना. नेक्स्ट
RRQ's
मैच.
presence around A main.
And here's the thing, they don't suspect the Cypher here.
They
'Cause
shot out the camera?
Okay, they do find the camera, but they didn't fly the drone low, but now you're like, okay, well, now we gotta start shocking
There
all
it
these, and
is.
they find the trap!
So,
जा सकते हैं लोग ये.
trying to watch down
ड्यूटीज
this
तो
one
मार्क
spot
खुद भी.
too. 10 and Laz up on top of heaven.
अब्बा चब्बा डब्बा
Patience
हो
are
गया.
gone as well. You have to
घुस
get the Cypher
गया,
Zeta, you have to wait for
घुस
the retake.
गया,
That's them backing off now. Crow positioned around tree, but
घुस
forcefully positioned back.
गया.
Elmi Moore is so good around that one spot. Here comes EJ, wide swing into Laz. And the door's been shut.
And they waited to plant the spike just in case, so they had more members to fight.
Yeah.
RRQ knew that the fast retake might happen.
God. Elmi Moore in the lurk.
I mean, Tap
It's all up to Dep. And he's trying to go full turn mode.
Zafiro needs to hide.
Spins around, but
Oh, gap
up
था
to the
smoke में,
top of
नसीब.
heaven window.
Wow. I mean, just listen, as soon as they see the cam, they try to
Open
clear
or
for the
off?
trap wires. The fact that they got that initial trap wire was so important. Because here's the thing, I have
From
to believe
future.
10, not only does he throw the paint shells to delay a potential push right after the spy cam is
समझ रहे हो?
deleted, but
From
it's also,
future.
you know, let's just make sure they don't like think about clearing these trap wires, right? Let's just make sure we back them out. And then the paint shells are
किस किस को
gone.
अपने
The Cypher cage being
marks
used by
वार्क्स
Laz to
जानने
hide
के
the
बताओ.
health. He repositions to where the fragment was as a mind game, and EJ
Huh?
reads right through it. He goes for a wide swing,
From
goes
future,
to a spray,
baby.
and then stops and finds the shot onto Laz. A great entry, a great break open into the site. And now the one timeout that each team gets in overtime
जो
used
डिफेंस
by
में है
ZETA
वो
to
जीत रहा
try
है.
to tie things back up.
गलत बोल रहे थे.
Oh, they have to.
Now
right?
it is over.
I mean, this
14,
was the
12.
side
RRQ.
that gave them a little bit
मैं
more
ऑलरेडी देखा
trouble,
हुआ है मैच.
so they need it even more so now.
कौन से ईयर से हो एक्चुअली मैं जहाँ से आया हूँ उसके बारे में बता नहीं सकता है. एनडीए साइन किया हुआ है, नॉन डिस्क्लोजर एग्रीमेंट. समझ रहे हो? बहुत आगे से हूँ मैं, लेकिन बहुत आगे से. मिनिमम तुम लोग रफली मानो तो ऑलमोस्ट 3000 4000 ईयर्स आगे से ऐसा बोल सकते.
Maybe you go in, at least set up like a trap or a spy cam near market, just so you have that information. But outside of that, I mean, I almost think we haven't seen too many 5-stacks other than whenever you had the null command going on to B site. Something like that could work, but ZETA says we're just going to play for this potential
राज की
battle.
बात
And
बताओ,
Odion
राज
comes
की बात.
out like we talked about.
He's peeking out mid.
राज की
looking
बात
for
ये
them
है कि
around
3000
tiles.
साल बाद भी हम सब चूती
A
दिखते
bit
हैं.
of top mid as well.
Where are you going
Oh
with this?
my god, his team is helping him so much, and he catches onto Tensei.
He's pinged.
Sound है.
Elmimore needs to stick around, but Laz, he's stuck now.
Oh god, this is so oppressing for ZETA.
Oh, and they all get out. Wow, Elmimore, the hero
समझ रहे हो?
bodyguard here to keep that operator alive. And again, EJ doesn't commit to the operator in the second half, and he buys it with no armor here in overtime.
देख रहे हो? मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड बनने क्या दिव्यांश भाई
ZETA did not expect it whatsoever.
आपको और
I mean,
Time
how
है.
could you?
2 साल
You
है.
didn't see it at all in the second half.
Yeah. First 30 seconds gone, and ZETA are kind of at a loss, trying to explore mid.
मेरी
trying
शादी कब
get
होगी
further
बता सकते हो?
information,
आपका होगा
but
अरेंज मैरिज.
off of that one pick,
मम्मी को
RRQ.
पूछो जाके.
look at how much discipline they have. Well, you're talking about focus. This is sheer commitment, sheer
Oh, yeah.
will.
I mean, because the Raze is dead. There's no speed on the side of ZETA at this point. You don't have anything else to really work off of. And if you
कौन
come
से
beat
stocks में
that
invest
turret
करना
and
है?
the
Binks coin.
nanoswarms are going to spend so much time so that Severo can start to...
20 seconds.
And so now Severo watches B as Flips watches Market.
Oh
The
god.
rotations are perfect.
भाग के जा रहे, देख रहे हैं कैसे ये लोग जेटा लोग भाग के कैसे लॉबी जा रहे
15 seconds left. Sugar Zero trying to push in through, and they might be able to get the spike down, but the retake protocols are in place. RRQ just waiting for the green light. Shorty outside of stairs, and Sugar Zero is trying to anchor them down. Depp using the position that Xfero used.
हैं?
Pro managing to find one.
I mean, even
it's a
before that, this was
defense attack
advantageous
or bunch?
for Zeta Division, but now it's looking even better.
And RQ's just setting it up, but there it is! The first shot fired off. Coming outside from lane now, that's blocked. You're trying to go through. EJ, you're too low. And it's just down to this positioning. Sugar hops up and drops him down.
And listen, Elmi Moore was put in that position. I mean, the counter recon was on its way as well, so it's not necessarily his fault, but quite frankly, literally he gets one kill onto Sugar Zero,
याद नहीं आ रहा,
buys
मैंने
enough
दूसरा
time for
game देखा था
Severo
क्या?
to come in through the smoke, and the round ends off of time. And just
याद
because
नहीं आ रहा,
he could
अरे
not win
3000
that
साल हो
duel,
गए ना.
it all falls apart. And the reason I single him out is just because, again, that
अरे
was
याद नहीं आ
our
रहा.
setup. It's not his
क्या
fault as an
था?
individual, but the rotations were all off of assuming the Killjoy stays alive, the Nano Swarm stopped
याद
them
नहीं आ
coming
रहा.
through main, and
यही
he
मैच
holds
था क्या?
boathouse so
स्कोर
Zafiro
लेफ्ट
can
राइट
peek
हुआ
out
रहेगा.
for the trade on the
RRQ
crossfire.
जीता है
If
लेकिन.
you die before Zafiro is ready for
3000
it,
साल
it
हो
all
गए
falls
भाई.
apart, and unfortunately, we go to another overtime.
And that's why it all comes down to that initial assumption, right? And sometimes when everything's hinged on one player, you put all your eggs in that one basket. A single player from Zeta, like Sugar Zero, can turn things all around.
language.
We're going to OT2 now, and it's a timeout from RRQ.
अब
Yeah,
पता
and
लगा
listen,
फिर कितने
fans
आप
holding their
से
breath.
शादी की थी.
Yeah, both sides, surely.
तब
But
feature
here's the
बात
thing.
बताओ.
If you are going to rely on one player to lock down and just hold a site,
Huh?
it would be
कौन सा team
Elmore.
support
I mean,
कर
his
रही
aim is
बेचारी?
always so true. But unfortunately,
Huh?
Zeta Division, they're in that prime form again on this map 3 in the best of 3. This time, still no operators on the side of Zeta Division.
Ah.
We have no ops, of
3000
course, on the
साल
attacking
भाई
side
कर जाएंगे.
of RRQ either.
तो
RRQ
बेटा मिस मेरा कौन सा?
looking at a similar
NBA
default
Binks
setup
वाला
as that
पड़ा था?
previous overtime. No, they're actually going to fight for mid control this time, so still a bit of a switch up.
ये लोग ए शॉट ऐसा
And
कूल डूड
the
बन के
mental
मिड टू भी
test.
जाने वाले हैं लोग.
The last time that these two teams faced off during
पता
the
है?
regular season of Pacific, it was
Insane
Zeta
round
who
होने
took
वाला
it
है ये,
over
insane.
2-1. They didn't go into overtime too, though. in one
और ये
of
लोग
those
शायद
matches.
ये राउंड
Now-
जीतने के बाद ऑल चैट पे इजी भी लिख देते.
Laying in on
गलती
that
से.
defense, trying to be careful. RRQ going for an A split.
यहाँ पे स्मोक डैश
Block it
करके
up with dark cover.
They're drawing out a lot of the defensive utility, and they're happy to wait
सीधा ही
because they
जाना है ये
already
लोग
have the
को.
double
हाँ
angle
सीधा ही
prepared.
जाते हैं.
Still trying to position outside of heaven, though. It's a little bit risky, especially with RRQ pushing up, but 10 gets the shot anyway. EJ's gone. He's floored. Xfero trying to reposition off of this now. They've closed off the door, trying to sell the idea that nobody is around tree. The spike goes down.
10's waiting for it.
Exactly. Just watching
तुमको
now.
लगा लगा गेम खत्म हो गया है.
Inkling. But the thing is,
3v3
the one thing that RRQ might
situation.
not expect is
टरेट
last
झुका हुआ है,
coming out
कान
from
के नीचे
A.
पड़ेगा
He's
अभी.
still waiting for it, but it's a
Going
timing
through
fight.
now, Xfero!
It's a timing!
Oh, the spray transfer is good! Elmi Moore coming out from hell! Blocks off the win from Zeta.
Zafiro with the patience until
Unexpected,
the duel starts
baby.
happening in the site. He doesn't show himself.
3000
He
years
constantly
OP
waits.
in the
alarm
chat.
goes up to make sound from the site.
Huh?
Just takes one step forward. You fire
ये देखो.
shots against members in heaven.
दो
You take a
early
step forward,
के
and then
बाद
you
भी.
see them start to peek out. He swings out because he knows 10 waited for so
Huh?
long, and yet RQ played as a team.
It's
Let's
that
go!
unbelievable patience coming out from these guys.
Let's go.
They had the spike down. They had everything.
And the op again.
Oh,
Because
God.
surely you don't expect it to happen
EJ भाई.
again when they lost that round in overtime.
कीजिए भाई आराम से
More
गन
time.
मारे
Here we go
प्लीज.
again. Checking out top mid, but
They were
this
waiting
time
for it.
Crow just crouched down. Crushes through his skull. The rest of RRQ now
कोई से नहीं 3-5 जीता था लास्ट राउंड.
to pick up the pieces back towards the A side.
बंक्स भाई इतना आरआर क्यों कर रहे हो? लैंग्वेज.
Oh,
Flash to peek out. And this allows Zafiro to go back to mid, because otherwise RQ had to stack 3 and 1 and just hope that the turret does enough of information damage clears out to make sure Laz isn't already in mid. So they know that ZETA's still just waiting around for more information, which honestly in RRQ's position as a 4v5, they're welcome to hear.
Just trying to defend again once more.
Wine taken.
एक स्मोक मिड पे और ऐसा करके फिर मिड टू बी यार ये तो मेरा लास्ट राउंड का कॉल ये लोग ने वो किया सुना ये लोग ने
B side is the one that's less fortified. They go in for the crunch on Elmimore. He's got his utility though, and they clear it out with the shock dart. Elmimore, do you have what it takes?
Oh no, they know exactly where he is.
Trying to hop around, but the paint shell is going to be tough. Laz clears out the flank too. Here comes Pro, here comes 10, and Elmimore is gone. 15 seconds. They should be able to get the spike down. Coming through though, flips from Market.
But the door's closed.
UGE from spawn, right. Presence known, and death.
I mean, off of that insane Zafiro flank the previous round.
यार मेरे को भी याद नहीं आ रहा, बहुत पुरानी बात है.
Ladies and gentlemen watching from home, no matter how this
मैंने
best
मिड
of
टू बी
three
का कॉल दिया
started,
था.
it's about
ये
to
लोग
be
ने
one of
ले लिया
the
वो
most
कॉल.
epic matches we're about to have in Pacific.
हेडशॉट आवाज करके भाग के मिड टू बी
Pushing
करेंगे
each
करके.
other absolutely to their limits.
Shit,
And
मेरा
what
call.
more could you ask for when it's the last chance to prove themselves to go?
सुनो, स्कोर याद नहीं है, बट फ्यूचर फिक्स है. समझ रहे हो? आरआरक्यू जीत चुकी है. अभी एग्रेशन देखना, डबल सैचल एग्रेशन ये सब देखना. ठीक है, वहां से वो एग्रेशन दिखाएगा, यहाँ से या ऐसा निकलेगा. ये वाला था मिड टू बी वाला राउंड क्या? ये वाला था.
The early drone as well, I like it. I used to hate early drones, but the current meta calls for it. You need to constantly fight for information and area in the middle of each map.
देखा नहीं उसने. यही रीजन की वजह से लोग हार जाते हैं राउंड.
So now maybe thinking that
खाया.
Drone being used
दो
to
बंदे.
grab short.
This drone's trying to bait them into mid, right? Because he already took market.
Oh, but here comes the dark cover, so this should confirm it. And Depp has an Odin, which
Let's
they
go.
might not be aware of. If he gets the right timing on this, if he gets the information, the sprays could be good. But here comes EJ, tailwind prop. He comes in to save his team for a second.
Nice.
Fragment takes out EJ though. And then the glass. Look at how slippery he's being with this. Hiding on the other side of the cyber cage. Gets the first one, trying to track it across.
Nice.
But Elmimore takes him instead. Sugar Zero comes in for the trade, but 2GG
Nice.
takes him down from stairs. 10.
30 seconds.
क्या हो गया? 10 डर गया क्या?
Swaps over to the shorty.
Because he guesses
and 2G
it.
is just playing it safe.
Oh my God.
Oh, he's coming back.
He saw the
spots him, and now he knows that 2G is trying to play it safe. He needs to go for the spike plant. 10 is trying to be patient about this.
Knows where it
Shroud
is.
a step. Okay,
Oh.
that should confirm everything he needs to know. Boombot goes through, and all you need is one headshot. One to give your team the win on defense. 2GE trying to play it safe too. Not wanting to pull out utility. 10 slowly inches up back, tries to find the angle, but dropping down 2GE! So accurate!
Future baby.
Off of the jump as
Woo!
well. I mean, anybody's, quite frankly, neither of them at full health. And the mind games
भाई
back
क्या
and forth.
मारा
The
भी
smoke as
इजे ने
well.
क्या
Tech
एंट्री
had the
निकाला
read for
बे
the
दो.
shorty, but
घर
unfortunately
जाएगा.
he tries to check below first. And I do think that's the smarter check. But that gives time for 2GE to widen the angle. I mean, just a
मेरा चैनल का
nail-biter of a
पॉपुलर होगा
1v1.
3000 ईयर वाले भाई
But
नहीं होगा.
RRQ, once again, starting with
चैनल
that
नेम
win
अगर आप देखो
on the
तो
attacking side.
बहुत
Now
ही
both
एकदम
of them, they've been
किडिस
winning
सा है.
their attacking sides
और
in
मेरे
overtime.
इसमें
This has
सब
been
बड़े
the
हो गए
pattern,
थे.
but this time around, it's EJ without an op. He's just peeking with the Vandal, along with some flashes, sure, but doesn't quite find too much.
Yeah, but the immediate utility trade in mid as well.
इनका
Both
फाइनल
of
लग
them,
रहा है.
again, the reactions on both sides
अच्छा
are
मैं
basically
नेक्स्ट मैच नहीं कर रहा
equal. They
वरना
say
घर
if
जाता
you're
था
committing
मेरा.
to this side, I'm going to take mid. And then if you say the counter utility, you say we're going to start rotating to A. But this time, Zafiro is one step ahead. He is way pushed out.
Oh my god. And they might not check him. Just hiding him from Gelato, but Sugar Zero kind of had an idea.
Maybe he saw
Team
Zafiro
Sniper!
on that peak.
And that's the first step. One opening pick. And then they pump on the brakes
कोई
again.
सीन
1
नहीं.
minute left on the timer.
कोई सीन
I
नहीं.
mean, time is absolutely in favor of ZETA because without the Sova for RRQ, they have to choose either a stack
Poison,
or spread
yeah.
yourselves in, and neither one feels good. So eventually they have to commit to that Elmimore singular hold on A site
आराम
again.
से hold
They're
है
banking on B
ये
because
देखो।
that's where Zeta's been going every single
वो देखो
time.
KO flash सब है लग गए लोग के
And they would be right.
जेटा चलो चट को
Flips though on the
blind
market.
blind ले full
Still
blind
alive, still
KO
kind of
blind
present
सारे
zone.
blind
2GE now trying to anchor. It's the same
करना
spot.
भी
It's
करना क्या हो गया
10-2. But up close and personal this time. 10 takes the pick.
2v4, but the showstopper comes online.
Oh,
I mean, Elmimore, no matter how good your aim is, there's 4 enemies and a rocket launcher. Yeah, it's just for time. He just uses it for time. Just don't come into the site. You're not winning, and we're going another round.
Help me more. The world against him. He still tries. Has to go for it anyway. Down from stairs, slowly clears all the angles, but it's a single tap that brings ZETA to another OT play.
Oh, it's been a while since I've run out of time, or run out of paper rather, on my score sheet, and it's good to be back, because what a map of Ascent this is. No, I guess he didn't see. I guess he just assumed. The fact that he assumes that, the fact that these players are so focused when we're going into the 31st round on map 3 of
भाई
a
कितना
best of 3
LPA का
in
पैकेज
LCQ
लगे
Pacific
कॉलेज से
is downright impressive.
Like we talked
1.2
about, Will, this is the
1.2
true
अच्छा?
test. You have to earn your spot
1.2
going
lakhs.
through if you want to make it to Champions LA. And
Oh,
now,
LPA है ना सॉरी
back
सॉरी
to that same side.
Sorry.
ZETA trying
Year
to switch
year
up their
ना
positions. Laz back
कितना था
towards
तेरा
mid.
ईयर मतलब मंथली पकड़
This is
1.2
a good switch
तो
up. This is
वो करो
not a default that they've commonly done. They did plant last once in the
सॉरी
second half.
सॉरी
It was
सॉरी
not discovered
मेरे को तेरा
by
मंथली
RRQ.
याद है यार 3000 ईयर्स हो गए थोड़ा सा
Camera
Yeah, that's-
outside of B main.
सॉरी
And they're trying to fake it with the drone as well. They're trying to say Cypher is not here. Because
Sorry,
if
Babu.
after the drone they rotated to A, they would have to waste
खाया
time
खाया
for
खाया
the traps that aren't on A site.
A little bit of
Oh,
attack.
they're still going to try to clear it though.
हाँ
Does do the trick.
लेट्स गो
Cyber cage propped up. Oh, and
no.
it's the fragment that kills Dep.
Yeah, probably just a shot
Flip
through
भाई
as
ने जो
well
bowling
to really
की है,
secure it because he died to 1 tick.
सीधा
But
हिट
the
विकेट
camera not shown just
Huh?
yet. They're saving it for the retake.
Oh, but it's been spotted now. One player inside of B main and
नहीं मतलब रिटेक
ZETA
ट्राई भी क्यों
should
कर रहे
be
जेटा वाले
aware
सेव
of
करना
Zero's
चाहिए वो
on
टाइम
the
में मेरे
roll.
हिसाब
Look
से
at him. Wrapping ring around the rosy. ZETA
ना
just
पाएगा
has no choice but to push up front. They need to clear out both
No
house
choice
first.
नहीं,
But look
it's
at this
over
ult
for
from
ZETA.
Elmimore.
Enemy remaining.
Double
Over.
kill first, and then EJ to clean things off. And
संकेत भाई थैंक यू फॉर द मेंबरशिप
with an RRQ
मैंने
attack
क्या
to win.
बोला था
Inside.
The fact that they're still trying new strategies, new post
Yeah, don't try because this game is already over. समझ रहे हो this game is already over. RRQ जीत चुका है. There is no need to try ZETA भाई. बराबर है? हाँ? Future.
kills in fact. But so impressive. Sugar Zero already on that 30 bomb. EJ one away as well. I mean, very even score lines, obviously, as we're continuing to get tied up. RRQ now one step away from getting to that uppers finals.
They're changing things up this time. It's Elmimore with his utility on the A site, Will.
And they've emptied it. Before, he was anchoring the site, just trying to hold. But this time, they're saying, let's hold on to tree. They must have a new retake
आपका 10
available,
million
or just
होगा
one that they
future
haven't
में.
shown much in the
नहीं
second half because we
यार.
didn't see too many.
Switching things up, and then this dark
1
cover
million के लिए तरस रहा हूँ
buys
मैं
up
30
so
साल
much
बाद.
time. There was a
3000 साल
drone
बाद.
from ZETA just to kind of buy presence around mid too. But look at how RRQ are just defending this.
Now,
ZETA
I believe that Nanoswarm was taken out
A
by the
side
shot dart
पे
across the map for
जाना
death. So that forces them to have to smoke
नहीं.
off
गया.
Oh,
A
short
or
as well.
mid into tree.
यही गलती की वजह से ZETA आ रही थी.
Comes down to this A main push then.
अब देखो टर्रेट बजेगा
Smoke
ब्लाइंड
off
होएगा दोनों
door,
स्पैम मारेंगे
smoke off
ढें
the
ढें
off
करके.
angle, but then EJ
चलो.
arrives outside
चलो.
of heaven. They try to clear out Cyber point. There was a blind shot from Elmimore that takes them down. Now the spike has been dropped.
अब क्या?
They pick it up, they go back in, plant the spike.
3v5
but they
है
lost
साइड
one
में.
teammate,
साइफर बहुत दूर है.
one set of utility.
Paranoia is still available for 2G as
हाँ,
well.
एक और बॉलिंग.
He's going in. What? Oh, with the Phantom sprays, but it doesn't quite connect. Elmimore now has the advantage. This could be RRQ's round, Will.
Could be
And they're
it.
going
It's
in for it.
over.
Every player up on top of heaven, looking to waterfall down, but that! Oh, it's a double spray. 2G answers back with a shot of his own. Sugar's here now inside of hell, trying to fire it off, but the shorty does the trick. We're back to a one-on-one. And Laz on the other side.
It is
goes for a
over,
jump beat,
baby.
But
He's
it's
gonna
the dark
stick
cover
it.
that blocks it out. 2G
Oh
tries
my
to stick,
God.
but a stray shot catches him in the face.
I cannot blame 2GE. You didn't get tagged first. You knew he jump peeked for the smoke. I cannot blame him. But what a devastating way to have to go another set of overtime. And Laz just patiently doesn't spray. He just says, I just need the headshot. I just need one bullet. to land on
Language,
the
ID
target.
by
And he
language.
is successful. Round
Language.
33.
One more win.
I believe now this is the longest. I believe that DRX and Global Esports split ended at 17-15 here in Pacific.
Just going for a record-breaking
Oh no, the timing.
series
Oh
now.
no!
But,
Oh,
oh,
they
the
didn't see it.
flashpoint! EJ still flicks
क्या
on the
घूम के
time
मारा?
mode, and then Elmimore
ये
coming
अच्छा
in
ये
with
मैंने
support
देखा था.
tiles.
Sorry, sorry.
Now in towards mid, Xpero
ऐसे
leapfrogs
क्या react
off
किया
of
भाई? ये
it.
तो मैंने
It's
देखा था
all
round.
down to Laz. This is
Inch.
the first time in a while that we're seeing a huge
Easy
lead from
fucking
RRQ.
game,
Yes,
baby.
and I was about to mention that. I'm glad you brought it up because while we're
भूल
still
गया था
tied
ना,
up,
sorry.
and I mean, not that you ever want to count Laz out when he's absolutely fragging out, but RRQ's really finding the momentum. Even that previous round, RRQ was trying to just really press
Turret
the
ही मारो आप,
issue.
turret ही मारो.
I mean, he's cornered, nowhere to go.
Team Ace. Moshi ji की
Without a
language.
choice, it's gonna be RRQ. We're talking about the battle of focus. And ZETA.
भाई
with
कितना मस्त लग रहा है ना?
strong lead
टाक
from
टुक
RRQ,
टाक
could
टुक टाक
they
टुक
be
टाक
starting
टुक
to
टाक
lose
टुक.
it?
हाँ? लेकिन
You've got
अब
to stay
टाक टुक
inside
टुक
the
टुक
zone.
होएगा अभी.
And now we're seeing
This
a
is
switch
the
up
round.
again. EJ looking to
this is
potentially
the
push
round.
out of B with the help of that Sova.
क्या defense रहता है इसमें?
Oh no, is this... We're gonna have Elmimore
Heavy
prepare on
defense रहता
both
है.
sides of the map. He's gonna help push out and then maybe go back to mid.
But is that far?
ये जो crazy
Well, not
defense.
right
enough
now, but
to
once he goes,
activate.
yeah, once he goes to market,
हाँ.
Okay. Flips is gonna be Flips pop flashing on his own. 10 seizes that
I mean,
opportunity.
they had the paranoia as well, and he still
Heavy
didn't get the kill.
defense.
2G thankfully
अभी तक खत्म नहीं हुआ है,
stabilizing for
रुको.
RRQ's sake.
And then it's that dark cover instantly to block them off.
He needs to get
ZETA
out of sight.
refusing to back down. They want to go in for this A split. They call that it's just 2G, that the site could be clear. So Shrouded stepped into wine now. Laz pushing into tree.
2G needs to wait. He needs to just
Full
wait
retake.
because once he shot that drone from heaven, it pretty much signifies, unless it's some crazy trap play, that it's empty. And of course, the trap wires are broken now, so ZETA very well aware of this potential flame.
ये गया. ये गया. ये गया.
Oh,
Drone ने सब check
block
किया.
of heaven, but
Oh my
the
God!
tree,
That done for
2G
this is the
never
last
comes
game
through.
of the
EJ
century
ripping up
of
the
the
win.
millennium,
Going
and
fast,
this
and
is
ZETA might not
over
be
for
prepared. Sugar
ZETA.
here on the side of
ZETA
Generator, Death
कुछ
inside of
ZETA
Hell.
ने
They
उखाड़ पा रहा है
hear
ये
those
round.
steps. They hear
Game
those
खत्म हो
teleports,
चुका है.
trying to
पट
go
से
for the
headshots
piece,
पड़
but
रहे हैं.
it's not
Left,
good
right,
enough.
left, right.
RRQ, they might be the
Diffuse
ones
हो
to
रहा
get
है.
over the edge.
Dev
Unless
कितना भी
Dev can
try
do
करे,
something about
कुछ
it.
नहीं कर सकता.
Fortune
It is
occupies.
over.
Fortune favors the bold. Triple kill now outside of depth, and the quad. Another overtime.
Depth after Laz? I mean, this is the ZETA story. Listen, throw your predictions out the window. This is ZETA Division. Love it or hate it. It might give you heart attacks, but what more could you ask for? ZETA Division. How in the world does RRQ all fall to the hands of Death?
The child of
भाई
God.
क्या है
And with his
ये?
hand,
ये
he
राउंड में
waves
था.
his
ये राउंड में
decree.
था. Sorry, sorry. और
We're
दोनों
going
राउंड
for it
मिलर
again,
खेला
Will.
था रे लोग ने.
And throughout this entire
याद नहीं आ रहा
overtime,
है.
it's been the attacking
दोनों
rounds.
राउंड यार
The
वैसे कॉल
first
आने
team
वाला है कि
believes
टॉस
that takes
करवा
it
लो.
on the defense.
नहीं नहीं जीत
Yeah.
गया जीत गया.
I mean, It's clearly
है।
the defense that's
दोनों
really
round
been
एकदम
shaken up
same
here in the
खेला ना।
overtime. And a lot of it is because even if you have the numbers lead, the
दोनों round
retakes, you
same
start to
खेला था
rush. We're
इसलिए।
not seeing the clean piece
Similar
when it's the
rounds थे।
retakes. You see it when it's on the
थोड़ा
attacking
याद।
side, but something about that timer beeping down, it's starting to get to him.
चलो।
And it, of course it does. You're now going into round 35.
अरे ये राउंड खत्म नहीं हुआ क्या अभी तक? जीत तो गए थे RRQ।
The longest yet. Such an unbelievable test. And the players are living up to it. Every single one of them so hungry to punch their ticket into the upper bracket final. Pop flash up in the top of the air, and it's EJ looking for this 8 execute up on top of Generator. He takes down Sugar Zero, sinks him into the bottom of the ocean. The rest of them trying to retake, but
Zafiro
without
again.
the numbers.
And he's going on that flank again. He's going on the whimsical journey once again.
हाँ blind went दो कुछ नहीं बस भाई बस हाँ
And with that, not even needed.
EJ
The rest
है
of our
भाई,
just
EJ.
holding down the site.
मैं
Another
तो पहले
attacking
बोला था
round
ये
going
राउंड
their
हो
way.
चुका है भाई
Again, though, as impressive
Already
as
हो
Laz
चुका था वो
and
round,
Dep's
फिर से क्यों
clutches
खेला?
were, Dep wasn't a clutch, but he got that 4K.
चलो
But here's the thing, momentum just seems
ये
to
वो
be on
वाला
RRQ's
राउंड था जहाँ पे
side.
खत्म होता है
Zeta
सॉरी
Division
सॉरी
is
थोड़ा
staying
मेमोरी
in
को
this
मेरा वो हो गया
just
था
tooth and nail,
ये वाला
and they're losing one of them one by one each round. You're only gonna have basically one hand on that cliff left. Here in round 36, can you hold on?
That is the question. Dep has
अब
been
खत्म है,
proving
खत्म
that he's the guy with the star power to do it all.
अब खत्म
You can't
कोई
always
भी नहीं बचा
rely
सकता
on
है।
that kind of performance every single round. You need something decisive.
They dish A side RRQ. They've decided to
टाइमिंग वाला एक
throw
दूसरा
a
स्पाइक
gambit.
देखो कहाँ पे ये उनकी पहली गलती थी
And now just wrapping back around to it.
अरे ये
Oh,
दूसरी
EJ
गलती
finds the shot.
EJ को
tosses the fragment.
पीक करने
Yeah,
का
because it was raised, they
दूसरी
for
गलती
now think it's A, but they wait to see because they have the numbers advantage.
And it's not just that too, the positioning from Xfero. Switching it up every single time.
Yes.
They might
ये
not
दूसरी
expect
गलती
it.
थी
I mean,
खत्म
this
हो
is
गया
why he's absolutely
Lockdown
one
order
of the
फायदा
most
नहीं, bro.
valuable players here on RRQ.
It's done
Down to the minute.
And Elmimore shoot it down.
Oh, the drone! So fast!
And Elmimore's always been alone on the
Oh,
site.
Laz. He's trying to sneak through, but Xfero's still there. Laz here's the hops. He should be.
हाँ
Gets the shot.
But do they
Right
know
here comes
the
the
timing?
Pharaoh. Oh, spotted by Sugar Zero.
Can he stay alive?
He's gonna try. The rest of them arriving out from defender spawn, but Spike should go down. Crow still has quite a bit of utility, so does Sugar Zero. And the rest of them just planting their flag, planting their boots
चुप रहेगा
down.
लौटे दो राउंड के
August to the back of sight. Oh, what? The wall bang out of nowhere.
And then Sugar Zero on the flank this time, just like Zafiro always has done.
A tiny trip too. And now just waiting for it. Sudden peeks out. Dep gets the
EJ.
trade. Oh, but the flash.
EJ.
Crow. Now you've got to do it. Dep's gone.
EJ
Another flash available at his belt. And he tosses
Oh,
it out.
Sugar Zero.
Sugar.
The flank pays off. They waited so long for this setup from Zafiro. And Elmimore just could not live
Sorry.
long enough. And you couldn't blame him. He got tagged. I mean,
3000
what
साल
more
हो
was he
चुके हैं
supposed to
भाई
do?
थोड़ा
He
सा
runs away, but the smokes and the cyber cages,
थोड़ा सा
it
memory
draws out Zafiro's vision. And here's the thing. Zafiro wanted to send the recon bolt to check and make sure, hold off if there's anyone left in main, but the timing favors Sugar Zero. And it just seems, as much as Lady Luck was absolutely, and Destiny itself was against,
when
Zeta
they
Division
want to
on
see a
Haven,
best of
right
5
now,
but you have
the
only best of
entire
3
universe trying to will Zeta
दूसरी वाले
Division
लोग ने
and
इतना
Japan
गेम
into
खेल
the upper
लिया
finals of
एक ही
LCQ
गेम में
Pacific.
हाँ?
Give them your energy. And at
एनर्जी
the
फुल आई
same
है
time, I mean, the teamwork
Energy
that
दो
they have sometimes. Sugar Zero, such
अबे मेरे को एक बात बताओ ये राउंड हो तो गया था भाई जीत तो गई थी आरआरक्यू कितना बार लूप चल रहा है क्या कुछ
Now they
जीत तो
try to
गई थी
gambit over on the defensive side as well, just a bit. They say, let's take things slow.
Ah,
See if
inch
Zeta
एक
goes
ही
for a type
चीज
of gambit. See if they change things up, and it's not. Zeta just goes for a default. Slightly different positions, but very stock standard. Trip
Land
in
को
mid.
land
They just say, listen, we're able to frag out against these guys. We're getting these
ये
multi-kills.
देखो
Let's just play it
कैमरा में देख रहा हूँ
one
उसको
by
ये तक
one.
नहीं मालूम उसको कोई मार के जाने वाला है
Dep's trying to switch up his trips too. Oh, this time the shock dart doesn't clear it. The second one doesn't either. It's meant to block off the door button. And Laz goes, oh, but he's been spotted now.
Spotted
but
नहीं
here's
he's
the thing,
dead
only
now
EJ gets over this, so if they
He's
can
dead
keep him
now.
at that switch,
Ah.
he's not going to be able to do much
Ah.
damage.
All they need to do is buy enough time. Laz and Depp, they managed to do it. Depp is still alive. Now hiding inside this dark cover. Oh, Sugar Zero. He's going back into it. They've got the numbers now. 2G can't quite plant the spike, but he's swinging out anyway. Crow closes out the first defense round for ZETA in this overtime.
7th overtime. That's what it took for one of the teams to finally find the setup they wanted. And it was simply the most basic of setups. ZETA goes back to the foundation, the fundamentals of Ascent. And they are able to hold both sites.
ये राउंड नहीं था,
Push
नेक्स्ट
off
राउंड
the
20
aggression
ये
of
ओवर टाइम है,
RRQ and
ये ओवर
get
टाइम है, फिर
the
बाद में
closest side of the
RRQ
team has
जीतता है
been
2 बैक टू
to
बैक,
the upper finals.
वैसा सीन,
Trial and error.
ये ओवर
Just
टाइम
enough randomization, and the shock darts can't quite clear out the trips from Laz. And at the same time, positioning how
ये
they
ओवर
played
टाइम है
on
यार,
defense. Now it
फिर मैंने
comes down
देखा
to
था कि
this round.
अटैक में RRQ
Can
जीतता है, फिर ही
ZETA
वो
do
लोग
it,
जीतते
or
हैं,
could RRQ push us into yet another?
लैंग्वेज
Got
आईडी
the
बैक, फिर से
nanoswarms up on B
लैंग्वेज,
now. You've got Zafiro in here to aid you.
3 मैन स्टैक पे जा रहे हैं,
Flipshutter has to find a good timing. He has to try to
Need
go for
bit
these pop
कुछ भी डालो
flashes,
भाई,
and ZETA does not want that. They're trying to push him off as far as possible.
ए पे देखो,
What's
टच से मस्त नहीं हो रहे ये वाले,
ZETA, what a good play. You have a minute left. You took entire control of mid, and you say, okay, what's the setup from RRQ? Is there a lurk coming out from A main? Because if we catch that lurk, it's such an easier round. But here's the thing, in hindsight, this could be an overcook.
That's the thing. You're spending so much time for this. It's similar to that lockdown round that we saw from before. RRQ are just welcoming, begging for ZETA to challenge them.
But in theory,
तो अब
this
तक नहीं पता
guarantees them the
कि मेरा
4 or 5
predictions right
E2
हो रहा
on B.
Oh,
And that's what they're
Laz.
looking for, and he gets the kill. Laz
2G answers right back. And
देखो,
we're back to where we started, back to square
केओ
one.
का रीड देखो, केओ का रीड देखो, हाँ,
But now you know that you have the numbers advantage in B.
Suppressed.
गया,
But the
गया,
shot from Elmi Moore. And it just comes
हाँ,
down
तू
to
भी,
this
तू भी
loadout
गया,
position. They're dancing back and forth for it. They know they're up on lane, waiting
करो,
for them to drop.
लाइक करो,
15 seconds left. How do you plant the spike?
गए,
Depp
गए,
trying to get the sprays, but
पीछे वाला मारा
Crow
शॉट
too
इसे,
deep in. The spike
देख रहे हो?
killed. RRQ extends this
Prediction,
overtime.
prediction
Well, RRQ, they
baby,
seem to have just read exactly what ZETA had said.
prediction,
Oh, right, just stock standard. Why do we
पूरा
keep beating
डिजाइन
Elmi
बना
Moore
रखा है
as
लोग ने,
well? Give him
देखो,
some backup.
डिजाइन
Let him
देखो,
hold that site for
ऐसा
the
ऐसा
teammate.
ऐसा
And
ऐसा
then they
सारा
win the
डिजाइन,
defensive round, and now we've just flipped this
लेट्स
overtime
गो
on its
बेबी,
head.
लेट्स गो,
Round 39, we are guaranteed 40 rounds. As we mentioned, the longest we've had in VCT
RRQ
Pacific.
जीतेगा अभी वाला राउंड,
And I think maybe the longest we've had in Korea, actually, here in Seoul. But
मैं
again,
बोला
I
था
mean,
भाई, 3000
the
years
impressive
baby,
part is oftentimes when it goes to this much overtime, it's more about the mistakes. But this time it's more about the focus and being ahead of each other.
Unbelievable performance. So much depth from both teams. All of these players, again, so hungry. And now we're switching things up once more. Laz with different trips. Look at that one on top of Generator on the A site.
जी होती तो मैं अब तक डेड
But
था,
EJ's not
तुम
going
होती
through
होता ही
A main,
करते रहो,
sir.
Yeah, that could actually just sit there the whole round and not find any value.
He activates them, tries to slip back around.
केस
Just
ट्रिगर
stay
रख के
alive,
उसको
wait for
लगता है कि वो
space
जिंदा
cover
बचेगा,
Though, up around from
One
side.
down,
Oh, Laz
2
gave him the
down,
first, but the heaven positioning wasn't
all
good enough.
down,
Sugar Zero.
ये वो
not quite
round
able
था
to
ना
land
जो
the
मैंने
shot,
देखा था,
and this gives RQ the site.
So recon bolt, shock dart, double flash
भाई
drives.
गुस्सा तो है यार इसे,
Shells of
लेकिन
boom
कुछ
bot
भी
as well.
बोलो,
You have a lot of utility.
Gusta
You're
to
down
hai.
in numbers, but you have a lot of utility. But the thing is, this Zafiro flank,
Yes.
they died to it before, and they're so concerned about it.
And it's Elmi Moore too. I mean, they're
It's the whole
always
team.
around tree. If they push up heaven, it's so tough for ZETA.
यहाँ
And
से वहाँ
that's why
टिप्पी
they're
मार के
so
जाओ
slow
मैन,
through
हाँ,
this.
देखा था मैंने,
Yeah, they're like, wait, where is
Having to
everyone?
watch the angles. Oh, but this time,
Well, there they
Crow,
are.
Depp at 10. They find the shots anyway. The last player is a Pharaoh, not quite able to do any damage. And ZETA wins the defense round one more time.
Well, you put too many chefs in the kitchen, and of course you overcook. One person on the flank puts on the mental pressure, but they try to twist it one more time, and then it's just a narrow choke point that they have to peek
क्या हो
out
रहा है
of.
भाई, 5000 लाइक,
They knew that the site was clear.
I mean, they cleared it so fast, and again, that's because he had so much utility left. And then 2G on the flank as well gets caught, and they realize
वो
what
वाला
that,
round
that
था,
should mean. Of course.
ये वो वाला राउंड नहीं था,
And again, it's that
OT है अभी,
randomization
OT
on the
है,
trips.
OT.
That first kill bought enough time,
OT है, OT है.
bought enough utility for them to do all of that. On to the next round again, though. And once more, Elmimore, although
That is.
anchoring the B site, utility
new one,
positioning
mere
all
baba.
switched up.
इधर intense match देखो कि इधर देखो मैं.
Showstopper this time, but they're still trying to bait them out. And here's the thing: they use the early camera to get control of
Easy होती है chat. क्या बोलते हो?
the trap wire.
Huh?
That way, if they choose to go
Words
to
please
mid or
time out
B,
bumps. Slang.
they will know as soon as RRQ makes their move out of A.
If RRQ
Yeah.
makes it
They
out of
even-
A.
They even check wine.
सब check
So
करो
they
बे.
say, okay,
सब.
well, if no one's working off of all this utility, are you guys just playing far back out? What's going on here? RRQ is hiding a lot of information.
Or are you even on the site? I mean, they might
I mean,
be
sure, yeah.
encouraged to go in for a cheeky little peek outside of A main, and that could be painful. 2G's just jump spotting for this. Oh, dinked!
Need?
Well, she's got to pay for that one. The paint shells are in. Does jump to the other side.
Shrouded step away. Paranoia
God.
has been spent, though. And maybe that's what they were looking for. 30
God.
seconds left, and now they're rotating.
Yeah, the thing is
30
now
seconds
those
left.
nanoswarms are going to do so much damage in terms of time. They have to clear it beforehand.
20
Just have
seconds.
to commit. Here's the thing, RRQ also couldn't over-rotate, so it's really anybody's game. Everyone knows exactly what's happening now. Oh no, the 0
It
point.
is over.
15 seconds.
Flips can't provide support.
It is
Frank
Go
over.
through. Oh, but Flips just outside the edge of the dark cover finds a shot
Not
anyway.
over
The
to
spikes
It is
will go down,
over.
however. And now Sugar Zero trying to watch for the
Trip.
angle. The trip goes through. Last finds the shot.
ए,
And
recon
Dex
का
pulling
फायदा
out
नहीं है,
utility,
side के अंदर
trying
है
to
वो
fend
लोग.
them off, trying to catch a wall
हाँ?
there. But EJ
Let's
tries
go,
to
let's
trades in.
go.
Trades
This
come
is
through,
ZETA?
and we're back
No,
to a 2-on-2.
RRQ. OT गया ये वाला.
With how so low on
Dares
RRQ.
wins. They're so darn low, but they need the shots anyway. Zeta are just hunkering down in Boathouse. Come to me.
Oh my
2G is
God.
creeping
One more
close.
shot,
Get it.
and he gets the first. Depp, he's the last one. Flips is trying to tap it, trying to bait out the peaks, but he rushes at the last second,
तू
and
क्यों बोला?
the
क्यों बोला
child of
तू?
God forces Zeta over.
ये बोला इसके लिए
40
guys.
rounds
ये बोला.
of absolutely
Jinx
impressive Valorant here on
69
Ascent.
in the chat.
Map 3 of the upper semifinals, and Zeta Division, they missed the chance to go play in front of the massive home crowd at Masters Tokyo.
अरे!
But this time they say we will not be pushed
मैं
to the edge.
champions
We
का बात
will
कर रहा था,
strike
गलत
forward
tournament है यार ये.
towards the
LCQ.
far lands of Champions Los Angeles.
Champions में वो उसमें हुआ था.
Big improvements. We questioned
ये
the
नहीं.
roster
Sorry.
swap, the role changes, but it still works out anyway.
My God.
The fundamentals, the mechanical skill of such a player like Depp.
40
सुनो. In my defense, baby. In my defense. RR के लोअर ब्रैकेट से ऊपर ब्रैकेट में आएगा और ये लोग का मैच फिर से होएगा. उसमें RRQ जीता है. समझ रहे हो?
आप रहने दो.
फ्यूचर. All
इतना
about
सारा है
future.
पीछे. साफ करना पड़ेगा अभी.
Language. Future. It is all about future यार. हाँ बराबर है. हाँ लोअर और अपर ब्रैकेट जो भी है इनका मैच फिर से होने वाला है. Binks आप इमॉर्टल लॉबी खेले जाए.
इमॉर्टल नहीं अस्कांडे है.
रेडियंट दिल से.
दिल से तो मैं भी
फ्यूचर
रेडिया.
इज इक्वल टू फोर्थ मैप एयरफोर्ट. गए नहीं है लोअर ब्रैकेट में, लोग गए नहीं है. लोग फिर से आके फिर मैच होगा. मैं एक्चुअली बहुत आगे का सोच के बात कर लिया. पता है मेरे को मालूम था कि तुम लोग वो कॉम्प्रिहेंड नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि तुम लोग यहाँ के प्रेजेंट के. समझ रहे हो?
No
सॉरी
lower
सॉरी.
bracket.
नो लोअर ब्रैकेट मेरे को पता है. अभी आराम मत करो, वही बात करो. 10-10 का जापान सबसे बदला लेगा तेरा जेटा. और मैच वैलो देखने आया था बैडमिंटन.
against LA, and they both proved that through a singular best of 3.
One best of 3. Our very first day in the
यार
double
अच्छा खेला
elimination
है लेकिन.
bracket.
मेरे पे डाल.
And this is what we have.
अच्छा गेम.
Oh,
बाप
the
रे.
next series is
मजा
just
है.
going to be even more insane. But again, the win for
Yeah,
Zeta, it
2020
means so
yeah.
much. ZETA and their story with how they kind of missed their shot at Masters Tokyo, now redeeming themselves.
Yeah, and that's the important part. Because here's the thing, for RRQ,
भाई थोड़ा कम लोग नहीं है इस स्टेज में.
but everyone said,
Invite
okay, it was
only
a
है क्या?
beat lane, which is why you probably didn't make it to playoffs. You're probably on an upwards trajectory. So this was expected almost. But for ZETA Division, no, even though you made playoffs, it was still so shaky. And you needed something to say, no, we deserve to be a top team in Pacific. And right off the bat, in the double elimination bracket, in the upper bracket, they proved themselves in front of the crowd here today for LCQ Pacific.
I mean, again, we have to think about it, right?
Binks
It's crazy, it's good in this overtime map, but starting things off, it's not all clean. That Haven was questionable, but they did recover on split.
Yeah, I mean, again, that was the story of ZETA Division, Master Reykjavik. So this is one of those teams where if I find it difficult to really argue in theory, right? Because in theory, you shouldn't have to rely on these super plays, but that's also when they shine the most. And they have such insane players when they're put on the spot. Sugar Zero coming back. We haven't been able to shout his name much during the regular season of Pacific, and today we said it with our hearts out. The ZETA Division is back in form.
100%. I mean, honorable mention, 10 on this raise as well.
चलो गाइस, ये लोग का बकचोदी आप सुन सकते हो मेन इसमें. अभी हम जा रहे हैं, बहुत सारा काम है, घर पे भी जाने का है, तो हम मारेंगे कल्टी. नेक्स्ट मैच भी आप देख लेना, मैं भी देखूंगा मोबाइल से, तो मारते हैं कल्टी. देयर इज वन मोर मैच, टीम सीक्रेट वर्सेस जेनजी, जो अभी होएगा, तो मेन चैनल पे जाके देखना. मैं आऊँगा रात को लोको पे. तो दैट इज इट फॉर टुडे. सी यू. कमेंट्स में कुछ बोलना नहीं, समझ रहे हो? 8 कमेंट्स डिलीट करने वाला. Take care, yaar. Love you. Adios, Chadwif. Adios. This is Future Bunks signing off. 3000 years.
When there's no hope hiding, no chance concealing what deep down I felt for you.